American teams or the Swedish teams. It gets confusing with me, but like, you're a Dane.
The real question is, do your biases even out over time? Do they sort of,
That's what goes on in my head, right? It's just like perpetual winning. That's what it's all about. I'm just always ahead, no matter which team is playing.
All right.
That's how the game is rigged.
There are more Danish players on one team than another here, so maybe just like that. The Astralis Twitter account were tweeting at me earlier and saying that, I should retain hope. I should still have some faith in them.
Yeah, because that's been your thing for a while now, right? Like, you've been struggling. Astralis, they've been struggling recently, and so your inner fanboy is constantly getting beat up.
It's been a really rough ride, I think, for anyone who sort of wanted to support Astralis, and it hasn't become easier just by the fact that now, suddenly they have Glaive on the lineup, and obviously Desk has been talking about that. Now we're live in the game, and it is going to be Astralis starting on the terrorist side, already moving up by the restrooms and trying to see if they can find a way in. Cajun holding close. He's got Rubino out here as well. They're falling back, or at least trying to, and they're not going to get caught, it seems. That was a bit risky for a moment. The bomb, though, is making its way into the birthday party area, so still kind of a slow start here coming out of the Astralis lineup.
This is bizarre, right? Like, Rubino has the chance to pick off two players. He doesn't manage to get it. He gets the info, and then that seems like it's enough for Team Dignitas. They're like, right, okay, so we know we've lost control of Connector. There was a presence there. Should we actually set up for B? And that's exactly what Dignitas do. They see that movement towards the B side of the map, and so three players are now set up on that B site. MSL, Config, and Tensky ready to lock it down for Astralis. So, or rather for Dignitas. So if Astralis make their way over there now, it could get hairy.
Yes, they've got a very good setup, and this is where it really matters that you've done your homework. Maybe Astralis tend to do this a lot. Maybe this is something that Dignitas have already spotted and seen. MSL has been doing a lot of work, I think, so we'll see if it's going to pay off or not. They could still get hit pretty badly. There are two smokes coming in, so we'll see if the three members of Dignitas in sight here are actually going to have any opening to get some of those shots in. And Tensky, you could see, he's in a good position so far. No smokes are covering him. He should be able to maybe pick up a kill or two. MSL is isolated in the corner, and so Conflict, they're both going to go down, and the third kill coming through. Dupree, all three headshots, and now Cajun finally replying against his former teammates. He takes two, Rubino takes one more, and it's a 2-on-2 with a bomb down. What an incredible pistol round already here. Device and Glaive going to have to try and see if they can hold on and prevent the defuse. There is no kit right now. I don't think there's one on the ground. The Dignitas, they're going to have to do this by the pistols, essentially, and Cajun already spotting out one.
This is nuts. The aggression coming in for Dupree. There's the pick from Rubino, though. He hears Glaive coming, but they have no idea the Device is about to spring the trap from CT, and he gets both headshots. Nothing but headshots for Astralis in the end. A beautiful knife there for Device, but more importantly, the pistol round picked up for Astralis. It actually works, even though Cajun B did his damnedest there to bring it back for Dignitas.
That was intense because it looked like Astralis had opened up that bomb site. The whole setup of having three men stacked at B, that was supposed to be sort of the counter, and Dupree completely flushed that. No problem at all taking out all three members, and then somehow they still fought it back in. So it looked like that could have gone pretty much either way. But Device sneaking up back, that was the ace up the sleeve. That was the one thing that Dignitas were not prepared for.
They had no idea. And I'm pretty sure after Rubino gets that kill on short, they're thinking, right, we got this in the bag. We're going to get that strong start. Now it's Astralis. We got to go straight to the rifles, and actually we've seen some teams, like G2, they like to go heavy on the SMG buy in the second round. Astralis, they're a bit more like Navi, just straight to rifles, no messing around. So 4 rifles picked up for them, the UMP on Glaive, but that's fine. As far as the SMGs are concerned, it's like a mini rifle basically, and so they're just willing to just sit and wait. Look at this, spread out across the map. They know that Dignitas have got their backs to the wall in this round, at least, that they're going to be going for something tricky. They're just waiting to see where it's going to come from.
But I would say that the sort of the fact that Navi now are doing it with less SMGs and Astralis too, I think we're just watching a switch in the metagame slowly happening, and that's pretty exciting. Really good setup here. Glaive in first with the UMP. We see Carrigan ready to cover that corner where MSL was trying to peek out. So it's basic teamwork, but it's encouraging to see that already Astralis are trying to play sort of pretty solid Counter-Strike here, it seems. Going to be a second round for them, not losing anybody at all.
Very clean work. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Astralis just because they don't have Kirby with them now at this tournament. I mean, that's the big thing. They have to use a stand-in. Glaive, he's been around for ages in the Danish scene, but we haven't really seen him competing on even a tier 2 team for what feels like ages as well. And so, how good is he going to be right now coming into this? You're talking about basically being out in the sticks, out in the boonies, and moving into the center, into the capital of the country, right? You're playing against the very best here.
Right. So, and I mean, what is upsetting is there was definitely a time where you had to mention Glaive amongst the sort of top in in Danish Counter-Strike back when Western Wall was still a thing. Very, very solid in-game leader back then. Right now, they're off to a really good start here in the third round as they're getting some good kills in. Both Kerrigan and Dupree are out of the round, but only MSL left. So just a little dink in the armor here for Astralis, making sure that this round is a bit more expensive than maybe it needed to be.
Yeah, the lucky thing here for Astralis is that in the last round, Glaive was picking up kills with the UMP. This round, Device is picking up kills with the UMP. So this is going to bolster that economy for Astralis. They're going to be able to get that $600 per kill instead of the $300. So it means they'll have a little bit more money to go around once this, once eventually they find MSL, who's sitting on 20 HP. So Zipnix, he's watching for the flank. He should be ready to pick off MSL when he comes around this corner. Easy as you please. And so a 3-0 lead now for Astralis in the end. Just very, very clean, solid, patient Counter-Strike coming out here from Astralis. They know that they're the team that's favored to win this. They know that there's going to be additional pressure on Dignitas. Because of that, Dignitas didn't win the pistol, so Astralis are perfectly content to just let that pressure build on Dignitas and to force them to make the plays.
Yeah, and already, just to point this out as we're going into the fourth round here, already quite a few people watching, I'm noticing. Good viewer count to start off with, so big shout out to all of you guys watching, no matter where you are in the world. I realize some places it's getting very late, and I mean, even here in Europe, it's a bit early for gamers to be up and watching games, so you guys doing an awesome job already. Glaive going to be moving up here, Molotov to force out that position for Cajun, and Rubino, they're going to give up that position fairly quickly, but I don't mind it. This is still going to force Astralis to spend a lot of time having to check corners, having to make sure that no one is holding too close and using a lot of grenades, and that's a great start. The Molotov into the peak for Glaive, great coordination coming out there, and that's a 2-for-0 trade, and look how aggressive Glaive is being. He's actually moving in here by the time, and you can tell they're not ready for it either. MSL thinking no one would have rotated up that far, and he very nearly goes down, probably should have gone down.
That was some pretty hard 80-80 spam coming out from Glaive there. Throwback a little bit, missed shot, but MSL is going to be crouching right into Device, who will pick up the kill eventually. Interesting thing to note, Device has got that AK. Kerrigan with the AWP. Tensky will find the kill on Device though, but it's still a man advantage here for Astralis, and they should be able to get that bomb plant going down. So it's going to come down to Tensky and Config now for the retake, and Kerrigan, he's got a bit of a clever angle. He's going to get to hold that long line on both entrances. Tensky just going to walk right into his crosshair, and now Config, he knows where Kerrigan's playing from, but there isn't a whole lot he can do when Astralis have already got 3 guys alive, ready to hold the site.
Yeah, I think at this point, because he doesn't really have a lot, better maybe just to save whatever he's got. He's got $5,050 right now in equipment on him, and there's pretty much no chance he could walk in here. Maybe he could try and ninja it if he feels like they're going to run away. I don't see Astralis making that mistake, not this early on. They are sneaking back, and Config's got to be a little bit worried that no one is coming his way. If he took too much damage here, he'd go out to the bomb, and I think he's going to be right here. So just 50 damage, that's a good number to remember in case you're ever in that position. That's going to be 4-0 for Astralis on the less favored side of Overpass, and a little bit of worry for them so far.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, now they've realized, Dignitas at least, they're going to have that internal count going on. They're like, right, okay, we saved a little bit of money on Config, he saved his rifle, but now Astralis' economy is going to be so strong. You can look, I mean, 8,400 on Zipnix after fully buying up here, so this is a bit of a nasty spot for Dignitas because they're going to have to chain rounds together if they want to get into this. I mean, they have to do it anyway. It's just going to be up against a fully bought out Astralis. Astralis don't have to worry about the economy for quite some while here.
Oh no, look at this. They're actually pushing quite heavily towards the B-bomb side. Again, they're using Glaive, it seems, as the first guy. I mean, if you have someone who is a stand-in, who's not sort of part of the core team, why not have him run first into the bomb side and check out what's going on? It'll be less of a loss than maybe it will be later on if you put Dupree or Device or someone else in there first. We do have the bomb down, and there's not much Dignitas can do. Just save the rifle again, I think, for Config, and maybe try and get a couple more kills if you can, which is going to be very tricky, as you can tell. Device cleaning up easy with the submachine gun.
Config coming in and doing some work. Device with that MP7, he'll get a quad kill in the end and save a rifle, so just a perfect round for Device as far as he's concerned. But Config does actually make it a little bit more expensive. I just like this from Astralis. They realize, all right, well, where can you really go aggressive if you're on CT and you're ecoing? It's either mid or it's long. Those are the 2 favorite spots for CT's teams to really try and push in and try and catch the terrorist side off guard, right? So Astralis are like, right, we'll completely disregard that part of the map and we'll run straight on to B. It's a perfect perfect call coming in from Kerrigan. And I'm actually wondering, does Glaive actually have any say, in the calling right now? Is he there to help out Kerrigan a little bit in the mid round? Because he used to be a big in-game leader as well for the Danish teams.
Yeah, I mean, Glaive was always very good at calling CT sides. He had some really brutal setups on Inferno, amongst others. But
yes.
So if anything, I'd wanted to pitch in there, but I wouldn't want him meddling too much in what Kerrigan has been building for a long time now. Quick trade there. Rubino going down, but Glaive as well. Still seems like a pretty good deal. MSL sneaking back out of connector, trying to see what's going on. And actually, Kate moving in, almost getting caught, and still will go down. Device on just 12 health, but still going to get a second kill in.
That's a matter of split seconds there for Cage, and he's going to be so furious with himself. And it's also, it just shows how on point Device is right now. This is perfect for Astralis. Device is a linchpin for the team. He's one of the heavy hitters. So if he's warmed up and hitting shots right out the gates, Astralis, they should actually have everything going for them at this point. Now, Dupree and Device both hitting shots. That means that Astralis are heavily favored to win. Is when you see those guys start to struggle that things start to fall apart. MSL will get the drop on Device in the end. Still a 3-on-3 here, and they do have a good defense set up. Config gonna catch them lining up, and Monster picks up 2 kills, and now it's all on Kerrigan with 11 HP, and Config the triple kill to hold the B site and save it for Dignitas. They get their first round on the board.
Very, very well done, and I love the move out from MSL up there to catch out Device as well. There's a lot of information that's got right there already, and then the sort of the triple kill coming from Config just working out perfectly. So 5-1, and moving into the 7th round, we got Kerrigan picking up the AWP and Cajun on the other side. And obviously, it is interesting having Cajun fight his old teammates here. Obviously, that's a big part of the story.
There's going to be a lot on the line for him. That he's going to be frustrated if he misses shots, but if he hits those shots, he's going to be feeling pretty good. Molotov is going to force him off the angle and connector. So it seems like Dignitas is going to be one of their go-to setups. Get those guys down into connector, try and challenge Astralis here, control that middle part of the map, that link between the A side and the B side for the T side. But after the initial peak, boom, just fall back to that A side, try and shift up the defense, and instead get aggressive in sewers. So it's actually coming together nicely, the steps here for Dignitas. The only problem is he walks right into a wallbang from Zipnix. Takes a lot of damage, Tensky. He's down to 56, and he hasn't even seen anybody.
Right now, still over a minute left, so we'll see if Astralis can pick up this round. If they do, then Dignitas are going to be in a lot of trouble. Again, the round loss bonus will have been reset by Dignitas winning that one round, so you don't want to go back to losing straight away. Obviously, most of you guys already realize that, but there are always newcomers who end up watching the major, because it's become sort of a traffic point for a lot of Counter-Strike. So we'll see if maybe we can get into details on that later on. Rubino's hiding in the corner with Cajun inside the A-bomb side. I personally hate this setup, but we'll see if it can work out. It can work out if Cajun is on point. He's actually going to walk away just as Jump comes through. Rubino picks up a kill, and Cajun gets one, and they are going to let Rubino even fall back, which is normally what you're not going to be allowed to do. You will be caught essentially out there, and he ends up going down. I think he could have probably just ran. Good double kill coming in on Cajun, which will give Dignitas a real good chance of winning this round.
With 15 seconds left, they're looking fantastic. Dignitas, 4 players alive. They've all rotated up to that A side. Far and Config are still hanging around on B. 9 seconds left, and MSL will find the kill on Zipnix, and it's pretty much falling apart here for Astralis. Kerrigan actually just needs to peek and die. If he goes down after this clock runs out, he's not going to get any money at the end of this round, and that won't help things for Astralis. But he will be able to survive with that AWP. He gets to hold on to it for the next round. And it seems like Kerrigan is just continuing to hold on to the AWP, which is very interesting. Device, there was quite a bit of time there where Device was the main opper, but it seems like it's changed up here.
Yes, interesting development right now. Astralis not even getting into a position where they could properly execute onto a bomb site. They got picked off way before that happened, and that setup ultimately worked out well because Cajun got 2 of the shots in. So in that respect, a pretty good job, I would say, on Dignitas, who do need to pick up almost every round from here on out. I don't think they could allow Astralis to get much more than 5 or 6 rounds as a sort of a breaking point almost for the CT side. Config and Tensky are holding down. Cajun and Rubino are really far up, and I like this setup, but if they don't find anyone within the next 10 or so seconds, I'd really love for them to try and go and peek around the corner up there on the long side, because otherwise they're just far away from everything and they don't have any information. So They need something to play off of.
This is really a gamble from Dignitas on that B site, basically. It's like, okay, you're not seeing anything on long, but you already have all three players here on the B site holding solid. Tensky's been boosted up on the site as well to look into connector, and there were a couple players there just a few seconds ago for Astralis. Dupree still waiting for Tensky to go for his usual peek on short. So this is, I mean, this is where it gets subtle between these players, and we're going to have actually a boost here from Kerrigan. Now he's got the angle on Cajun. If Cajun takes a step out into the open, it's going to get nasty. Not sure if Kerrigan spotted Rubino jumping there, but he will spot out Cajun. Not going to get the follow-up. They trade shots, and both players missing. So a bit of a missed opportunity for Astralis to open things up here and get things rolling onto that A site.
And look at that. Once they show themselves on that side of the map, they're going to rotate back down. Sip still has the bomb outside of B alone, which is a little bit scary. Hopefully he's not going to try and push it in alone, because that would be a bit of a problem. MSL peeking in, and they still have Config on that far right side. Finally slow, pushing in, and a great shot from Kerrigan. Almost gets the second, but in fact it's MSL who picks up a double kill, drops the bomb with just 17 seconds left. And this is really going to be tough for Astralis to try and get in and get the bomb down. They need to do it now. Tensky picking up one more kill, and Glaive coming through and punishing him. 8 seconds left and the bomb is being planted. Now it's Cajun and Rubino trying to see if they can retake this and stop Astralis from getting back into the game. Good kill coming through. Glaive is already down and now it's all on device, but he is the star player of the team. Not really connecting that much. A long spray puts him down at 14 health. He picks up the AWP and that's going to be a kill right there. He needed that one shot potential. Cajun is out and Astralis is going to pick up a 6th round.
This is going to be maddening for Dignitas, because unless they can start winning these clutch situations, this is where Astralis is going to run away with it. That's both clutches going to Astralis so far in this first half. And so those are the big high impact rounds. Those are the ones that'll change it your way to allow you to keep things under control. Dignitas, they really need to get that boost going right now. They really need that kind of confidence play that winning a clutch actually does for you, because now Astralis are just like, great, well, you know, we can get that bomb down, but we're even going to come through in the tough spots. This map is ours. So definitely a little bit tricky here. And again, Dignitas, they just can't seem to get their economy going. Again to pistols, and again with the aggression in mid. So Astralis this time, they were ready and waiting for him. They didn't charge towards B. Instead, they just kind of sat and expected that kind of aggression to come out. Now Glaive, he's going to find the first kill on that MSL. Spots the second, but he's not going to get the third. Rubino, they're going to get the drop on him.
I mean, I like the part where Dignitas try and take some initiative in a round like this. You know, instead of just waiting around, I hate seeing teams do that. Much better to try and have them do something. Now, never mind that probably still works out in Astralis' favor. But at least they got the AK, and they've sort of put a little bit of pressure back on them. So Config and Tensky are sort of holding either bomb site, while Rubino is out and about. The Lone Ranger.
Now Rubino's stuck. I just wish he could run back to that A site and hand that AK over to Config, who actually has Kevlar and who's been hitting shots for Dignitas so far. If he's just going to hang around with without any Kevlar, if he gets into a spray fight, well, that's where the aim punch comes in. That's where his aim goes to hell, and he just can't actually, you know, take those kinds of fights with Astralis right now, who are equipped. It looks like Astralis now with 40 seconds left are going to start rotating around. They want to get up towards that A site. All 4 players heading towards long, and this device leading the way. He's going to be the entry fragger in this situation. He's going to be the first man onto the site, but there are all 3 players here for Dignitas. They have accurately called the situation here, Dignitas. They have their defense set up. Now it's up to Device to crack it open here on the site.
This could be very interesting. Maybe that AK could have a real say in this upcoming fight. Just 17 seconds left, but Rubino goes down. Did they spot Config by that truck? I don't think it even matters anymore. They're just going to overpower him. 10 seconds left here. And if he had the AK, maybe it could have made a difference. But either way, it's still a pretty decent round, I think, for Dignitas. They made a good call. They stole an AK. They did some damage. Going to put us in the 10th round, where they could finally pick up an AWP again.
Yeah, 7-2. Astralis just running away with this now. They've got a huge lead on their T side. If they get any further than this, it's going to start looking real grim for Dignitas. So now, well, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, the other thing, though, is that where are they going to put Glaive on the CT side for Astralis on this overpass map, right? He is the stand-in. It's going to be a little tricky to call his spot immediately off the bat and whether Astralis are going to be comfortable with the setup. So there's still a little bit of an edge for Dignitas when they go onto their T side. They've got their full roster. Everybody knows what they need to do. So it's not over yet for Dignitas, but Astralis, like, the more T-side rounds they get, the better it's going to be. And Kerrigan not going to find the entry. Trying to make his way out through Monster. It's not going to happen. And Tensky's going to rush down Dupree. Rubino's there to take out Device. 2 players down for Astralis at the beginning of the round.
And they fall back, and what a delight it is to see Rubino and Cajun making the back to the bomb site. Sipnix will pick up one kill, and he goes for a bit more spray here, finding conflict. The Molotov in there, but Sip will fall, and this is not looking good right now for Astralis. They are in a 2-on-3, but they do not have a lot of health, and Cajun in the perfect position, up in the sniper nest to take down Carrigan, leaving just a Glaive here to try and see if he could maybe pull it through in a 1-on-3.
The stand-in. Let's see if he can be the hero. Get that clutch going in here for Astralis or Dignitas. Tenski's going to miss the first shot. Glaive still has to know that Cajun's on high, so he can't really peek past that pillar. The problem is that the bomb is dropped on the slope into pit, so now it's really looking grim here for Glaive. He's going to hope that somebody's going for a flank, but all three players for Dignitas just watching each other's backs, holding the angles, and they know that it's just a matter of time. Glaive charging it, not going to find the kill. Tenski will shut him down midair. That's a third round on the board now for Dignitas, so Dignitas is definitely showing that they've got some fight in them here. Question is whether they can actually just maintain now, because it's Astralis who are about to just spend all of their bank. This is the best chance now for Dignitas to start getting some control in the half.
Yeah, and it's definitely not done yet, and I think your point about the stand-in on the CT side is super valid. It's almost a bit counterintuitive, because if you just look at the game sort of objectively, you'd think, well, surely if you're defending, all you need to do really is to just sort of hold one spot, so does it really matter if you know everything else that's happening on the map? The problem is, once you lose someone on the CT side, you need to start rotating and moving around, and if you're a newcomer to the team, if you're a stand-in, maybe you don't know exactly how everyone else moves, and that's a big problem. I like the attempt from Cajun, but he's going to go down to Carrigan, who obviously saw that coming. He was scoped up on top of that smoke all the while, so big problem there for Dignitas.
More than ready to deal with it. That's again just Astralis. It's kind of been their go-to. Apart from the one round where they really just charged towards the B site, they had that read. They knew what Dignitas were going to do, trying to push mid, so they just charged onto B Astralis. Every round apart from that, pretty much it's just been them sitting and waiting for Dignitas to make the play. You're going to go aggressive, Dignitas. We're just perfectly happy to just sit and wait and run this clock down, because we know that you have to go for information plays. You go for the information play at the beginning to spot us at mid, and then eventually around the minute mark, you're going to have to go for another one. Especially now that you're down a man, Dignitas need to actually try and make something happen here.
They got that same setup, and it's one that Cloud9 used to love to run. Sean Gares would do this a lot, and I always hated it. I don't think Sean and I ever quite agreed on it, but my issue is that if Rubino misses a shot here, or if he's just smoked out, then MSL is alone entirely, so that's a big problem. But he's going to sneak up right into Dupree, and he ends up losing that fight. Bit of a problem there. Now, Rubino trying to see if he can maybe bring it back in favor of his team. He's got the AWP in hand, and looking for another shot in. Bit of a shoulder peek coming out. 20 seconds left though, and now he's going to get snuck up in. Glaive, really good movement coming out, but down to the B bomb side, it's Config defending against the bomb. Device, if he goes down, the round might be lost, and I think he just realized, gonna connect with the spray. 10 seconds left, and Sipnix somehow gets the kill.
This is wild. How are they doing this? Astralis, like they get control of that A site, and then they're already rotating that bomb down. This is the problem with playing so passively, is that you're really not giving yourself a whole lot of time to play with. Now it's Tenski and Dupree, 1v1. Tenski just going to stick it. Dupree charging forward. He's just barely going to make it in time. And the steps that pulls Tenski off of that bomb defuse. So now he actually has to go and fight Dupree. Will get the spot. Makes it perfectly clear that he knows where Dupree is coming from. And Dupree now the one dancing on the edge. Tenski trying to pull a fast one on with the USP, and he's going to get it. He has enough time for the defuse as well with that kit. Lives with 6 HP. And those guys are like on the other side of the hall, and I can hear him shouting from here. So Dignitas pumped. That's another clutch for them.
Tenski actually had the AK, and he just never reloaded it. That seems like some next level type madness, because I'm sure he could have probably done that, but I'm not even convinced he couldn't have stuck the defuse the first time around to maybe just straight get it, but that's obviously a big risk as well. I think he might have had just enough time to actually do that. So 7-4 as a scoreline here, and Dignitas still staying alive in spite of a really great fake. That was really impressive sort of tactical depth coming out of Astralis, but they somehow managed to still throw away the round. So now we're back to tech lines and armor and a hell of a lot of grenades.
Yeah, it's just straight force here, no respect. And it's going to be the charge out onto the B side. The bomb is waiting by Monster, but they've got control of stores. There's going to be going straight up short, and it's on Tenski and Config now to hold. Config did a lot of damage in the last round, and he continues to do so here. He takes the debris. Tenski on the side is going to spot the wrap from Kerrigan, but it is still a 3-on-3 somehow. Astralis are finding these trade kills, and they will be bomb plants.
Oh, how did Device get that kill on Tensky? Cajun was scoped up there, so he got the instant return, but that looked a bit ridiculous now. The bomb is planted a little bit further back than you normally would, so that's going to really help out Astralis. Again, not really a standard plant, and I absolutely love that. That smoke is going to help out a little bit. And Sip now hiding in the corner. They're going to boost on top to see if they can maybe spot it. Glaive is in a great position. He jumps and gets the kill on Rubino, and now all on Cajun. And this is not easy. He has got the kid. He's going to hold it down. He's actually got his back turned. He's just going to commit to it, and it will be Glaive the stand-in, picking up a triple kill here and making it 8 rounds for Astralis. Very good job indeed. And speaking of Glaive, overall, doing a pretty good job. 11 kills on him. Device on the top, which is what we like to see. But the fact that Glaive is doing fairly well right now, that's a sign of worry, I think, for everybody else who's in the tournament.
Yeah, he's holding his own right now. Lady Luck giving him a bit of a wink in that round as well. I mean, he lives at 2 HP. Like, if he jumps to spot Rubino, he should die. Like, just die. Rubino's already watching short. He should just never make it through. So Rubino falls short for his team in that round. Unfortunately for Dignitas, they're back to pistols. It's almost like the theme of this first half. They'll get around where they have rifles, great, but then they're right back to pistols again. And it's Astralis controlling the situation. Glaive with the pop flash attempt over in connector. And again, Team Dignitas, they are trying to set up a lot of traps over here in connector this time around. They've got 3 players ready and waiting with the triangle.
Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you, that it was the police that would sort of always have money, being government funded and everything.
Right.
But apparently that's not the case right now, and it does cause a lot of trouble. And it's almost a sign of desperation that they did go for the buy up here, that they didn't try and save right. That means they know they're under a lot of pressure to try and get back into it. And again, very slow and careful style coming out. The only one taking any risk again is Glaive. And oh no, MSL.
The smoke
Not
went off. It went off too late. He actually threw the smoke to cancel it.
That's almost worse, isn't it?
Yeah, right? Like insult to injury. He actually throws the smoke and it doesn't go off in time to save him. Oh, that's painful. All right, well. A little embarrassing for MSL. Still, they do trade 1 for 1, so the setup works. And this time, the guy who picks up the AK has Kevlar. Rubino, he's got that gun once again, so let's see if he can actually put it to good use here, because he is going to be on that A site. He gets spotted immediately by Device. And Device looking to try to pounce on this. 28 seconds left in the round. Again, Astralis, they keep running down this clock. They're just giving themselves such a small window for, well, they're giving Dignitas a pretty good window to actually shut things down, to screw things up for them in the round.
Especially because Cajun is wrapping around really quickly, coming up from behind the connector. He's actually right behind a pre. Carrigan moving in here, trying to see if he gets the bomb on that. Only 10 seconds. Cajun picking up a double kill, coming in with a flank, and not even going to be a bomb plant here. A big win for Dignitas. Astralis off to a good start, but it crumbled at the end, and now it could get a bit interesting on the other side. The terrorist team, they are running out of money, and they're going to force up as well. Wow. That's, again, a pretty big commitment here.
It's not even a quasi-buy. They are just going backs to the wall here. And they realized, well, last time we went for a force, we rushed B, it worked. So let's just keep doing that. We have 2 rounds left in this half. If we get a bomb plant, we'll be able to force again in the next round. And so Astralis, yeah, they're just rinsing and repeating. They've only rushed B, and it's again just straight in. There's the HE to try and slow things up. They body block the smoke grenade. Kerrigan takes points, finds the man behind top of him, and he will find the kill just before going down. But Config is still alive in pit, and he gets both kills. This is quickly falling apart now for Astralis as Config just wipes them out. The ace for Config. And that was perfectly played by him, falling back, sacrificing his teammate, sure, but if you're going to get all 5 kills behind it, that's a worthy bait. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, great intuition coming out of Config as well. He does a pretty cool mix of playing very defensively, and then he actually, as they're setting up, he switches into playing aggressively once again. So just tries to catch them off in the middle of that push. That's going to put us in the 15th round, the last of the half here. And Astralis, either way, they're going to be satisfied with 8 rounds, but it's encouraging to see Dignitas starting to come alive a little bit here, and especially with Config getting an ace like that, should maybe put the team into overdrive, or at least encourage them a little bit.
Well, this bodes well for Dignitas. If Config is awake and he's hitting shots, he's one of the key players along with Cajun B. Both of them have been doing a fair job here for Dignitas so far. And while, again, they deliver, MSL is going to find Kerrigan, and Cajun B picks off Zipmix, and Cajun B will end the half. 2 kills, 3 kills total for him in the last round, and that's 7-8. Dignitas trail, but now they go into that T side, and if they win that pistol, it's going to be just brutal here for Astralis to try and get their heads in this game. But we're going to take a quick break here at the half before we get into the second one. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It is Dignitas and Astralis, and you see some highlights here from the first half. Config getting a triple, and he went on later on to get an ace as well in one round. So overall, he played extremely well for Dignitas. Might have been the main factor to keep his team in the first half. It does finish 8-7 in favor of Astralis, so they are going to be feeling quite good about that overall result. We'll see how it goes here in the second half. What do you think?
If we want to just look at straight kills right now, Config and Cajun, they're the only guys sitting in the mid-teens. The rest of the teammates, Tensky, MSL, and Rubino, sitting on single digits right now. So it's like the two heavy hitters for the team that you have to look to have an impact for Dignitas to win are delivering. Now, what will tip things in Dignitas' favor is if a third player starts to wake up. Rubino, if he starts to actually hit some key shots. He's had some success down at connector in the first half on the CT side. Now on the T side, is he going to be able to wake up and start leading the team in there to actually pick up these rounds? Not really seeing it just yet, but at least Config and Cajun, those are all eyes are going to be on those two guys to actually deliver here for Dignitas.
Yes, and this is such a weird matchup just because of the domestic element. Obviously, so many Danish people playing against each other here. Also, the fact, even worse, that Cajun used to play with the Astralis team, so he will know a lot about how they approach things and just their behavioral patterns in general. There are so many aspects of this match that make it quite hard to predict. But I mean, Astralis, you got to put them as favorites right now. Still, even with Glaive playing, I think that's going to be the main point to take away. Now we'll see if they can do just well on the CT side. It's now Cajun charging up with the whole rest of the team behind him. Dupree got to get back behind cover, otherwise the Glock train would simply run him over, and he realizes that much.
He spotted two as well. Kerrigan will be able to go for the confirmation, and he's going to get overrun. Config there to trade the kill on MSL, and now he's got a P2K to play with. Actually, it's Rubino robbing him of the P2K. Still, that one-shot headshot potential is there now for Dignitas, so that's going to make Astralis a little antsy.
Well, look at Device. That charge up here. Now, this could sort of make or break the round. If he gets a couple of kills, or even just gets a kills and runs away, that's great. But if he commits to the fight and gets run over, then that might be a lot of trouble here. Device is going to have him right on the stairwell, and Cajun going to run him down. So that's a big issue now. They give up a second of those CT pistols, the USP, and both of these are so good at range. This is a big problem for Astralis.
Yeah, this removes one of the CT strengths. The fact that at any range you can get that one-shot headshot versus the Glock, where even if you get a headshot at range, you're going to need two shots to get the kill. I mean, now, while Dignitas, they have that punching power, and they're going to group up together. So they're going to get the Glocks into the fight. They're going to lead the way with the Glocks. They should, at least. And then they'll have the P2K. They'll have the USP to actually, clean things up afterwards. And right now, it's Glaive dancing around on that A site, just hoping to spot a shoulder somewhere, trying to get some information. Dignitas so far showing nothing, but they're going to have to start this push soon. 25 seconds left on the clock, and there we go. Config, he's been spotted by Glaive. This should actually open things up. Glaive peeks out into mid. He sees just how much trouble he's in. It's all over now for Glaive. It's all on Zipnix and Dupree to make it happen. 2v4.
If Dignitas play this right, there should be almost no way in. What the hell was that headshot? Dupree taking out Cajun B in what looked like a bit of a ridiculous flick. Now they're going to try and see if they can get onto the site here. The kit is currently dropped, and I think it's quite far away. I think it was on Device, in fact. So, they just picked it up.
It was on Glaive.
Oh, it was on Glaive. That's a big relief right now. That might actually at least partially save the round here. But Device goes down, Dupree goes down, and Sipnik's now trapped, sandwiched in. They're coming from either angle, and he's going to end up dropping the Config. Picks up a triple kill, and that was it. The kit, at least, I thought for a moment it was on Device. That would have been horrendous, but they do still pull through. Dignitas gonna equalize the score and make it 8-8. Speaking of Device, though, there has to be a time where you wonder, how far is he willing to go through with that flank, Because if he stays in T-spawn and just hides, then he's still pretty close to being able to fight them at A. He could go back to B in case they sort of circumvented him and gone back to B through connector. So I kind of wonder if it wouldn't have been better for him to sort of slow down a bit at some point.
That's what I thought he was going to do, actually. Just sit there. I mean, obviously we had the X-ray. We could see how close Team Dignitas were. So if Device had actually just sat there, he probably would have wrecked them. But he decided to go in, probably trying to get into connector quick or something along those lines, right? And he gets punished for it. So it's just one of those things, those like what-if sort of scenarios where you can imagine how it would have played out. Unfortunately, the way it did play out means that Astralis were down basically the guy who's carrying them right now. And and you all saw how it played out. Both teams pick up a pistol round. And so Dignitas now, they get that strong start that we were talking about with how close the scoreline is. Now Dignitas on the T side, they tie it up 8-8. Astralis, another team that doesn't really go for the Kevlar buys in the second round, will be on pistols. Just pistols here. A couple of nades picked up though. Zipnix has that HE, so we'll see where he decides to use it. And then you have Glaive with a single flash grenade.
I like that. Thank you very much, Glaive. Dupree also with the Deagle might be one of the few people who actually run into anyone early on here. Either him or Carrigan, it seems. Not that I think Carrigan could do a lot of this range, except just spot out what's going on. He will see a couple of people running around, so quick rotation coming in, and Dignitas are going to continue on into the bomb side, it seems. Gotta be careful they don't commit too much to this, but the early engagement working out just fine.
Nice attempt by Carrigan. He had the angle right through the smoke, though. Glaive is going to get caught. Zipnix with that HE will find the kill. And so now it's on Device and Zipnix, the last two alive. Once again, Astralis find themselves retaking 2 men down here on the A site, and it isn't looking too hot. Device, he's got Tensky penned in, but he's not peeking, and Tensky finds a way out. Now Device has been spotted. He's got that CZ, and he's already found a headshot on Config, so they're doing a little bit of damage. Astralis would love to pick up another kill. That's the main goal here. Make it so that Team Dignitas only survive with 2 players in the round. Make it as expensive as possible for Dignitas. Because if they make it out with all 3 AKs, it's not ideal. Device is trying to charge forward. Zipnik's not going to be able to follow it up. You can clearly see they were just like, right, if we can kill off Tensky, who's stuck on the site, we're all right. We've done our jobs. But Tensky, with the help of his teammates, survives, and it's 9-8. Dignitas, they're off to that start. They got over their first hurdle. They won that pistol. They survive against the pistols in the second. Now they just have to do it again, Anders, and get those 3 rounds that they deserve after winning the pistol on the T side.
I mean, the main test, the really big test, is going to happen in the 4th round, the upcoming round. That's when Astralis can afford all the equipment, and they will be able to buy a lot of it. Again, they haven't really invested too much into these early rounds. So if Dignitas can beat them there, we have a very interesting game in our hands. It'll be hard to call who comes out on top, but I think if Astralis win the upcoming round, not this one, but the next one, then who knows? They might run away with the game. I could see that happening.
You're already seeing the difference here in how they call as well. MSL, Kerrigan. Dignitas didn't go for a B stack at all when they were ecoing, right? They chose to charge mid, which was why we saw, I think it was Cajun or was it MSL, chuck an HE into mid. You know, in case you go for that mid charge with the pistols, you take that HE to the face, you're going to be a very sad person. Instead, Astralis was just like, right, we're going to just bet. We'll put everybody on B at the beginning. They've rotated 2 players up to A, which I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, it's like, actually, if you're just going to go for the stack, go for the stack. Leave one guy on A, but yeah, Zipnix is still here. Okay,
Yeah.
So they actually did do that. They still got Zipnix there to support from Sniper.
And he's there with the flashbang, so this is something that we've been bringing up for so long and actually been criticizing a lot of teams for, especially on Cobblestone. There are just so many ways to spring this trap. So if you look at Zipnix right now, he's got the flashbang in hand, and the whole round hinges on this guy throwing a good flashbang when the push happens, because they can clean up with the pistols if that flashbang is good, but it's pretty hard to do that, especially if they're going to come in from the L-bend as well. These people from Monster Tunnel should be flashed when the flashbang goes through, and it's actually out already. No, Reno turning around, really good reaction, and MSL gonna clean up instead. Just complete failure coming out of Astralis. Losing 3 men early on, and another 2 coming in. MSL quad kill with the MAC-10, which is gonna land him at about, well, almost 7,000 at the beginning of this round, so pretty good stuff there. It's still a good idea, but they were a little bit too slow with the flashbang. They were already pushed in.
Yeah, that was it. And Rubino, you see how the reactions play out, man? Boom, just turns around as soon as he sees the flash coming. Completely ineffective flash in the end.
And that's why I say it was too late, because it's supposed to go in so that it just comes around the sort of the actual pillar. They're not supposed to see it sort of be thrown from up there.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Astralis were just holding so passively, right? They were just crouched and waiting. They weren't peeking to get the info to spot. But that's the way it plays out. Sometimes, you've got those pistols. It really is like a bit of a small chance, especially when you're rocking mostly P2000s, to actually win the round. So it's not going to be the end of the world here for Astralis. If they lose this round, though, it's going to start looking grim. They've got those 4 rifles. They've got the AWP on Kerrigan. And again, the AWP on Kerrigan. Device just doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with the sniper rifle right now, even though he got a clutch with it in the first half.
It's hard to tell sometimes, and I mean, we don't know what they've been practicing, but this is a team that has had that challenge for a while, who actually picks it up. And when Cajun sort of was picked up on the team originally, that was supposed to be his job, and then he wasn't too consistent with it. Then they try and make Device the main one, and I guess now Kerrigan doing a little bit of everything, it seems. He is pushed up a little bit aggressively here, and he doesn't have that much backup. Dupree is close behind him, but if they were to run him down, don't see him making it out. So I kind of like the fact that he's falling back. Astralis have gone for a setup that allows Dignitas to sort of take control of most of the map without using too much utility, which means they still have 4 smokes in their on their team that they can use to maybe block down this bomb site and just get in there and get the bomb down.
Exactly. Oh, look at this. And Glaive is rotating back towards B. So they really are trying to bolster the defense on that B site. Dignitas, they went to it in the last round. Would they go for it again? No. MSL is calling for an A play here. 20 seconds left, though. I mean, they're not leaving themselves any time, any room to work with. Kerrigan with the first pick on Rubino, and then the rest of Dignitas are just going to charge up on long. Flash there to even buy more time. Kerrigan's going to miss the follow-up shot. 10 seconds left as Cajun takes out Dupree. But this is all the pressure now to get this bomb down. The blast is effective. 2 kills come through for Glaive. He could get the third, but MSL is going to shut him down. And it's a man advantage now for Astralis going into the retake.
Oh, this is going to be tough for Dignitas to try and hold on to. MSL very much out in the open. That's a good smoke to come through. But Device walking in from behind, going to take down both MSL and Tensky. And you're right, not a lot of time. And Astralis pretty quick with the rotation there. That's going to give them the round. And we will be at 10-8. So that was a big test for Astralis. They absolutely needed to win that round. They only lost 2 members. That's also a good sign that their economy is at least improving. This flash with the smoke there is just perfect teamwork.
That was nuts. But yeah, what I'm wondering right now is, because this is that Danish matchup, right? The mind games are going to go so deep. What I'm wondering is if MSL and Kerrigan are overthinking things, right? Because we saw it for the T side on Astralis, where they kept running down that clock down to 20 seconds before actually pushing onto a site. We're seeing it here with MSL. They didn't leave themselves any time to work with their Dignitas. It was literally just like 15 seconds, run up, plant the bomb, cross your fingers and hope that nobody's going to dunk a nade on you or just spray through the smoke and cancel it, because then you lose the round, right? That's cutting it way too close. In general, you want to see teams start to actually execute onto a site with like 40 seconds, 35 seconds left in the round, so they have some room to maneuver with if something goes wrong when the push goes through. So Dignitas, they need to tighten up their game. MSL needs to start being a bit more decisive with the calls here and getting them going a bit earlier in the round so that they aren't getting caught out just like there.
It feels like both teams really want, on the terrorist side, they want the CT side to come and find them first. They're hoping for some aggression that they can play into and maybe win an early fight like that. And both CT sides have been pretty defensive. I think Dignitas showed a bit more creativity on the CT side than Astralis have so far. Spray down from SIP, that's a pretty good angle there, and they're trying to follow up on it, but Device is there to cover his back, so that's a 2-for-0 trade, and Glaive coming in. So a 3-man setup on B. They each pick up a kill. It could not possibly be any better at this point in time now. All on Cage to try and make this round expensive. He does get the shot on Glaive, but not the kill, and that's going to be a flawless round coming out of Astralis to tie up the scoreline at 10-10.
Flawless is right. That's where everything plays out perfectly, right? Zipnix gets the first pick on short. That successfully baits Rubino in through Monster into Device, who was waiting. And Glaive with the rotate down from CT, then saves Zipnix. It's like everything step by step fell into place for Astralis for that defense to just hold perfectly versus Dignitas. That's kind of where like your stomach kind of drops if you're Dignitas. Where you're just like, well, we just got owned in that round. Really, what else can we do? We're trying to bring it back. We're trying to get the kill to get the punish. But Astralis were one step ahead the entire time. And now look at this from Kerrigan, man. He is aggressive, and there's pistols coming at him right around the corner. He's going to be able to pick up the kill, and he has some wood from his teammate and connector. Dupree, though, getting headshot down to 64.
Yeah, they don't want to overcommit to try and sort of save this AWP, and it looks like they sort of managed to calm down a little bit. But the worst thing that can happen is if you just try and run in one at a time to take a fight. But looks like they managed to stop the flood of Dignitas that were running up there. A little bit scary for Cajun for a moment. Oh, sorry, for Kerrigan for a moment.
That's like an opera's worst nightmare, right? It's like you hear the footsteps and you're like, wait. I hear a lot of footsteps. It sounds like a herd coming at me, not just like the single lone gunman. That was the troop. And if you're an opera, you've got one shot, and then you're back onto your pistol, and you're just hoping that the guy isn't going to be there to trade on you the way he should be with Tech 9s, right? So, yeah, definitely a little bit of a scary situation, but they managed to keep the control. Astralis now lead 11-10. And ever since picking up that first gun round, I mean, things have been looking up here for Astralis. Dignitas now, they've got rifles again. Cajun, no AWP for him. It's just the AKs across the board here for Dignitas and a healthy nade count. So let's see if they just decide to be a little bit more decisive. If they actually decide to get in here and be a bit more aggressive, that's what I'm looking for here for Dignitas. They just need to get out there and charge into the defense, just beat Astralis straight up.
Well, again, very quick. It very nearly worked last time with why not try it with rifles? They're going to go for a quick trade here. Flashbang comes out. Tensky's low on health and flashed in the corner. Glaive doing a very good job. I don't think he needs to commit to this, and he can't fall back, unfortunately, trying his best there. And I think he got some help. Some flashbangs coming up from behind, but he still ended up going down. So now 3-on-3 here, and this is a much quicker round coming out of Dignitas. Device and Sipnix, though, are in good position to try and deal with this.
If they lose this round, Dignitas, they're going to be so frustrated just because they literally went for that. They're like, right, enough of this sitting around and waiting. Charge at them, take the fight to them, look for the headshots. If you've gone through all of your options and then this one fails you, it's going to be looking grim. But CajunB's there to open things up. He takes down Zipnix. Device still crouching on the site, though, has a chance to step in here and actually have an impact. But he gets forced off the angle. He decides to give it up, and that bomb is going to get planted. They line up for Device, but he misses the second kill. And it's all on Kerrigan now, 1v2.
Oh man, what a round already now. Kerrigan here, he's got a smoke, he's going to put it close to try and fake them out. He's got the AWPs, that smoke is going to do a lot for him. They have to go and peek him now every once in a while. A Molotov also coming in, he's up on top of the box, he's going to hit the first. Config reveals himself, and there it is! Kerrigan clutching it! Oh, this man has had so many rounds in his life where it gets so close, and this is one of the few times he actually does it. And that was masterful play. He uses the smoke, and that forces them to go and peek. He picks them off, and I think Config, if he hadn't fired that rifle, then Kerrigan would have been hard for him to check that corner. He wouldn't have known to check it. So just a tiny, tiny error. Look at Kerrigan. He doesn't know that Config is there until he fires that gun. Oh, man. That's a big round. That might be one of the pivotal rounds here between these two teams.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to completely turn things. Not only did you get beat up at the beginning of the round when you chose to go ultra aggressive, but then you lose a clutch to Kerrigan. Not saying like that, like it's a bad thing, you know, but you're right. I mean, we've seen a lot of situations where Kerrigan, he gets 3 kills, 2 kills, but he fails to get the last one and clutch it for his team. This time, against Dignitas, it actually works. And while Dignitas, again, they're looking to change things up. They're going to go for an aggressive push onto the B site. There's the flash to open things up. Device trades places, gets back into that smoke. Actually, I think it looks like Config realized it, though, and Device is going to try and come out. Not going to happen. He gets shut down. And there we go. Now everything works out perfectly for Dignitas. Just a simple flash. Everybody runs in, no fear, and they get the job done.
Yes, and that flashbang was thrown over from Toxic instead, so that's a pretty good job there. Just trying to make sure that that there wasn't any audio cue. You know, if they had underhand thrown that flash in the tunnel itself, then they could have maybe heard that, and it would have been interesting. I love the fact that. And you're absolutely right that Config saw that somehow. He realized that Devices walked into the smoke, because otherwise things could get real tricky.
Well, now, I mean, that's a feel-good moment for Dignitas. You got beat up in a clutch in the last round. This time, everything goes according to plan. You even changed it up where you go towards the B site. Haven't been really hitting it too hard, so things are looking up here. We're looking at Zipnix, actually, who's trailing a little bit here on Astralis. If you look at the scoreboard, just the scoreboard right with the kills, Zipnix is still sitting on single digits, whereas the rest of his team are starting to get into the teens. Dupree, Kerrigan, kind of lagging behind on Device and Glaive, though. I mean, it's still mind-blowing to see that Glaive is the one who's right up there with Device right now. 21 kills for him. It has to make you wonder, you know, how Astralis decided to set up the CT. Did they just actually ask Glaive, like, right, where do you play? And just make your stand-in as effective as possible and just gave him his spots?
It could be something like that. I mean, he's also going to be playing with less pressure, because for all he knows, this is just a one-time thing until Kebu's back in it. Now, I did tweet quite a while ago when they announced this was happening. I said, this is probably going to end up like some sort of liquid Kusta situation where Glaive does really well, and suddenly everyone is like, well, should they keep Glaive and you know, never mind Kebu? I tweeted that because I thought that would be, you know, a good little prediction to put in, but...
Get your fix on the drama.
Of course, you know, yes. Of course. I doubt it very seriously, in all honesty, but, you know, from Astralis' point of view, if they could make it out of the group here, I mean, this is the easiest group by some margin, but still, if they can make it out, considering they're not playing with their real lineup, even that, I think, would be sort of a bit of a victory, and then anything beyond that, I guess we'll see how it goes. Right now, MSL sneaking on down through connector. There is Dupree and Kerrigan, and this time Dupree, he wants to check that corner, and Cajun's on the other side.
Now that setup is there. I mean, 3 players waiting, and now the push comes through. Cajun rewarded. Again, you have to remind people that Cajun, he's playing against his old team, so he's waiting for the push to come out. Maybe he's thinking, right, so if we show ourselves over here, what Astralis used to do with this, or the tendency of my teammate was this, he would do this. You know, right, he has all this inside info that he gets to play off of now, which is just going to make Astralis' life a little bit more difficult. Dupree, you know, he finds that out. Kerrigan somehow lives long enough to find a kill on Rubino, though, and he gets the follow-up as well. MSL is down. Now Kerrigan will finally get traded by Config, who was a little late coming up from long, but Kerrigan made the difference. It's a 3-on-3, and now a 3-on-2, and Zipnix just going ham behind Optimus. Finally gets shut down, but isn't looking good.
There's no
Config's
time.
only got 8. Yeah, exactly. He's got 8 HP in no time.
And he goes down after the time has run out, I believe. So that's an even bigger problem there. I don't know why Carrigan survived the first initial fight, because he was flashed and out in the open. And then afterwards, some incredible flicks coming out of the Danish captain. That's very impressive. So 13 to 11, and moving into the 25th round. And Dignitas, it's been some key rounds here that they needed to win, and they just haven't. So now they're in a really tough position economically. It's not that Astralis are actually doing much better. Both teams are kind of low on economy, so whoever wins this upcoming round could, well, from Astralis' point of view, either almost win the game, or Dignitas could be right back in it.
If they could reset here, but they are not going to get much of a chance. Dupree's there to catch Cajun. So there's the first kill going his way. Carrigan drops the bomb carrier. That's Rubino down. Dupree will eventually get overrun. He's just not got any support from the site itself, and so he's out in the open. He gets shot in the face, but there's still a man advantage here for Astralis. Now they know what's actually happening here. Dignitas going to commit to that site. MSL, though, that was a beautiful shot on Glavenbank. Just comes around the corner, boom, pre-fire. And now 3-on-3, but Carrigan for one. It's like MSL forgot that there was an opera over there.
And Tensky only had the Tech 9 with which to try and defeat Device, and that wasn't good enough. Again, it's going to be another round here for Astralis and Dignitas, though. They didn't invest fully into this round, and with the bomb plant, they are going to have a lot of money to try and fight with. But I'm still getting worried. These rounds are mainly working out for Astralis now. And another 2, and they'll be winning the first map of the major.
Exactly, the first map of the major, the first match, no pressure. You know, just everybody, all eyes on you right now.
I think the veto did work out quite well for Astralis overall. I think they're going to be happy playing Overpass, and I wonder if Dignitas had a really deep plan going into this T side, because they do seem to run into a lot of trouble, and again, they keep running the clock very, very low.
Yeah, that's where that indecisiveness comes into play. And Kerrigan, wow, fully commits to Birthday. He's going to get the leg shot onto Config, so a little bit of a head shake there from him for sure. He knows that he could have got that first pick and really started things off strong for his team. Instead, it's just the damage going on to Config. With how Config has been hitting shots, you definitely want to knock that guy out early on here in the round. You do not want him to get rolling. So at least you slowed him down. Not literally, you know, in real life, shot and let, you probably just, you know, you're not really going to be going anywhere. CSGO can still run, so I mean, you know. He's gonna be quick.
50 caliber to the leg. Yeah, I don't think there's any leg.
This isn't Skyrim.
No, not at all. Rubino down by the B bomb side outside. So very normal normal terrorist setup where you have just one guy waiting outside a B, making sure no one sneaks in, and then you got the rest of the team somewhere else. Now, Rubino's actually going to give up that position and seems to be reconnecting with the rest of the team. And Carrigan, he's been very good at hitting these shots so far. If he gets one more in here, how can Dignitas possibly make it through? The rotation will be happening fairly quick after that.
He's got Dupree to watch his back, so he knows he can just sit here at this angle. Misses the shot, though. That was a golden opportunity here for Carrigan to start things off. He's actually going to go for the repeat behind it, though. Sees the man coming out from bank, and this time he hits it. Rubino is now straight coming in from Dupree. Holds it a bit too long, though, and he gets punished by MSL. But this is still a situation that favors Astralis. MSL hardly has any HP to speak of. And we're into a 3-on-4. The retake coming in for Zip. And then MSL somehow catches them lined up. Double headshot.
That's going to look ridiculous from his point of view. There's no way that he could have known. Now, all on Device here, and I don't think it's worth doing it. They don't have that much money again on Astralis' side, so try and maybe steal an AWP and just walk away with it. Clutching the 1v3, although would be impressive, I don't think it's actually worth playing for, so does spot out MSL, and he should be able to at least take him out. There's a good spray coming through, but just not enough time, I think, to get the last 2 kills and defuse the bomb. Good headshot there. He's going to hold it in, but Cajun there, long range with the AWP, and that's going to be the round in favor of Dignitas, 12 to 14. I do want to point this out. I know I complain about this all the time, but it's grinding me. It keeps me up at night, Semler. People keep putting down the bomb in the exact same spot on this map, and no one does anything about it. They have HEs, they have Molotovs. It's real easy to Molotov out that bomb plant. You can do it from any one of 100 different sort of positions on the CT side, and they're not doing anything else. They're smoked off, so they're just waiting anyway, and while refusing to stop the guy from putting down the bomb. I'm saying it now again. Someone please start doing that.
Well, you can even wallbang the boxes, can't you? I mean,
yes,
that's another point that you're talking about. You can shoot those boxes exactly where the guy's planting the bomb. So there's a whole, quite a few options for the CT side. We haven't seen it work out yet. Device, though, he's going to find KGB looking his way on towards that B site. And Astralis, they prepared for any kind of B push, early aggression coming out here from Dignitas. They have the 3 players ready to hold on the B side itself, and it doesn't look like Dignitas really want to waste too much time. Rubito, you can see him trying to get in position to set up a nade. That bomb is still waiting out front of Monster. And
look, I can just already see the Twitch chat going back as he's aiming through up on Carrigan, who's up there. Obviously, he's waiting for the jump. In case anyone is wondering, he's hoping that someone on the CT side will jump through. But, oh, did we turn the X-ray off and on and Carrigan was gone? That was like a magic trick. I love that. Dupree on the other side, and MSL gonna hard check the corner with a Molotov, which is a very good idea. That's such a nice way to get an early kill if it was gonna happen. Still playing 4-on-5 right now in about 45 seconds. They push through into the B-bomb side, and Sip is there. He gets both the kills with the 5-7, drops the bomb, and they're in a lot of trouble. Dignitas, they need this round, otherwise it's gonna be map point here for Astralis, and Rubino wants to sneak through. AWP smoked off for the moment, so you can't really see anything. They will pick up the bomb, but now they're sandwiched in, and Dupree is there to pick up the kill as they try and transfer onto the bomb site. Rubino entirely alone now, and he goes down to Carrigan. Solid round from Sipnix.
And I got to give it to Dupree. That setup on the A side, it worked out perfectly for Astralis because he was close enough to restroom to hear MSL backing off. And then it's all about, right, just rotate everybody down to the B site. Zipnix, he's just like, I don't need your help, guys. I'll get both kills on my own. I'll drop the bomb at Mons. It's all good. I've got it under control. But Dupree did actually make the difference there because then Astralis are able to rotate down to the B site, set up the defense early, and Dignitas, they end up running right into the blender. So now this is set up for Astralis to just end things here, pick up their first map, go into that winner match of the group here. You only need to win 2 best-of-1s, basically. To get that first seed, you win 2 maps, you get that first seed. And so Astralis, they'll be within striking distance here, getting out of the groups once again at the majors.
And to try and keep the dream alive, Dignitas really only have pistols and armor. What a horrible way to play the 28th round. Dupree taking down 2 and going for a 3rd. Still 7 bullets left. KD coming through the smoke and the pistols out. It's going to be Dupree to pick up a quad kill and make it 16-12 in favor of Astralis. High fives all around here as the favored team do make it through in the first match at least of this major tournament. It's Device at 20. Swinging, then who knows? I've got to say, Gambit at and during E-League were looking a bit odd. Sort of, you know, some good performances, but mostly from individual players. You had games where Adrian was sort of going off the charts. You had games where Hooch was playing really well, but never it seemed at the same time. So I'm a bit sort of wondering exactly what we're going to see. I definitely wouldn't rule it out that CLG could show up and do some interesting stuff here.
To me, you know, it's like I believe it was Blue on the desk who was mentioning Kusta. For me, Kusta's the standout player here for CLG because he's right. You know, when he was on Liquid, he was a very static kind of opera. They used him a lot on A towards cards and on the cars and on the site itself, and he didn't really move too much from there. I'm curious to see how CLG decide to get him into the fight. Is he going to have more freedom, or is he going to be expected once again to just lock down that A site? That's and the other thing to note here is that Peta is continuing to fill that playing role, right? Where it used to be that he was the caller, he was the sixth man, he was the coach. Now all of a sudden he's the caller, but he's in the game as well. So definitely a little. I mean, there's a lot moving here, a lot of moving parts for CLG. We're
going to get right into it, it seems, straight away, and Nemo already taking down Tarek. That's a really good way to start a whole round here. They're going to be playing on the terrorist side, and that's Gambit Gaming. They don't exactly move up behind that. You know, they just get the first kill. You see they sort of thought about it for a minute. Should we try and rush it? But I think it is the more solid choice to just stay put for a moment. That leaves Kuster in A, Peter at long, Hayes in middle, and Cutler over at B. That means nobody from CLG can back up each other right now. Whoever is going to get hit is going to have to do it on his own, and that's going to be Kuster. A big test. He's already been headshot. There's no way out of this except Desert Space to take him out. Hayes with a very good flick and trying to see if he could follow it up. They don't need to peek him. They should not be fighting him. It's a 3-on-4 with the bomb down.
Yeah, now, well, this is playing right into Gambit's hands. They love that A site. They are one of those teams that really sticks to catwalk and push up onto that A site. So they're going to feel comfortable with the situation. Now they've got the active plan. It is Cutler trying to do the best that he can, but it's not going to be good enough. He only gets the one kill going into into it, but it would have been tough no matter how you looked at it there. Gambit, they had the 4 players surviving. They had control of the bomb site. Only 2 there for CLG to try and make a retake. And so that means Gambit will be picking up the first pistol of this map. It's been a bit of a T-sided pistol day so far. Stralis, Dignitas, both winning their T-side pistols. Now it's Gambit, with the T-side pistol here on Dust 2.
Just maybe with a bit of hindsight, but not even that much. I would have probably, since Peter was playing long, I would have probably put Kuster on long as well, but have him play the car position, because then he could try and get some shots with the USP, but if he failed, they could have at least gone for like a full 4-on-5 retake. Not easy, but I think more doable than, because that setup basically says we're just hoping Kuster will get at least 2 kills. He has to get at least 2 for that to work out. Now they're walking right into the deagle of Haste. Doesn't seem to be really hitting anything, so I made that sound like it was a dangerous thing, but apparently not.
I like the little use of the lip there to get by, to get out of the tunnel even faster from whoever it was. I think it was Spaze, taking point, just clipping the lip, making sure that he gets in there quick. But I mean, right now, this is all kind of playing out according to plan here. CLG, another team that seemed to be going away from the 4 spy, at least in the second round. If they lose that pistol, no Kevlar for them, only the pistols, and couldn't be worse timing there for Dren. He's going to be, he jumps up, spots him, but he had the angle with the AK, so now he actually has to fall back and hope that he's going to be able to land some shots. Mo with the jumping shot, though. Looking for the follow-up, not going to hit the flick. This is just turning it, does he get a stuffed animal or something if he eventually gets the kill? We're at the fair, we're at the county fair right now, it's just like...
I don't think there are any county fairs where they let you shoot at other people to win prizes, I don't know where in the States you have been, but maybe go to Texas or something like that and find it. I don't know, that sounds horrific. Third round is going to be coming up here, and as you were pointing out, not much of an investment in that round for CLG, and not so much in this round either, still a little bit pistols. I think more than Astralis were doing when they were on Overpass, but regardless, Gambit are going to be in good form here, and so far it's working out well for them.
Yeah, so far so good. No worries at all. Spaze is going to be charging right out into a bit of a stack at long, but the flash timing is just barely off. He will be able to sneak his way past, but there are 2 guys stacked up on the angle. Delayed flash on Spaze, and he just needs to pull the trigger, but he doesn't realize it. Hooch will trade the kill, though, and he's going to look for more. Not going to find it. Tarek steps in. It's Doja who's going to make the difference. Both UMP kills for him. Bit more money in his pocket, but that was definitely a little shaky there for Gambit. Surprised that Spaze didn't just hold down mouse 1 at that point. He had the angle right in front of him, and he was flashed when he had it, so if anybody's coming around there, if you've got it with the AK, just hold down mouse 1, go for the spray.
Good use of grenades this time around, though, for Gambit. Smoking off the cross, Molotoving out, a very common position for someone to be holding there. And now Haste, is he going to be flashed through? Actually, what just happened? Was that a flash from Gambit? Yeah, it must have been, I guess. Didn't even see the tracer then, so I'm really confused about what's happening there. Smoke goes up, and Haste will try and creep on through, but not really going to be successful, which means it's just cut the length. Eagle in hand. And maybe a little bit too aggressive coming up the stairwell will give a 3rd UMP kill for Doja, so he's going to be happy about that. 3-0 for Gambit, and they are off to a fantastic start. We'll see if CLG can turn it around here, as Kusta does pick up the AWP.
No surprise there, he's going to be that primary opera for CLG. We also see Mo going straight to the AWP, so he isn't wasting any time, and he's got 4 kills so far, so Mo's, he's probably feeling it pretty warmed up. He's going to look for that gap shot here. He doesn't really have a long spawn, so it'd be a bit silly for him to go over there. Instead, yeah, just get in position, see if you can get the info, and he does get the timing perfectly spot on. Tags Haste for 50 through the door. So a wallbang shot, but still, he's not going to be able to confirm that 100% to his teammates, obviously. But Kusta, he finds Doja over at long. Was that right through the smoke? It looks like the smoke was up when he took the shot.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Doja was trying to shoot through. It sounded like, sort of faint fire of AK in the horizon. So I think maybe Doja was trying to sort of get a shot through, and that might have revealed his position. So a quick trade. It's a bit of a shame for CLG that Tarek went down in return. That was Space picking up that kill. So still a 4-on-4 here. This time, again, they're holding, except for in the B-bomb side, Kusta and Peter have very little chance to work together. There is a difference, which is that Kusta's on the corner here instead of on the bomb site. So with a bit of luck, he can just get a kill and fall back, and that would be a really good move here. We'll see if he's going to be successful. Grenades are raining in. He's got still the angle for it. They're jumping down, but that's a good kill. Actually, the bomb is now dropped up there. He wasn't expecting Space, though, and that's going to be 3-on-3 now with the bomb about to be planted in the A-bomb site.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. for Kusta, because he's just it's that lack of information basically. It's like split second off. He doesn't spot the man dropping into CT, so he doesn't expect. He thinks that he picked off the first guy, and that's it. Job done. He'll go over and support his mate on long. Instead, it's going to be Peta, Hazed, and well Cutler. The last 3 alive in a 3-on-3 retake on the A site. Adrian peeks out at the perfect time to pick off one. And he's now in a 1v2 clutch. Oh, he's going to get the first kill. Looks for the second, but it's not going to happen. Peta's there with the USP, long range to find that one. And he's going to have enough time with the kit to get the defuse. So CLG, they actually get that retake to work, despite the bumpy start.
Yeah, that's why I was advocating that same play in the pistol round. Retaking A, yeah, there's a shot coming through, good replay. It's because retaking A 3v3 or 4v4 is perfectly reasonable. It's you can definitely do that, and CLG just showing us that that's the case. So 5th round is coming up here. The only issue is only one member surviving. So if they lose now, they might be thrown into a sort of a double eco here, and that would be fairly painful, I think. A bit of a close spawn for long, it seems. Space charging around the corner, right into a Molotov, but CLG actually allowing him to get out, and that's going to be a quick kill here. Kusta still playing on the corner.
Oof, that nade looked like it was going to just land right at his feet. He only takes 8 damage, though. He's going to get that kill onto Space. Good patience there for Kusta, and nobody there to support Space from Gambit. With that smoke up, they didn't decide to actually get out there and take a fight for him, or even flash for him, give him any kind of help at all. Instead, it was just Space kind of crossing his fingers and hoping he could get out of there on his own. Not the best team play coming in here from Gambit, unfortunately. So we're back into a 4-on-4, and it does look like it's going to be action long here again. Gambit setting up with 3 players in house, but they decide to back off.
Where's the rifle? Look at Tarek. It looked like he was looking for whatever rifle Peta had there. Did it somehow go missing? That's very confusing.
Awkward. That actually cost him a smoke and $300 to get that AK as well. That's not ideal.
No, but at least he's got it. The only problem is this B push that's coming in, there's not going to be any backup. Kusta and Tarek are miles away, so I was going to say Cutler and Hasty do fall on their own, but now it's just Hasty. He didn't get the first kill, couldn't get the second, and he needed it. Kusta getting a crucial shot in on Hooch that still keeps them in the round. It won't be easy doing this 2v2, but it's possible. Flick coming out there, and Doja, they know at least he's on the left side. They knew that he was for a moment there. Tarek running into Mo in Upper Dark.
And now he's going to actually, not even going to be able to put anything into play there. The problem is that he had the utility as well for this retake to actually happen. A flash and an incendiary lost just like that. So it's one part of the flank, but it's also anything that could have really helped Kusta have an impact, trying to move on to the site. So Kusta, I mean, it's exactly what you described at the beginning of a round, Anders. They get into the fight, they lose it, and now, well, he has to back off and hold on to the AWP because his team is going to be broke. It's going to be an awkward situation for CLG when it comes to the money. It's like a double eco scenario just staring them in the face. That's definitely not what you want here versus Gambit.
No, a really, really big problem for them right here already, and I mean the problem is with the way they keep setting up CLG, because they're not being very proactive. They're being extremely defensive. In fact, whenever they lose a guy, they have to essentially have these positions where they can never back each other up. There's been almost no mid control for CLG all throughout, which means if Gambit get that part of the map, then neither A or B can help out the other side, and that's a big problem. Kusta being a bit aggressive here, and I love that. He's got the only AWP, so why not try and be a hero?
There we go. That's a worthy trade. Not sure if he spotted the man jumping in T-spawn, but that's going to be an opening for Mo. Spots out on Cutler. Hayes is going to go for the confirmation, taking some decent fights, and he actually finds the kill on Space somehow. He's just too quick with that pistol. They can't seem to find the shot on him, or if they do, it's a wallbang, so he survives. He's on 27 HP. He's picked up a kill, and Gambit decide enough is enough. We shouldn't actually need to commit in here. They're just so set on getting rid of Hazed, and Hazed, he's just dancing right on the edge of the flames, going to go for another spot. But now counter logic, they actually have to start spreading out back across the map. They can't fully stack onto the B site. They haven't actually seen anybody recommit to this B take from Gambit, and so now that leaves it to Peta, who's actually made his way all the way out the long. He isn't seeing anybody coming. And they're just so hard to kill right now. How does Kusta survive that?
I don't know, but why did he take the jump to begin with? That seemed like such a big risk to try and do. Almost headshots his teammate then. And Kusta is in the back line, but they know, they have confirmation the AWP's there, and that's why I didn't want him to jump. Because better to keep it a secret, to keep it hidden. Peta could come here if he takes this fight, but he doesn't win it against Hooch, and that would have been the big moment there. That would have kept control along. Now they are just going to end up losing every single member here. Kusta, the last one left. hiding and saving the AWP, but they know that, and Adrian gonna pick up that kill, making it to 3 overall in that round, and a total scoreline of 5-1 favoring Gambit here.
We could just be witnessing like the takeoff, right? Because Gambit now they don't even have to worry about an AWP being in the fight. They knew that they were running into an eco last round. All they had to do was dodge the op, or at least minimize its impact. They did a pretty good job of that. Kusta not really able to get anything going. And in this round, it's nothing but pistols. So Gambit, they can play it safe. They can take their time. They do look like they're spreading out into a default hold here on their T side to start in this round, right? And so they're just going to be holding out all 5 points, waiting to just see what do CLG have for them. Once again, that HE goes down to block off mid, and so Moo, he's not going to be able to spot rifles. He's not going to be able to communicate that info over to his teammates. He doesn't know what the B defense have to work with, and so Gambit just sit. They're just going to sit and feel things out.
We do have to mention that what we've seen at Gambit in the last week or so, they have been significantly better on their T side than they ever were on their CT side. Their CT sides appear to need a lot of work, so that's maybe the one saving grace here for CLG. But it's still a very strong start.
Well, Hooch leads the way. He picks up one. Is turning, looking for the shot onto Hayes. He's just tapping away. Not going to find the kill, and he just can't seem to get the wall bang either. Somehow Hayes survives. This guy, last round on B site too, just survived forever. And I think that Spade's getting shot by a teammate.
It is.
Pretty sure that he just got shot down to 40 HP from a teammate. Calm down, guys. You got control of the situation. It's looking good. You got out onto that A side again. You got the bomb down, and you know that you're facing pistols. And well, Hayes just finally goes down. It's actually an HE. You know, they can't seem to hit shots on him. So what do? They just fill the area around him with shrapnel. Dodge that, right? It's not gonna happen.
Doja gonna end up taking out Cutler, so that will be the round 6-1, and finally CLG can buy again. And this is actually a bit harsh because they go for a double eco, and yet their buy into this round, they do actually go for the double AWP as well. I was gonna say they will be lacking some grenades. They do have some, but you can tell there's no kit either, so they are sort of going all in on the idea that the defense will finally work here.
This just makes sense. Right? This just makes sense because you put one on Hazed. Moo is so consistent so far, just hitting these shots. Another shot onto Hayes, drops him low. It's going to be aggression early on, and we'll see if Spades actually has a teammate to help him out this time. Hooch setting up some flashes. He's actually going to peek, and he loses the fight versus Peta. Hooch is there to trade the kill and bring it back to a 4-on-4, though. Solid play this time around. Gambit actually working together as a unit on A instead of just kind of like feeding a teammate in there for nothing.
But again, CLG without the mid control, I can't remember any round where they've had a guy in CT spawn. They've had Kusta sort of looking in there from the A side of the map, but that's normally not enough. Hayes will be going down as well inside of B, and Cutler, this would have to be a heroic performance. Almost impossible to hold B alone in a 1-on-4 like this. He's even spotted, they're coming for him, and he only gets the one kill in, and you couldn't expect much more than that. And Peter and Tarek just gonna make it out. There's no point in fighting this. Again, CLG just unable, it seems, to really grasp the power of having mid-control on this map.
Yeah, I mean, we see that setup sometimes, where it's the 3 players holding, and that is kind of the game plan here for CLG. They're wanting to counter Gambit early at long, and that seems to be it. You know, like Gambit have gone long a few times with Space. We've seen it happen 3 times now, I think, where they charge out on long, put Space there, put a bit of a fight up, and so CLG are trying to counter that. They just aren't prepared for this very quick take of mid from Gambit. They were not expecting them to try and actually get out that presence through mid. So we'll see if they adjust CLG in the next round. They need to hold on to the rifles though to do it. Tarek, you have to survive.
Oh well, Peter helping out a little bit there. Good shot, and still a 7-1 scoreline. I mean, I'm fine with having 3 people on long, but what most people will do is they'll sort of go there and quick, and if there's a fight, then they'll try and win that fight, and if not, then they fall back quick, and usually into at least one person going to CT spawn. I feel like that CT spawn player is lacking a lot right now for CLG. It's creating a huge gap in the defense that Gambit just keep exploiting.
Well, this is a way to change things up. Aggressive boost here. Costa gonna spot the man jumping. That's Moose, survives on 4 HP. Costa hits the shot through the box. So it's wallbang damage. And well, this time around, again, Gambit just gonna put Spaze out on long immediately, not waste any time at all. The bomb is there as well. And so now Gambit, they have a chance to kind of crunch onto the defense here for the A site, now that they actually have long control, and they have all 4 players there actually. So it's more of a straightforward approach here coming in from Gambit. They're like, right, if you're going to hold on to Cat, we're going to get control on the other part of the side, on the other side of the map.
Hooch, I think, actually peeking for Mo over there, but he was a little bit slow to come out, so an easy shot happening. Kusta could have very nearly been a double kill for him. He's got Mo down there. There's a bit of a fight going on, a bit of a patience battle. Flashbang comes out, and Kusta, look at him taking his time. That is exactly the kind of mentality that made Kusta a big talking point to begin with. That's what you want to see. That's really important trait for a player to have. And Tarek not being able to follow up on Adrian, that should have probably been a kill. And somehow we're in a 3-on-3.
And Adrian's already watching mid for that rotate to come through. Upper Dark is, Cutler has control of Upper Dark at this point. Kusta hits the flick. He actually rotates in time to spot out Spades. That drops the bomb. And with 30 seconds left now, that doesn't leave a whole lot of time here for Gambit to make something happen. Kusta can fall into pit. He knows that they lost control of Catwalk. That's fine because Kusta's now got the angle onto the site. He's got the angle onto CT as well. This could be his hero round. A 4th kill for Kusta. And now it's all on Adrian. He's been spotted as well. Kusta has no idea that he's been legged already, but he doesn't. It's not necessary. The ace for Kusta. He single-handedly shuts down Gambit on the A site. And well, that's the attention necessary. I mean, that's why we were looking at him. He's the one who's going to make the difference here for CLG.
What a big round coming out. And I mean, the story of Kusta has really been a weird one, hasn't it? Because I feel like he was sort of built up to be the savior of North American Counter-Strike before he was even on a good team. And then when he got picked up, there's always been that question of whether or not he was sort of fully utilized. And I think maybe the pressure got to him as well. Now he's sort of made it in somewhere in between on a weird CLG lineup. So we'll see how that works. It could certainly, and I think a couple of people have already been theorizing that it could give him the space to come into his own a bit more and maybe rediscover his game.
I think that's the main thing. I mean, Thorn has also made the point in the past, though, where it could also be the end of him, right? If there's so much pressure on him on Liquid, if he shows up on CLG where he should be, the key player, and he can't deliver here, then where else can he go, right? Like, this might be the end of the line for Kusta, so there is a lot riding on him to come through here for CLG, and on an individual level and also on a team level.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Tarek is playing in CT spawn. That makes me happy. Although, tragically, looks like this might be one of the rounds where that is not needed. It doesn't mean the position is bad, but, you can't always be right. Smoke is going to go down there. Peter buying some more time, and they are kind of out of grenades. So, if Tarek could come over here, and he actually is rotating back. So, right now, this is looking like a really good setup coming out of CLG. If Kusta can stay alive, that is. Peter's going to have a hard time living. The best he can do is probably trade, but Kusta's coming in to help out on the corner. Now they might actually have a real defense here. Smoke goes up. Kusta boosting himself up on that ledge, and Peter close line just for a quick trade there. Kusta going to be going down. Now Tarek, can he buy the time? He has got the Molotov still.
No, he's at Gandalf, but he's been spotted. Adrian not going to win the duel, however, and so he's still alive on this site. He knows that if he peeks into that angle, though, Mo is going to be holding from Plateau with the AWP. Cutler peeks at the same time, opens up the space, but Tarek's been spotted. Not going to matter, though. Cutler and Hayes there to get 2 kills, and it's down to Mo with 15 seconds left on this clock. Now getting down to 10 seconds, and he needs to pick up the bomb. Remember, it's in CT, it's in the smoke. It's costing him valuable time, and that ends up costing him the round. The fact that he has to run in there, pick up that bomb, it just opens it up for Hayes to shoot him in the back with the P250. And, well, that's a second round, well, a third round total, but a second round in a row here for CLG.
I swear that fist bump didn't work out too well between Kusta and Tarek. There was something that they almost missed it. It was real close. But the round did work out. Maybe we'll get a replay of that. I'd love to see that in slow motion. 7-3 being the scoreline here. And CLG are starting to creep back into this game. The money must be a little bit low for Gambit as well. This is not over yet. Again, I think Gambit's CT sides have not been impressive so far. And this is us too. It could go either way. Kusta coming in with one more kill. He spots a couple of people in the lower dark, and they're going to throw a grenade in there. CLG are definitely still in this game.
I feel like it's Kusta's, dream now, basically, where he's just like, let me scrim, let me scrim. He's singing it to his teammates. He's just like, let me scrim, let me go aggressive, let me go for the peaks and the picks and manage to actually create something. Unfortunately, this time, it doesn't work for him. Doe's just holding the angle that he just got flashed into, just pulls the trigger with the AWP, and Kusta is down, but he still picked up 1 kill, and he is still keeping Gambit wary of that catwalk area in mid, because that's the second time now that he's defeated Mo over there, or at least first time he got the tag on Mo, this time he got the kill, but he's definitely keeping Gambit in check in mid. So we need more of that from Kusta. Now it's up to his teammates, though. It can't all be about Kusta. His teammates have got to do some work as well.
And again, no mid presence at all. And Tarek is hard on the bomb side. Now Peter's rotating in. It's I mean, at least they're committing to one sort of spot here. They got some chance to help each other out, so there is that going into it. But jumping down into CT spawn, and now is again Cutler and Hayes in that B bomb side having to do almost all of the work right now. They smoke off one doorway there, but there's still the window. A lot of positions to cover, and Doja here with the AWP trying to see if he can maybe find an angle, but that's a great defense being set up. Hayes, triple kill for him. Not the person I would normally expect to step up big with the AWP, but that's a solid round coming out of Hayes, making it 4-7.
He's the one closest. I mean, obviously, with the triple kill, puts him up to 8 kills now. He's right behind Kusta, who has 11. The rest of his teammates, still trying to catch up. But yeah, well, there was a time when it was this weird sort of situation where CLG would win if Hazed was hitting shots, right? And if Hazed wasn't, then CLG would lose, right? It was this weird sort of situation where Hazed actually became key for CLG to pick up rounds and pick up maps. I mean, if we have that Hayes plus the Kusta, maybe there's a chance here for the North American lineup.
Yeah, I never know where to put Hayes as a player. He's such a nice player. He has enough of a killer instinct. That's what always worries me. But this time he's doing fairly well. So is Tarek here, picking up a couple of eco frags. Peter stealing some of them, actually most of them there. But that will make it 5-7. I mean, this is now a very open game, I would say. If CLG can win even 2 more rounds, then I think Gambit will have thrown away a pretty big lead, and I mean that's rough 4 in a row right now for CLG. Very impressive.
Did it in the past, Gambit. Well, in the past, at least we've seen them play on land last week, basically, and they definitely did not look too solid on their CT side. So it's of the utmost importance that they actually lock down some T rounds and get a head start. So far they've maintained it. If they can actually, end it here, that would be beautiful, but it's not going to happen. Hazed, he's going to catch Mo being patient over in T-spawn, waits it out, gets the pick, and there's the man advantage for CLG, and they're even keeping aggressive. Peta, he's in lower dark. They're going to come looking for him. Spades gets the kill, but Kusta's there to trade.
Ooh. And Hayes, a little bit too close there. If he'd had a rifle, for sure Spades would have been gone, so a lot of confidence, and maybe it backfired a little bit here. They still have a pretty good position. They've lost a couple of rifles here, but they're in a 3-on-3, and because Space is so low on health, it won't be easy for Gambit to pick up a round behind this. Also, the positioning right now. Tarek close on catwalk. If he sees someone, he doesn't have to fight them. He can just sort of acknowledge that someone is there and maybe try and fall back. And Kusta could go wherever he wants right now. They can even go and help out Cutler. So they finally got a position where there's actually a rotation possible on the CT side. What a great way to continue.
Oh, he's going to catch him looking the wrong way. Double spray for Tarek. He's going to get caught by Hooch. But Tarek, he does the damage. 2 kills for him. And now it's going to be... Well, Kusta can rotate over fairly quickly. He's on CT slope, but he's got his teammate Cutler making his way towards B slope. And now Hooch seems like he wants to actually get out here in the middle, and he's going to walk right into that waiting AWP. Kusta with an excellent read on the situation. Realizes that they were still vulnerable. They just set up perfectly for Hooch to walk right into him. So that crossfire, it works. 6-7 now. Counterlogic Gaming 1 round away from tying it up, and it's looking fairly good. Not the best economy for Gambit, and it looks like Gambit are willing to go for the half buy. It's all about that 15th round now, whether it's going to end... Well, there's still a chance, even with the half buy on Dust 2, to actually make a rush work with the Tech 9s.
Yeah, you definitely can. Hooch is going to be running towards mid, I guess, and the rest are running over at the B bomb side. If they just ran in right now, Cutler, they did just put up the Molotov there, so that's important. It's always a risk to not do that. Peter, again, behind this box, and they're going to check, but not as well as last time, and he ends up trading 2 for 1. Spades will take him out.
Spades always seems to be the one. Whoa, okay, then Hazed.
Grenade into AWP shot.
Wallbang flick as well, just deadly, and Hazed. He nearly gets the timing right to get the pick on Adrian, who's dancing around a little bit. Going to be able to sneak his way through, but he doesn't realize that Tarek has already pushed out from Longhouse to top mid, and Hazed with the final kill of the round. They're starting to warm up here, CLG. 7-7 now, tied up going into the 15th round, the last round of this first half. And, well, I mean, double op, just maintain. CLG is working so far, just maintain. All the pressure is now shifted over to Gambit to come out ahead in this first half. This is still a bit, fairly T-sided map, rather. So Gambit, we expect like a 9-6 out of them. 8-7 is cutting it a bit close. And if CLG come out ahead, 8-7, definitely not going to be liking the odds for Gambit.
No, that would make it a bit rough, wouldn't it? Mo trying to force a peek there, but he does get legged, and Hayes picks up Adrian, so what a great start for CLG. Just taking that mid-fight head-on as well is not easy when you're on the CT side, but they make it work, and they're going to allow Hooch to get out, and Peter's there waiting. This really seems to be finally clicking for the CLG team. And they are looking to pick up just another round here. So far, winning 6 in a row and looking for a 7th round. What a fantastic streak.
Yeah, what a turnaround. And what a collapse for Gambit. They had everything going for them, and then just CLG started to wake up. They got that double op into play. And ever since they've actually had the money to afford it, it's been looking fantastic here for CLG. They're going to lead the way with Moo, who's been hitting some shots so far in this first half. Kind of dropped off, obviously, during the CLG streak, but before then, Mo was the driving force. He's got that AWP again, and this time Cutler is not going to fall. It's not all on Hazed. Hazed and Cutler both alive. Cutler gets flashed, though, and that opens it up. Doja drops him on the slope, and now it's again all on Hazed with the no-scope on it. Doja hits the shot, but Spaze is there to trade. Still a man advantage going into the retake here for CLG.
Right, so I think Gambit are probably going to have to take a big risk here. I can't see them just holding on the side and winning the round. They need some sort of trick, and they're actually all out of grenades. I was going to say put Space up in the window and flash him out to take a peek, take a fight. They can't even do that. They actually have to stay right now. There is a Molotov on Tarek, so if Mo misses a shot, he might be out of this round just because of that Molotov. Space has a lot of work to do still. There's Serene coming in first on Space. They line up for him, and he gets one kill. Mo with the other one, and that's going to be the round. Triple kill for Space, finishing the half at 8-7, and again and again and again. I've just got to point out that mid control for CLG lacking. I think maybe 2 rounds maybe out of 15 where they had someone in CT spawn. That is absolutely atrocious. We'll see how it goes when we get back into the second half here at CLG and Gambit. Stay with us. To the second half here, we got CLG and Gambit playing in a best of 1 on Dust 2, and it was such a great start for Gambit. You see it here, they're up 5-1, but then suddenly Kusta ends up getting an ace, and Hazed, as you can tell here, with an absolutely great B-hold coming out, and we finished the half at 8-7, slightly favoring Gambit, but overall I think CLG showed a bit more than I was expecting.
I think everybody, I mean, it was pretty clear across the desk. I mean, for us as well, predictions going into this match, Gambit should be able to take it. They should be able to just kind of crush through CLG. CLG haven't really shown us anything to get behind in the past months, and so it's just like, right, you kind of expect Gambit, who have had a little bit more LAN exposure recently, to get the job done and just kind of crush them out on Dust 2. We're just seeing where Gambit are a little bit shaky on the map, it seems.
Also impressive, I think, for CLGs who are doing this well, when you forget about a whole part of the map, when you don't even realize that you can hold the middle with human beings from your own team. Right. That's impressive, because they were really just holding A, long, and B, and just 2 rounds maybe out of 15 that they decided to have someone in CT spawn, which I would venture to say you won't see much for the rest of this major tournament. I think every time we see Dust 2, we're going to see a lot more rounds where there's someone in CT spawn. We'll see how this goes. Now Gambit are on the CT side. They have the kit, and they have a couple of flashbangs here. CLG, all armor except for Hazed.
Yeah, Hayes actually going to be taking the hit. He's going to have the smoke grenade to start things off, and well, it is not really necessary. It's just a straight rush onto the B site coming through. They do trade, but Adrian with a push up to top mid is going to take down Tarek, and so that kind of ruins things here for CLG. They will be able to get out onto the B site, but Doja's already here. 3 players on B slope actually for Gambit, and so as soon as that bomb goes down, they could even try and just get in there to take the fight. The smoke is going to go down, blocking off the B slope doors, but Gambit are in position to try and pounce on this. They're going to go for that 2-man on B slope, 2-man in upper dark, kind of split onto the site and hope to crush the defense.
Bit of a tough defense actually coming out here for CLG. They're a man down and they don't have any equipment at all, but good shot from Adrian taking down Hayes. Now Peter and Kusta, they've got more to do and they're going to go aggressive, and that's such a smart move. Very intelligent Counter-Strike coming out. That's exactly what they had to do. Now we're talking a 2-on-2. They're holding it inside, and Adrian, he wants to push him. Kusta's holding behind. They're reading it so well. What a round coming out. Peter with the triple, Kusta with the double, and this is one you should take note of. Just put a little mental note in your mind. Go back and watch this round, because that's exactly how you want to play Counter-Strike. If they had stayed in the bomb side, I guarantee you 100% of the time they would lose that. 2-on-4 when you're being sandwiched in, it is not going to work. You have to just essentially man up and go and get that fight outside of the bomb side. That's so smart play.
That's exactly it. It's your only chance. You're going to get crushed if you stay put, so look for the fight. You see it actually become a part of the standard hold as well. When the B split actually comes in, the guys who play B, they'll try and challenge upper dark. They'll try and look for the weakness in the push. And this time around, CLG, they actually get it to break their way. So Gambit, they got robbed, and once again, well, both teams picking up a pistol round, so they've all got, I mean, it's basically equal going forward from here. 8-8, it's tied up, but already Mo, he had a strong start to the first half, kind of dropped off a little bit towards the end of the first half. At least here he's able to get something done. He gets that scout into play, starts things off strong for Gambit in the 17th.
Gambit going for a bit of a stack up over and long. Adrian and Doja and Mo up there. So I like the double scout in play from Gambit. I think actually that's an underutilized strat on Dust 2, especially on Dust 2 is something that you could do. I would even argue you could get 3 scouts if you had the money for it. I don't think that would be a waste on Dust 2.
There's just so many long angles. I mean, look, the way that they've set it up now, Mo's playing a car. This is usually where you'll have your AWP. Now, with the scout, that works out fine because he can, if the smoke goes down, he can try and jump over the smoke, still be accurate, turns away for the flash, or at least he's expecting one. It's going to be a bit of a delayed flash. No flash at all. And so now he actually gets to just dance around here, spots the man in the smoke, and Tarek actually catches him off guard.
Wow, what a shame. It looked like there was a big opening there. Nice accuracy coming out from Doja, taking Cutler down to 13 health, but still a good round here for CLG so far at least. Got to be a bit careful now, as 2 of their members are quite low on health here, and actually they're dropping everyone, it seems. Oh no, they're going to get overrun, and an absolute roar erupts from Gambit. I could hear that all the way up here. Again, they're on a different floor from us. They're 1 floor down, and a little bit sort of isolated down there, and still you could hear the excitement. 9-8, and they are going to be moving into the 18th round here. That's such a big win for Gambit, even if it was a bad start.
That's huge. It's the first time now we're going to see that second round win coming through for the team that was ecoing, or force buying in Gambit's case, right? They are a team that will go for the Kevlars. You guys saw the double scout, and it works. They actually managed to build off of that. And so, well, what are you going to do if you're CLG? You're the ones who have to go for the pistols. They aren't actually going to try and turn this into a brawl either. Some teams would go for the force buy behind this, go for Tech 9 armor, try and rush out onto a site. Instead, CLG, they're going to be counting on the 19th round, so it almost just follows the regular pattern here, as if they had lost the pistol. Now they're just going to go for a round of eco, and they'll try and buy in the next one. No smokes, no flashes, nothing really helped them get that bomb plant happening, though, so that's a little frustrating here for CLG. They're going to have to look for some headshots.
Mo deciding, since the scout wasn't really working for him, the grenade will do 88 damage in 1 grenade there, so that's going to be a bit annoying for Cutler. And then Hooch coming in to clean up what was left. So overall, fairly comfortable round coming out of Gambit, and they're not really taking many risks either, it seems. They're just going to be playing it safe behind those doors.
Yeah, they're just saying, come and look for the, you want to fight, you're going to have to do it through a choke point. Hazed and Peta, though, both with Deagles, both finding headshots. Doja will drop Hazed. Finally, Doja getting into the fight. He pushed out from Longhouse. They realized exactly where the remaining CLG players were. So now Doja's the one to save the day here. He drops Peta down to 6 HP. And Peta, at this point, is just content to sit and wait. Somehow survives that HE grenade with 3 HP.
is getting pretty close right now.
This is a little silly.
Obviously just hoping for the 1 dig to come in somewhere. And again, any kill here is definitely going to help them out so much, but eventually they should be able to find him. And they've got the bomb in there, so they don't really need to go anywhere. There's the round, but it became more expensive than it needed to be. It's going to help out CLG later on, as they can actually go into a buy this round. So good job there. 8-10 though. And we'll see if Gambit can play the CT side. That's what I'm really curious about.
Exactly. I mean, now Mo, he was, if he has that AWP, he can continue to try and do some damage here on that CT side, right? Depends on where they want to put him. It looks like he's going to go for the fight in mid. But it's 4 rifles backing him up, and we'll see if it's going to be a key part of their game plan to go for the double AWP. It's always an option here for Gambit. So CLG, instead of actually going aggressive, trying to go for a rush anywhere, they're just going for a default kind of hold. Hayes is going to get tagged, though. And that was at top mid. So Mo, it does work out that he is challenging mid. He eventually gets some damage in there. But this is basically where everything stabilizes now for both of these teams. Both of them, fall into defaults or sort of scenarios here.
Right, and just to point out again, already Gambit off with the mid control, right? They got Mo, they got Hooch in here, so Space alone in B, but not so much alone, not more than they can just rotate a couple of members in there to help out. Nice shot for Mo coming in. He's caught trying to dance on the edge there, and that's going to be 4-on-4 here. Tarek did get a kill in return.
Hooch is close enough to hear the footsteps on catwalk, so he's going to be communicating that to his teammate. That's Adrian holding up on the site itself. But now that they start walking, this is where Hooch starts to wonder, okay, what is the play? 50 seconds left on this clock, meaning that CLG, they still have some options. They can still change things up and try and go back to B, or try to pressure in mid, which is why Hooch puts that smoke up. Wants to try and buy as much time as possible here before CLG actually have to commit to a site. 40 seconds left. And with everybody here for pretty much on catwalk for CLG, apart from the man holding in mid, it is looking like this will eventually turn into an A hit here for CLG. They have the smokes necessary. They even have a flash to force Doja off of the angle of cars. But that's not necessary. Adrian's going to catch Tarek mid-air, and there's Doja stepping in. Drops Kusta. Peta will be able to bring it back, but they've taken so much damage now for CLG that it's really not looking too hot for him.
No, there's no way out of this round, it seems. Peta's the last man left. Actually, somehow hits that headshot. He should have been dead, and now he could really do this. Space has got no grenades except that flashbang to try and get in here. Peter needs a headshot, and he needs it quick. He's got the double kill. He's going to peek up behind the box. He sees Space. He's out of the open. He's got no cover, and he's charging in. Peter trying to play this one smartly, gets the kill, but not quite. Oh, that's so close. He hit him once, and a couple of more bullets would have done it, but Space going to get him in return, and that's going to be another round here for Gambit. Wow, that was close. 11-8 now in favor of Gambit. And CLG, they got the bomb planted. They got more out of that round than they should have, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, now it's not a double eco that they're staring down. They can go for the half buy. You can see Kusta going to commit to it. No reason to go for the force. They're just going to kind of meet halfway and just decide in the next round, the 21st, to go for the full. Gambit, though, that's just where you kind of like wipe the sweat off your brow. It came way too close to them losing it. Another clutch. They're fairly even on clutches so far between both of these teams. So, I mean, Kusta with the ace, Gambit with the eco round win. I mean, so it's just like it's so even right now. It's really hard to call which team is going to take control, because right now both of them are pretty much dead even.
CLG's economy, though, could be a big factor, and they're doing a lot to make up for it right now. Adrian out of the open, but he does get 2 really good kills, and they're trying to run him down. Tarek has even stolen that AWP, and now he's locked in, scoped up on that smoke. He wants someone to come through. They're going to throw a couple of people. Actually, there's another smoke there. No flash by mid-seat. Tarek missing a shot. Still a very expensive round. Bomb plant plus 3 kills. Definitely a big win for CLG in this one round.
Yeesh. It's just so nasty, and well, that's exactly how it's supposed to work for CLG. They're supposed to be able to get up onto the side of the Tech 9s, just run their opponents down, get in their opponent's face. Adrian made it close. He made it possible for Gambit to survive, because if Adrian goes down without the 2 kills, that's pretty much it. It's over for Gambit, and they lose to an eco round basically coming in from CLG, which would be horrendous. Which would actually balance things out between both of them, but regardless, you're right. CLG, they get the bomb plant, they get the bonus money. Kusta's got the op, and he's got the spawn for long. And so now, I mean, Gambit have been setting up that long control early on. We have to see, can Kusta get the timing right? He's a little bit late, and Mo's going to win the duel. No element of surprise there for Kusta.
Not at all, and also peak that's really hard to do like that. I wonder why people started going away from the sort of jumping into the angle instead of crouching into it, because that was popular right after the AWP change, but then it sort of went away again. Space with a good spray here as CLG are looking to get onto the B bomb site, and they're gonna make the opening happen at least. So now it's a 2-1-2. Hayes is in there and putting down the bomb, and he might have to do a lot of work. Peter, though, look how aggressive he's being. Again, this is, I mean, Peter's not like the superstar, but this is intelligent play coming out. He's playing tactically a very smart game, probably to try and make up for the fact that I'm assuming his game won't be as good as the rest, and Hayes also going for it. Very good job there. CLG just absolutely outplaying Gambit in that round. It's interesting.
It's just that's where Mo, you could see Mo, I mean, almost every time that you run up into Upper Dark like that, you're expecting the terrorist to hold right outside of the tunnel onto the B side itself. So for Mo to, you just kind of throw it in there to spice things up. Mo literally Peter catches Mo with his knife out, because Mo is expecting, right, I've got another split second, then I'll swap to my AK, I'll pre-aim that angle that I expect the guy to be holding at. Unfortunately, sometimes that's just the way it works. Kusta is going to spot both players making their way over towards that B site, however. So now at least CLG have an accurate read on the situation. They know that 2 went across. They don't know if there's a third in mid. Instead, that's going to be a man holding on catwalk. But now they know that this might be an eco round, just because Space goes for a bit of the shot with the P250 there.
Yes, and a small detail that was happening there is Hooch was shooting from behind, hit with Space, and that's a fake that people throw out sometimes. That's an audio fake, right? So if you're on the T side, you're hearing shots coming through, you're thinking that's probably someone who's on the plateau just shooting for fun, right? Your immediate thought won't be, oh, there's someone right on that corner who's going to be waiting for me. So it's just a small trick, and it's kind of cool to see it work. Used. It should probably be used more, I think. That's 9-12 as a scoreline, and just to point out, Peter is top fragging. He's got 17 kills right now, doing the best on CLG.
I like how you're saying, teamwork should be something we see more often, and like, what?
Yeah, and
blowing my mind here.
Revolutionary idea. But sometimes the individual stuff works as well. Hayes coming in with a good double return. He's, by the way, now probably top of the score, but I think with 18 kills. So really, really impressed. I don't know where Hayes is pulling all of this out from, but it seems to be working quite well now. Very aggressive move coming out to try and catch him there. Hooch also with a smart play.
It seems like they're going to commit to this A side. A little bit of a brawl though. All 3 members are here for Gambit. Eventually, Tarek will find the shot on Hooch. Space gets taken out by Hayes, who stacks up yet another kill, and a quad kill for Hayes in the end. And so you're right, you cursed Peter, man. It was like that feel-good moment for Peter. He was like, yeah, I'm at the top, I'm in the lead. And then Hayes was like, we can't allow our Swedish in-game leader to take the lead on this team. Hayes, he's going to get the job done. Does he have the man bun still? I actually haven't even noticed if he's got the man bun still.
I don't think so. I swear it looked like he was a little bit fresher.
He's done away with the man bun.
Yeah. One of, not that it's relevant to the game right now, but one of the nicest people that's in the crowd I've seen. Hayes. Definitely a good guy. Oh, again!
Carbon copy. Like, literally the same thing. He misses that bunny hop, basically. Kusa. It actually cost him, because he could eject himself in there. If he hits that bunny hop just right, he, ejects himself towards the door. Instead, he just kind of, plops down, and then Mo's just like, heh. Nice one.
Yeah, there are so many things I don't like about that peak. The crouching also means that your model is going to be a little bit wider. If you're just standing up and sort of trying to peek into it, maybe, again, if you try to jump into the angle, maybe you could catch him off guard. Even better, just smoke it off and do what people on Reddit seem to be doing all the time, which is just learning that one angle you can shoot at. That's so ridiculous. Just walk in with a shot. I've seen so many people doing that recently. That's going to make it 4 versus 5 here, and we are past the minute mark. And so there is no real mid control, and there is an opening for a mid split here that could actually work out massively for CLG. That would be such a sick call if that happens, and indeed that is what's happening. Peter even making it better, taking out Space, and Hooch, he drops the bomb. They know what's happening. They need a quick rotation. He's in so much trouble, and he's going to end up going down. CLG on a sort of just on a tactical level right now here on the CT side. They're doing so much work. It's incredible.
Take your time, guys. You can see them getting a little excited with their nades. Got to hold on to the nades. Don't waste them. One of those incendiaries goes down a block-off window. Bomb gets planted. Default sort of spot as well. My one concern is that if Gambit actually had a Molotov, putting everybody on plateau like this would make it real hairy for CLG. CLG making good use of their nades so far to buy more time. Tarek even has a flash left, and now it's going to get rough here for Gambit. They catch Tarek peeking, though. That's the flash down, and Dren going to start things off, and that's the man advantage, but Peter brings back with the wallbang shot. Eventually, Doja and Moo, though, they split onto the site, one from window, one from doors, and it's just too much for Peter to handle with that AWP. Obviously, he's got one shot. Unfortunately, they're not going to like be gentlemen about it, like line up for him, and he gets 2 for 1. Doesn't usually work that way.
What an impressive retake from Gambit. We've got to give them a lot of credit. That's very hard to do, and again, you sort of pointed it out, Terry getting picked off. Also, it's very obvious in that retake that CLG didn't know that Gambit were not putting anyone from upper. Because if they were, they would have held very different positions, right? And they would have probably had someone in upper dark that could have bought time at the end, right? So there were a lot of weird things that happened in the retake, but Gambit comes out on top, and it puts this game essentially on knife's edge. Neither team has any money to buy, so whoever loses is going to be ecoing. Hooch playing very aggressive.
Some good communication here for CLG, though. Kusta was spotting mid. He spotted 3 players cross over towards the B site. Instantly, his teammates Tarek and Cutler stop in their tracks at T-spawn. They don't even go into Upper Dark. They're like, right, but there's a real risk of us getting caught, and it's exactly what Gambit go for. 3 guys push into Upper Dark, looking to catch somebody out from CLG. CLG 1 step ahead, and that's all off the information coming in from Kusta. Very well played. Good teamwork. Moo misses the shot, though. A little bit of a missed opportunity for Gambit to really wreck things and try and bring it back for themselves.
Look at Doja, though. He's actually run into T-spawn. Oh, no, he's going to run into everyone here. Too many targets all at once, and in a really sort of twisted way, it ends up working out in CLG's favor. Normally, that's when you've hit a jackpot on the CT side. If you can get into T-spawn like that, you pretty much control the whole map. But they came back for him. Now it's Hooch playing on the stairwell here. Peter on the other side with his knife out, and just managed to switch to the rifle. Not quick enough to get the kill, though. And now they're going to charge in. They see that as a sign that going A is the right move. Adrian is here, and he's going to call for backup. They have almost no grenades on Gambit. That is a really big issue.
Yeah, how do you retake? I mean, how do you actually get it rolling? Spades has a single flash. There's a smoke on him as well. It's all on this guy now. And well, I mean, they are going to be moving up on catwalk moves there with this AWP, but nobody's speaking from CLG. They're doing a fine job right now of just trying to burn time off of this clock. They don't care if they go over the bomb at this point. They just want the round. Adrian's going to take Hayes, though, and Mo's finding the shot on Tarek. It's now down to the long defense. Cutler and Kusta has that AWP. Cutler almost loses the spray fight, and Hooch with the long term, well, I mean, with the long con, basically, lurks his way out onto long and catches out Kusta. Perfect retake for Gambit. They don't need nades, Anders. They don't need nades. They just walk in and take fights and win fights.
And crucially, the one that they had on space, which they would have needed if Hooch hadn't killed Kusta down there, he was coming up through CT spawn. So if that grenade got lost on the slope there, they don't have the smoke to defuse. But a lot of credit to Hooch. This is one of those areas of Counter-Strike that's so murky, but playing long like that and waiting until the perfect time to go and get the kill is really, really hard to do, right? So definitely very impressed. That was a very good job on Hooch there, staying put for a long time. 14-10 is what we're looking at, and again, as we pointed out, no matter who would lose the round, they wouldn't have money to buy CLG. I'm wondering if we are seeing some sort of timeout or tactical timeout here. It could be.
They get 1 per map, right? So you get, at any point you can use your timeout, but you only get the 1. It should be a 2-minute long timeout as well. So it's basically like, right, backs to the wall.
Can I point something out here that's confusing to me? You know, Gambit's got that red star as part of their logo,
right?
But the CLG guys, they have a star on their uniform as well on the side. That really messes me up. That's more than my brain can handle.
I wonder, there's like some symmetry going on. You're right. Is that actually like the Captain America sort of style going on here? I think that's what's going on.
It could be.
Because you have a bunch of stars. You notice that, like in light blue, right? A bunch of stars in the blue as well.
Yeah, it was just the 4th of July, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But, I'm so out of touch with holidays, I didn't even know. Like, to me, it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, so travel to Cologne, get ready for the major, and then everybody's just like, Happy Independence Day. I was just like, oh, right.
Personally, a bit sad that I wasn't in America when that happened. I feel like that could be fun.
Especially because they'll go to, like, baseball stadiums and stuff like that, and just fire off fireworks everywhere, football stadiums. Like, there's a lot of fireworks going on.
When I was flying out of Chicago to come here, there were some early fireworks. I guess people just being a little bit early at it, because that wasn't the 4th, but there were already people sort of celebrating preemptively. So that was a cool shot. Nighttime over Chicago and fireworks going off when you were on the airplane. I like it. On a more serious note, though, we got CLG buying up here, so they're not going to go for the eco. They force it up anyway. Guess they don't want to play for overtime. Can't really blame them, but it is a big risk. They need some sort of big breakthrough here. And I'm noticing they haven't really tried too much for the catwalk hits yet. They've had a couple of them, but they haven't gone really hard at it.
I was thinking the same thing, but like what's difficult for CLG right now is that Gambit have actually shown quite a few different ways that they're willing to hold. Right, they're putting 3 guys over towards B. They're going for default holds. They're challenging it long. They're challenging it. They're basically showing a pretty large variety. So it's kind of tough for Peter to, put his finger down and say, right, this is what we got to do. There's the weakness. And in this round, Gambit, they're expecting some kind of change, so they go back to much more of a default kind of way to approach things. You can see Mo, he's set up at cars, now on A site, and they're just spread. They're like, right, you guys can have mid. We're going to focus 3 on A, 2 on B, and just try and lock things down. And if you go for the B split, well, we do have a man in CT to cover that. That's Adrian, so I like it. Gambit, man, really just kind of spreading themselves out.
Well, I mean, it is getting to the point where they can't really make any more mistakes here, so we'll see if CLG can find a way through at all. Mo up on the A-bomb site, and he's got that AWP. He's not got that many grenades. In fact, in general, Gambit are a little bit low on grenades, but we've got to give them a lot of credit. We were sort of saying that the big worry was whether or not they'd be able to play the CT side well enough, and they have. I think they've shown some really good defense on CT side so far. So now it's up to CLG to show us what they can do on the T side here. Got the bomb in upper dark. That's a big tell that something might be up. I think they might actually try and split B, having Tarek jump down. He actually waits on the ledge. That gets you killed in so many ways, but instead they pick up Uchi, standing space alone, and he somehow sprays down both players. What an incredible defense. And now the bomb is dropped. He has control over it right now, and it's just waiting for them to show up. Spades very nearly with the triple kill, but they are going to make it back. And Tarek waiting in CT spawn, and there's almost no way Mo should know, but he is going to check. It seems he's looking for it. He's worried as well. It's going to be the peek in, and Tarek will still take him down. Adrian charging in from behind and picking up Cutler. Now this is just a brutal fight. No more tactics, just going to be down to the aim, it seems. It's a 2-on-2. Adrian and Doja left here. Flashbang coming in. Tarek shooting on the other side. He's flashed. What a great grenade, and Adrian will close it out. That's going to be 15 rounds for Gambit. What a retake, and what a play here. Triple from the Kazakhstani player.
Yeah. I mean, talk about your star coming through in the end. We've seen that all week long at E-League. It was Adrian leading the charge for Gambit. He's the one who's doing a lot of the work for them. And again, in a round that matters, that puts them up onto match point, and they have 5 of them now. CLG got a bomb plant, but it's still not going to be a pretty buy for them. They just don't have the money to go for full rifles. And so, yeah, Adrian.
Also, honorable mention to Space, who shot down. I mean, because imagine if he just trades 1 for 1,
it's not good enough.
They'd probably just straight lose the round. I'm not even sure it would make sense for Gambit to retake. If it was just a 1 for 1 trade, then they'd probably just leave it, don't even try. So, what a ridiculous round. Good leg shot coming in on Tarek, and CLG gambling everything on this round. They have to. They got no choice. It's match and that point here for Gambit. 1 more round, and CLG gonna end up losing the first one here.
It was just unbelievably quick. But that was a fantastic shot from Hazed at the barrel top mid. Spots him out, and he'll get the follow-up on Hoach as well, and now they can just go straight out onto the B side. Adrian trying to make a difference. He's going to get that flash down. Little does he know, Kusta waiting around the angle. Spades, though, is going to be there to take the shot, and now it's a 3-on-4 retake here for the B site. Tarek about to be gifted an HE, but it's going to go a bit too far behind him.
How does that not kill him? That's so close. The big thing here is the fact that Peter is still holding in the middle on the catwalk. There's a good kill coming in. So no bomb plant just yet, but Peter should be able to at least make a difference right now. Although, because the bomb is not down, they're not fully focused on the site, and now that position has been revealed. That also means they know there's only 2 people left inside the bomb site. So if they try and plant, this is what happens. They're going to charge in. Hayes takes another kill, making it a triple. It's still a 2-on-2. The bomb plant is still not happening, and Hayes, he's starting to miss shot. He's down to 25 health, and I have no idea how he's still alive. Peter picking up the kill, and Dread alone now in a 1-on-2 and trying to see if he can find another rifle. I think he just wants anything but an AWP. Finally, there's the M4, and the bomb will be going down. Now it's a 1-on-1. They throw out a grenade, and he's going to try and peek through in the smoke. He takes a bit of damage. Adrian has to get this round. CLG, he can't let them back in the game, and it is ticking away underneath. He's got the kid. He's trying to see if he can sniff it out, and it's just a patience battle right now. CLG trying to hold strong inside, and finally they're gonna do it in his quad kill for James Cobb, also known as Hazed. What an incredible round.
Well, that is just, well, Chaos. How do you break that down?
Kills. He's top fragging Hazed. I have no idea where this is coming from.
Remember what I said? Hazed, when Hazed starts to wake up, that's when CLG, have a chance. I mean, you can't count on him delivering a quad kill, but also just such a chaotic, ugly round, really. I mean, CLG, that bomb was just not... They had the site for ages, and the bomb was just stuck on the site. They were never actually able to get it down. Gambit, they never let them get comfortable. There's the breaking point. Well, now it's going to be the straight-up YOLO rush out onto the B side. No time wasted. Peta with the pop flash, or rather Adrian with the pop flash. We'll go to pick up the one. Hooch trying to follow it up. Not going to happen. So CLG showing some bravery, basically. No fear at all. Just go charging out onto the site. And we find ourselves in a similar position again. All 4 players here for Gambit waiting on the outside, hoping to be able to just rush down and deny this bomb plant.
Hayes holding from behind, and going to be an easy kill on Hooch then. And unlike last time, Gambit obviously don't have the same resources to try and fight with, so it should be a 12th round here for CLG. They're fighting for overtime in their first match of the major, and it's not impossible that can happen. They essentially just need to win one more big round, and that's all CLG have in terms of money. They won't have that much more.
I like the rotation coming out here from Gambit. They're like, right, we showed ourselves on slope. Now let's go and see if we can get lucky and see spawn. Hayes is going to doe Mo. He's going to hit the headshot on Space. And now all 3 headshots. Hazed just getting fed kills. Another quad kill for him. Anti-eco quad kills. So, I mean, a little bit less valuable than the round before. But still, Hazed, he's starting to hit some shots.
Those were some good headshots. I'm starting to get a bit worried.
What, is there a chance, do you think, that the Gambit will throw away 3 rounds in a row? They're on match point right now. I'm
just wondering where this version of Hazed comes from, because it's been quite a while. And I would even say in the past when Hazed has shown up, it's mostly against other American teams, which, by default, we don't credit this as much.
It's fair. It is fair. I mean, NA usually the underdogs when it comes to facing off against EU. But right now, man, this is Gambit basically, swinging for the fences. They've gone for an early buy. They don't want to go for some kind of half buy or anything like that to get all of the nades in the next round. No, they're going to go for the buy here. 3 rifles, an SMG, an AWP on Moo, but it's a glass cannon one, and they hardly have any nades to speak of. So Gambit really just, it either ends now or we're going to 30 rounds, which is nuts. I mean, they're really just going for the wire here.
Yeah, that is very nearly what's on the line right now. Mo up on the bomb site here, and he's got a little bit of backup, and Adrian down on the slope. This is a really good setup because you either have to focus on the AWP, and if you do that, then Adrian has a lot of opportunity to get some good headshots in. This is that catwalk push that we were finally going to get to see. We were talking about it earlier, but they actually jump down, and again they try and split. So repeating that same round, and it worked last time, maybe it will work again. Hooch picking up a kill, Kusta with 1. Now Hooch is a turnaround. He does get a good double in, but he was out of bullets. Now the bomb is going to be going down, and because they don't have the money, I don't actually think Doja and Mo should try and fight this.
Not Mo, at least. Doja's got a UMP, but Mo, I mean, if Doja can find a gun somewhere, unfortunately he's over in T-spawn, so he's not going to be so lucky. There's going to be, Cutler holding, they've got a crossfire set up between Peta and Cutler towards Upper Dark, so Doja should not really be able to get out here and get anything done. Mo trying to draw attention to himself in mid, but yeah, they're already thinking about backing off at this point, Gambit. They really don't have anything to work with. If he could actually make his way back to pick up a rifle from somewhere, Doja, that would be good. That would be acceptable.
They have something like $850 in total on their team at the end of this round. Obviously, they're going to get the loss bonus in, but still, this is fairly miserable at this point in time. They are just not in a very good spot on the Gambit team, so this could very well be overtime. It's great that he saves the AK. That will come into play later on. Now, they need to save the unless they want to go for like a mad buy with pistols armor here, but I really don't think that's the best choice. I think just save the AK and AWP unless you can win the round with them, but 29th round is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. CLG really fighting hard to stay in this game. They've won the last 3 in a row. They've got Hazed dropping a 30 bomb out of nowhere.
And the rest of the team just trying to keep up, but they figured out the weakness for Gambit. They realized on that B site, it's just a little bit shaky. It's not quite good enough to stop them from running out straight. This time around, however, CLG, they've gone B a couple times. They're like, right, okay, time to change it up. They're going to go and put some pressure on A long. They're looking to get those rifles into play. They know that Gambit are going to be in a bit of an awkward spot economically, and so if there's pistols waiting for you on long, great. Go with the rifles, look for the long-range fight. Only problem is they need to figure out where Moo is on this map. He hasn't shown himself yet. And Mo is currently camped out on catwalk, so this could get nasty. If he manages to make his way back over here to get eyes towards long, CLG, they run the risk of getting picked off.
He's going to be rotating in, and a bit of smoke there, and a nice flick coming out. Kushner's out of it. They keep fighting, and they definitely shouldn't just leave Mo alone right now. That's going to be one more kill happening. And he's still spraying furiously, but they find the other AK. Somehow they ran into the AK, the AWP, and they lose 3 members. And CLG, this might be the end of the line, and I can't even think of a more painful way to possibly lose a match here.
Basically the worst case scenario. You actually do the one thing that will lose you this game, which is, hey, where's the op? Let's keep challenging the op. It's like you lose one guy to the op, okay, that's bad enough. But to keep challenging the op, that's, well, I mean, obviously Mo gets 2 kills and he's still alive. He's still got control. He's at cars now, so CLG, are they actually going to be able to make their way up catwalk? It seems like that's what they've got their hearts set on right now. 30 seconds left. Cutler and Peta paired up together. Mo's going to be a distraction, though. He's going to take a couple shots, and CLG will be focused on him. Hooch, though, is the security. He's got his CZ, and he's holding in Goose. And they are going to be able to check that, CLG. So Mo's going to hit the first shot. Adrian the second with the flank on catwalk, and that's it. It's over. 16-13. Gambit will be moving on to face off against Astralis in the winner match. CLG, they drop down to face off against Dignitas in the elimination match.
Yeah, you...
I think like this is one where there's a bit of wiggle room if those underdogs really come to play.
Some of the stronger challengers, would you suggest, Janko? Optic and Flipside?
I think that this is where Flipside's system comes into play with Blade, right? That's why they're not blown out, because they always have that system to fall back on, and especially at the majors, there's much more pressure on players to perform individually. You see more, jitters, maybe a bit of choking, but they always have something to fall back on, and that's why teams struggle against them. They have trouble adjusting to it in time, and they've had a lot of close games. Yes, they never made it out of the groups, but they had a lot of close group stages before.
And we can have a quick look at the brackets where you will see, I mean, it's quite contrasting to have, major champions, a team that's made every major, and then Optic sit there with their very first here, ESL 1 Cologne. NIP Optic will be the second game of the group. We start with Navi Flipside. And I do look forward to delving deeper into NIP Optic, but just a quick glimpse as to why this one could be close, Blue. It's already been coined as, do not underestimate Optic, and there's a reason for that.
No, not at all, because, I mean, you look at their stats over the past coming months, and there's been a visible increase in all of them. Mixwell, of course, still bringing that really strong opping power that showed immediately when he jumped on this team. Bit of a rough patch when he first went to SIBO, but that was recovered almost instantly. Not only this too, but Daps has been an incredible power force for this team ever since they've really started to get their work ethic back, because there was that whole drama with that a few months ago. That's been corrected now, and now they're getting some strong leadership behind them too, as they're bringing in a new coach into the mix.
With all of that said, I really want to start talking about Navi Flipside, and I do think we have finally got an opportunity to do so. Navi Flipside is going to be an intriguing matchup that I want to delve deeper into. First, we get to meet them and what they had to say coming into the major. It is going to be time to meet Flipside, see those faces that we've already about to start talking about.
I'm throwing smoke. I'm throwing a flashbang.
Blade there already. Yanko has touched on his prowess in game, and we're going to be talking a little bit now about these boys and also the history between these two teams. We keep throwing this around. We said this in the pre-show. We'll say it again, that there's there's a history between the two. And actually, Yanko, if it's okay with you, I'd like you to kind of explain it to perhaps a newer viewer or maybe a less experienced viewer.
I mean, these teams met each other a lot through history, right? But it's always been Navi who was the more dominant team. Yes, Flipside managed to take a map off here and there. They had that in the lower bracket at the Star Ladder tournament. They beat them on train 16-4 pretty dominantly, which was extremely surprising. But that was kind of the first tournament after a break for Navi. Guardian was still recovering from his injury, and these two teams have pretty similar play styles, and that's what it comes down to. They have similar play styles, just that Navi is better at it. And to be fair, they always had more firepower in their team than Flipside.
Similar play styles, similar map pools, Duncan, as well. Let's start talking about the V.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's also one of the problems. Like, stylistically, basically Navi's just a better version of Flipside in all respects, even from like the AWPer to the Riflers to I mean, even in-game leader, you can make the case. But it's even worse in terms of the map pool, because stylistically you're playing opponent a similar style as you, and they're better anyway. They've got the advantage there. And also, there's nowhere to go if you Flipside in the map pool, because the formats that you want to play are the formats Navi loves to play. So we start out here, Flipside bans Dust 2. Obviously, Navi bans Cash. These are standard bans from both teams. Now we're we're going to end up somewhere in the realm of Train, Mirage. So we have a Cobble ban here from Flipside. Obviously, we know how good Navi is on that map. Navi taking Nuke out because, I mean, they just don't want to play that map. Historically, they used to hate the old Nuke. Don't want it now. Now that we have Mirage out of the equation, we're going to end up with Overpass, or we're going to be on Train.
Did Navi choose to be Team B?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they would have.
So they've chosen to do it so they can pick the sides. That means they're going to probably start. I actually think Navi still would start CT side on Train.
Yeah, and it's also that they are the team who basically Cash and Nuke are the two maps that they feel weak on. Like, Nuke is the new Inferno for them, and they're really good on all of the other maps.
Yep.
So if they feel that the other team is pretty good on those maps, they're going to get one of the maps they want to play anyway. Well, why not then get the advantage of getting to pick the side?
Yeah. Especially because they knew Flipside would ban Dust 2.
Yeah.
So that's the only one that's in the middle of them at the moment. So this is one of the few times you're going to see the higher seed choose to go there, because as we see, start on Train, CT side, a lot of teams can get a lot of rounds there, but we know Navi's T side is unbelievable, so they're kind of just seeing how many do we need on T side, and then they know what style to play.
Yeah. You know the map, you know the side. Blue, what are your thoughts coming into this one?
I still think this is going to be a map which Navi takes. The problem is this is the map the Flipside did actually win versus Navi at that lower bracket game in Starlighter, but as Yanko already mentioned, that was the first time that Navi were coming back. I think that was only the second game that they played, so it was still a very rusty period for them. Guardian still wasn't necessarily like back to his form as of yet, but I think they've actually played it 2 times since then, and both of the times Navi has won it pretty dominantly, if I'm remembering correctly. So I feel like this is still going to be one that Navi can take pretty easily, especially now they got the side choice to start.
How about you, Yanko?
They need a strong start on their T side because they're gonna have to battle it out on the CT.
And Duncan,
Yeah,
leading towards
for
Navi.
flip side, this is one guy and one guy alone can do it, which is Will Dead. If he has a big CT performance, they've got a chance. Otherwise, I'm almost certain Navi wins this game.
It's all on one man's shoulders. Is it going to be World Edit who steps up to the plate? Will he be able to face off versus Guardian? All these questions and more are going to be answered by your casting pair for this one, as Moses and Pansy are standing by to deliver the action on Train.
Thank you very much, Alex, and the desk for the wonderful little bit of a preview as to what's to come. And this is going to be a bit of a good matchup here. I think we're both kind of excited about this one, to say the very least. And Train being the platform as to where it's being played, a lot to be said about this.
Well, actually, these two teams have played on Train very recently,
E-League.
just last week.
Yep.
Yep, I believe it was 16-13 for Navi and 16-6 for Navi. So 2 wins for them on Train. One obviously a little bit more one-sided, but it does very much come down to these T sides. I mean, flip side is going to have to put some work up there because, as Duncan just mentioned, Navi's so good on it.
Yeah, and there were issues with Flipside's Train. We saw it in the qualifiers against, I think it was Optic actually, it was their CT side they ended up struggling on, but we are live into this flip side. Beginning on the T side, of course, Navi did have the option of side choice in this. Hope we can get a little bit of sound as to what's going on, but already flip side coming in with a hell of a lot of utility to play with this time, only 2 players with armor.
And that just comes down to the tactical approach that Flipside's going to have, as the in-game leader, using these kind of nades. It's one way they can kind of even up the skill gap, because all 5 members of Navi, they're such a deep team. So many players can have such a massive impact for Navi. So Flipside's got to have some tricks. They've got to have some kind of a tactical approach that can neutralize that.
And C's already been taken down so drastically. Gonna maybe open up a possibility of that B hit, but then again, Flipside not really overextending just yet, still taking their time, and they definitely have that plan in mind with all of those smokes still to play.
What that does do, since he's so incredibly low, it forces Flamey to come cheat over towards that inner bomb site. You can see he's already been pretty much dedicated there, just now rotating back a little bit. Guardian, this is great information, but they still don't have the full idea of what's coming. They know no one can be Ivy, but Zeus is actually going to get caught out, and he's got to win this battle, and he's running out of bullets, and he still gets away somehow.
I don't know how he's gotten away with that, and relatively unscathed too. He took a little bit, but not that much. So now maybe with a little bit of a plan in mind, it seems like Navi are working out this could still be that A hit coming in.
And Flipside hasn't even moved across the map whatsoever. They've taken these battles, they've dealt the damage, they've poked, they've prodded, they've got a lot of intel. They've taken some damage actually themselves right now. Guardian doing some good work, but still Flipside hasn't committed anywhere.
Yeah, Blade still holding back on that molly. They still have those smokes. They're just being put down right about now. So the smokes to come in, going to lock off a touch of the bomb site itself. Guardian, though, going up on the push-up, gets denied down from the push from Ivy, and now here comes the play from Flipside, aiming straight in towards that A-bomb site. 2 players already on there. Zeus will stop the initial planter, which was Waylander, but Blade's still going, and it's down to a 3v3.
Yeah, there's been trades all out of this bomb site, but now that it's down, Edwards looking over the smoke, doing good damage, but can't find these kills. That's a little bit of a bummer for Navi, an opportunity for him. Flamey now locked in a battle. 2 players of Flipside are very low, but they're still able to pick off Navi from range.
This has got to be surely Blade to do this. Shara so low, 15 HP, and it is Blade to find Flamey, and wow, closing out towards Edward as well. A massive round from him. 4 kills to kick this one off. And a very good start there for Flipside. It was highlighted on the desk quite predominantly that there has to be a good start for Flipside. They have to get themselves rolling, and that's a really nice way to start this one out.
And Blade being the one to put up 4 kills as well, that can only mean good things. Not someone known for his frag. They talked about guys like World Edit, we're going to have to be heat big. We've seen Markelov recently have some very big games for them as well. But Blade on the pistol round, it didn't even really seem like they necessarily outplayed Navi. Guardian gets caught out being over-aggressive, pushing down Ivy, so they got a couple gimmies here and there. We saw that weird battle with Zeus in mid where he had an opportunity to get the kill, and just nothing seemed to go Navi's way. They had the fights they wanted, but nicely done from Flipside.
Yeah, and a lot of people will be keeping their eyes on Navi throughout this tournament, arguably someone that people will be looking towards going very far, to say the very least. Of course,
absolutely.
top 3, top 4 if you're being quite, reserved on it. But there has been a little bit of words here and there. I think the interview with Flamey came out saying that didn't have the ideal practice. He's not feeling well either. This could mean that there is weakness to be possibly exploited. But again, this is still very early stages. This is the group stages. And it's the first real glimpse of what we're going to be seeing from Navi so far.
The big thing as well is it's also all eyes on Guardian. He was very notorious for having that injury at the major where it seemed like he was, off his game. He had to change the settings he was playing with to kind of adjust
he
for
had
the
higher
fact.
sense.
He had to jack his sense up because he just wasn't feeling like he could make the proper movements with his arm. So this is now kind of also looking at him and saying, okay, this guy's supposed to be the best operator in the world. Where exactly is he at? What we've seen out of Navi recently in some of their games since he's come back is actually it hasn't been that dominant individual performance from him and the team being based around him. It's been very much a spread out effort where every player is stepping up at a different point. Everyone's putting in their 15 to 20 kills and no one's really shining too far above the others.
Well, you looked at E-League, it was Seized and Zeus who had the big games. It was Edward and Guardian who were kind of missing, which was surprising. But
Flamey as well had some light games, but I mean, there's just too much power on these players for them to stay down for too long.
Exactly that. So we've got almost all the UMPs coming out for the T side. One rifle with Blade, and why not? He had the big first round. He can afford it a little more than the others. But Waylander going to go dashing in towards B. But a 4-play stack from Na'Vi willing to greet this on the other side. Shara going to be a little cautious about this one, and I don't really blame him. There's two right there. He only finds one, trading out 1-for-1 here, and Waylander not able to capitalize on any more.
There's Zeus trading one off as well. And Roland, it's still stuck in this battle. That nade keeps him from falling back. He's taking a lot of damage, and advantage goes to Na'Vi. This is a very good start, and a little bit of team damage coming out from Flipside. So feeling the pressure, a little bit confused by that aggression from Na'Vi, and this has actually bought plenty of time for Na'Vi for that stack to break up. Now that third player that was at the B bomb site has rotated towards the outer site, and they've got a good spread on this defense.
This could be pretty tough now for Flipside. They're in a bit of a pinch in this one, considering Wilder is so low as well. He's not able to take any real straight-up fights here. It's going to come down again heavily towards Blade if he wants to try and pioneer the way into this round. Guardian going to be going for the information all the way over by Ivy. Not going to overextend this time. Pulls himself back in. But looks like Flipside have reset the pace a little bit and going to start considering maybe hitting that B side. One smoke goes down. No commitment off the back. And there's still 3 players here. Those 5.7s to hand can be pretty darn deadly. There's no disputing that at this sort of range. So again, not an easy round outcome for Flipside, but a slow, cautious beginning and build into this hit that may just about come through.
Yeah, and they have to commit here. There's only less than 30 seconds left. There's a Molotov killing a Zeus. That's huge. And a second one from Blade. He's been massive in these first 2 rounds. And nothing going for Na'Vi after that good start in a 4-on-3. They don't get any more kills on the entrance, so it's back into Flipside's favor. They've gotten good damage, but it seems like Flipside's going to be able to get away with this.
Yeah, run out of a little bit of steam there after Flipside just reset the pace. Flash comes out, slows them down. Seized and Guardian going to have to look some miracle shots here, and Seized actually being allowed a lot of room to work. A little bit surprising he got away with that. No mollies left. Nothing to stop this defuse coming in, and Guardian's taking a straight up fight. He's going to keep Blade back, but he goes to the reload at the worst time. But here comes the cavalry. Seized come in, and it's going to be Guardian with the kit on the side now. As long as, well, one of them can hold it back, it would have been fine. But no, Guardian's got the defuse. He gets it down in the end, in the last couple of seconds. And well, it did get the kill, but it wasn't fast enough.
What a miracle play, and you said it. Too much space is given for that Na'Vi player to push in the top of the tree. I believe that was Seized.
How was he allowed to get that far?
Yeah, there's just no one spotting for Flipside. Part of it is because of the low HP, but also Guardian. They have to make that swap because he's the only one with a kit. He's the only one with a chance to stick that defuse at the end, and somehow it works out for him. So a little bit of a fumble for Flipside, but with that plant, they're going to be right back into a buy. 3 AKs are going to be on the board. Tech 9 on Waylander, and Blade, it seems like he's just going to be the, he's actually hasn't bought anything quite yet. He's still in spawn. He's going to buy up a little bit late, so maybe thinking and talking to his troops, seeing what exactly he wants to execute.
These 2 teams are known for their very methodical style, just building into these rounds very slowly, so not the biggest waste in the world. And the thing actually that worked at E-League was those eventual B hits. They weren't particularly fast, they weren't necessarily the most pretty in the world, but they really did pressure like the Flamey down. They caused Seized to pull himself constantly over towards B, which seems to be now the default, almost running out for Na'Vi into this one. But we do have the AWP there with Guardian, so this again could cause a little bit of a difference, but he's been pretty much negated so far. He's not had much of a play into this.
We want to talk about these teams perhaps knowing each other a little bit. If you look at this buy out of Na'Vi, 3 M4s, the AWP and Guardian, with these purchases they don't have any utility left already. I mean, they've only had, Zeus has only had an HE and a smoke for the last 30 seconds, so maybe knowing that Flipside is going to go up for the AK-47s, they want to be able to challenge them with the rifles of their own, but they're giving away a couple advantages in the fact that they can't block off choke points, they can't Molotov anything, they can't slow down any kind of execution with flashbangs, so it's got to be duels 1 from Na'Vi for here on out, and the big advantage is the AWP on Guardian.
Alrighty, that's going to be Zeus pushed out, position down to 6 HP. The pinch is going to come out now from the Flipside boys, and there you go, Waylander, the first in, barrels forward with the Tech 9, going to make his way straight towards site, pick up the Famous and look for more. Already pushing Na'Vi back slowly, but Flamey and Edward going to be trading effectively into this one, keeping the advantage towards Na'Vi's side, and there's the clothesline coming out from Flamey and Guardian, keeping this one in check.
Looked a little bit sketchy, and you can see without those nades, it was just overwhelming from Flipside, and the smokes that they set up around the bomb site, it almost seems like it was isolating some of the backup for Na'Vi, but eventually at the very very end. They turn it in their favor. Flipside overextends a little bit, trying to push past the bomb train instead of just getting the plant down. Navi comes out with it. That's going to force the save out of Flipside. So now they have a chance. Now they have that cushion. You can see C's going for the SMG, getting a little bit of the money bonus, but they can start building up a base behind this win.
Again, for Flipside, a plant would be absolutely perfect in this, but you can't really expect much more when you literally have the cleanest supplies, only one P250 invested into it. Sees if he can rack up some funds, that would be brilliant, but whiffing a bit of a shot, they're going to have to back away, take another fight. It does mean the Waylanders snuck through, but this should be comfortably dealt with. There really shouldn't be much to talk about here, as Seas will at least find Waylander there. Now looks for more, gets called out by Blade. Again, these sort of kills shouldn't be coming in so regularly, but Flamey going to keep this one in check. There's the rotate coming out, and Morta puts up a good fight, but eventually goes down. Losing out on Siege, which isn't the end of the world. He did have the SMG, but probably could have done a lot more there.
It was a little awkward for him there. He was getting surrounded from a bunch of different locations, but yeah, no big loss for him. And now look at this, the double op setup comes out. We started to see C's do this more often, pick up that secondary AWP. It's very dangerous, and now with no op of their own on the T side, Flipside doesn't have much to challenge it. It is going to be a big test for Blade to find ways to work around these two AWPs, or at least negate them so they don't just lose players and bleed manpower away.
Yeah, and if you go back to the E-League game as well, it was Wilded who was actually up on Guardian considering throughout that game once he got the AWP. So being without that so far might be a little bit of a waste, but actually a very quick hit towards that is going to be coming out, trying to maybe exploit the fact they expected a double AWP coming into play. That could be a factor here, but Zeus going to meet Wilded and look at Wayland and straightforward, and Guardian just doesn't expect it. We're down to a 3v3 though.
Yeah, the bummer here is that they did this perfectly. Guardian was blind for the first 20 seconds. Zeus playing around the edge of the smoke is going to find another one, and Navi recovers. Everything went perfectly for Flipside to start that. Guardian was entirely neutralized, but seized up above, finds the last kill. He's the one who rotates in and stops the pressure from Flipside. 4-1 now for Navi, and again, it's going to be a situation where Flipside, they have no money to get any rifles on the board, so they're going to have to save one more time. Maybe a small investment to see if they can get the plant, or maybe take some kills away from Navi, force some rebuys. But now it's getting into that danger territory with this double op setup.
Yep. In towards the danger zone, it seems. 4-1 though. Flipside Tactics, as you said, they have invested very, very lightly into this. Still keep themselves well above 2k, no real worries on that front. But it does seem as though the stars of before, at least into that round, were shining again. The surprise of Seized and Zeus being the ones to be really up on point, but a bit of a 3-2 split going to be working down through Pop, and actually Waylander just smashes down Edward. A quick bit of a removal from the site, let's say, as Waylander only recovers a Mag 7 though, but maybe if you can find any more, that'd be brilliant. The Guardian's now being greeted by 3. The timing was awful for Guardian, getting a little bit lackluster on the peak then, and has to back away, down to 20 HP, and great deals of damage being dealt towards Navi so far.
Yeah, this has turned into a sketchy situation for Navi, but they should be able to come back into it, because Flipside, they only have the one smoke on Waylander that he salvaged. They didn't invest much into this round, and they don't really have much that they can go for from here, because it's going to be wide open battles against the M4s, against the AWPs. There's no flashbangs to force them away. But still, Flipside's being patient. They're going to try and see if Navi's going to make the mistake of trying to counter with some aggression to try and figure out what's coming, see if they can get some, some sneaky kills. But no one's doing that so far for the defense.
And Zeus is going to have to pick up the position of Guardian. You can see that Flamey's put himself towards A, and Seized is selling out on B. So the best I thought they could really hope for would be a plant, and that may still be on the cards here, considering how they approach that B site if Waylander and Shara do commit. But this could be quite a nice split if it does come through in the end. It's going to really cause these guys to split themselves on the site, and that's what's happened right now.
So it's going to have to be very coordinated. They're split everywhere. There's no one grouped up. They have no advantage in numbers, even with the weaker weaponry. Zeus now, the timing, the smoke is going to be huge, and he's going to find one. So is Flamey. So the danger is gone. Everything gets shut down. And Navi can breathe a little bit easier. Though Markov has a chance to pick a couple more off. Guardian and Flamey were very low, but thankfully there's that off at range out in the open.
Yeah, 12 and 20 HP at the end of those for those two players. That could have been a little bit worse than it started with, but kept again in check. Navi seeming to pull themselves back in line, making sure they don't lose any of these rounds that you can see plaguing other teams, let's say, so far in this tournament. So keeping themselves well set. But we're finally going to see the AWP coming out for World Edit. So that's something we want to be looking at, seeing how he plays into this. Does that have an instant effect at all? But the double AWP still present on the Navi side is going to be a huge hindrance to maybe it having its place into this round at least. But again, Flipside have a lot of opportunities here. It's still far from over. This is still a relatively CT-sided map to most people's opinions. I don't seem to differ from that, but Guardian going to take a very quick peek towards B, and he's got back up there. 2 players with him.
Yeah, look at this change up in the defense. 3 plays towards Inner. They stacked it earlier on that second round. Doing it again here, and without any of the pressure, Guardian wants to get more aggressive. Close up with the AWP, and there's very few people who feel comfortable taking this fight. Guardian is one of the best. He's going to turn the corner, and he gets it. Got one more coming, but that's a good trade from C's. Baits Waylander at least right into the second op.
You can see Zeus instantly ready for the kind of response from Flipside. Markloff and Waller both held back quite drastically by Ivy, not able to make a quick play to try and exploit that stack on B, so resetting the battlefield almost. But Blade snuck his way out a little here. He's got a little bit of room, but not much. Still on the ladder, still not finding any info, and there is Edward pushed up pretty darn close by Electric, so Blade could struggle with this one, considering there are the orbs down at the back of Ivy as well. You can see a little bit of a peek comes out from Flamey, but it's Blade to trade out again. Welded it, finally comes into it, finding Edward, put it down to a 2v2 here. Zeus has the shot, he adjusts perfectly on it, but Welded it on 2 is going to keep this one close. He knows where Zeus is, roughly down by the old bomb train. Flash comes out, but Zeus going on a bit of a mission here. Going walkabouts all the way around the map, and now Welded it can adjust. Chooses to go for the M4 over the AWP. Here's a molly, a flash, and a smoke, so still a little to work with, where Zeus has nothing here.
This is going to be really tough for Zeus to find him out. Well at it though, and he takes the angle. Zeus has to find him. There's so many different places he can be in. He's just left in a really, really tough spot. That's kind of the danger when you rotate around through CT spawn like that. That's a lot of time for your eyes to be taken off that outer train yard. And the reason he does it is the danger of that AWP at the range he was at. He doesn't want to have to mess with that, doesn't want to have to get into that long-range battle with an AWP. But still, World Edit gets plenty of time to readjust his position. So nice win from him, 2-5, but now they have to build on that because buying into this round, it's only World Edit who really has any kind of economy left over. Everyone else is kind of, bought out towards the end. So if they lose this, it's going to be back onto pistols again.
This could be pretty treacherous, but this time around we're seeing the more default. We saw Ely coming out from Na'Vi where you've got that 4-1 play, but it's Edward getting aggressive down towards Pop. He's going to be looking for info. You can hear the spray coming out, but Flamey going to walk away on 14. Shara going to try and build off the back of that. Seized, not landing the shot, and somehow Shara gets away scot-free.
That's a pretty smart play. It's very, very aggressive from Shara, but he knows, or he gets the idea that he can at least have a chance to get a couple shots off. Unfortunately, he just doesn't land any of them. Now sees this is the battle he wants to take, and that's an easy one. Waylander out in the open. He goes for a second, doesn't get that flick, a little bit partially blind, but meanwhile they've snuck out lower ramp. It's going to be Flamey who's got to be very careful.
That 14 HP better come up with the goods, and it almost does. It sees though to keep control of this one again, catching out Shara eventually, but Blade does get the bomb down on 1 HP. It's a little bit worse for Wear here. Markov does have the molly, but 1v4 is closing in on Miracle sort of territory here, and Edward already going to go for the fight, and you can see the fire comes in instantly. Na'Vi not going to let that one happen. They're going to close this one out, and again, Flipside's money wasn't looking great before, and now, well, not going to be looking too much better. So, Na'Vi building well, starting to, get a little bit more dominance building back into this one, and Flipside going to have to look at what they can do here. Well, it was fine, because as you said in the last round, did have the economy building early after that 3k first as he picked up that AWP, but we're going to be seeing the pistols out again.
Yeah, they just can't do anything with this buy. That would concede so much power into this half. They've got another chance here where they can save one more round. That plant's going to help out moving forward. So just the pistols. There were opportunities in that round for Flipside. We talked about Shar missing his 1 kill. I'm not sure if Waylander thought he was completely hidden, but C's is going to take that all day long. Unfortunately, the bummer is they had the economy of Na'Vi very low. They had him in that situation where they could break them if they just had won another round. But now with the fact they only killed 1 person in that, Na'Vi's able to build right back up again. So it's going to be another situation where the economy of Na'Vi is very strong, and they've been doing this all half. It's been Guardian before, but Flamey now pushing up Ivy is going to gain them a lot of info.
You can even see the way they're coming into these rounds. They're playing quite deep, I guess, at the start when they know they're coming against pistols. This time, Edward is going nowhere near Pop. Before, I think it was Wayland who managed to catch him out with the Mag 7. Not going to be able to be doing any of that this time around. So again, Na'Vi reading this well, and look at Flamey. This guy is getting so much information already. Markov's going to just peek out. Great timing on that. I don't know how he expected it to happen. I'm not sure he heard a step possibly, but Flamey now in a bit of a dance here, but he knows where they're heading towards, and they're going to take this as the word go, basically, and it's going to allow the rest of Na'Vi to try and just tighten that noose, and that's exactly what's happening, leaving Blade again, your last man alive. An easy cannon fodder for Guardian in the end, just going to build up those stats and start looking pretty comfortable here. This is a good CT side starting to come out.
That push from Flamey, it almost even makes Flipside feel really uncomfortable. It seemed like they wanted to wait a little bit longer, but Markov's just like, all right, we've got to go. We're about to all die. And they just executed a little bit earlier than they were comfortable with. And Na'Vi, you're right, exactly. Just easy picking at that kind of distance. So now back with the weaponry. The AWP is back in World at its hands. They have the smokes. They have some flashes and Molotovs to use. Got to start putting rounds on the board. This double AWP setup for Na'Vi has been very strong since it came out.
Yeah, it's been incredibly impressive. And look at this. Again, the CT side is just really bringing variety to the forefront here. Seized coming over instantly to try and support by A, maybe expecting one of those fast hits that came up before on that buy-up when they had the AWP previously. Not going to be the case this time. Looks a little more default than usual, or at least a little bit more stacked towards the A hit. But again, Na'Vi seem to be mentally very well prepared for this.
And this comes down to Starix being one of the most well-respected coaches we have in the pro scene, and the different looks that we've seen him throw at him. Even gambling with putting, like you said, no bodies at the inner bomb site initially on this round, expecting that kind of a fast play from Flipside. Obviously have a lot of knowledge of how they like to play because they've played them twice in the past week or two. And Starix is just seeing he can catch him off guard with some kind of a setup.
We'll see if it works out. Still a minute on the board. These two teams like to run that clock down as long as they can. There's still so much utility with the T side. There's no rush on this. They can play those smokes out as they feel, but again, maybe hoping that they can catch someone on a bit of an aggressive stance. Not going to be the case this round. As we noted, it was all attention towards A for the CT side, but bringing it back in, Zeus pushing himself up pretty close again. This play by Electric has been paying off and then some. He's got the support of Flamey, he's got Guardian there down by the back of Ivy. Hell, he's even got Edward playing up by Pop, so this is a very instant contact play, and here we go. Edward's going to spot the feet coming down the ladder. Doesn't expect the second. Waylander's got another shot at him, but second by the cherry doesn't go any better, but it's Blade again with the goods coming up through Ivy, and Markov joins in, and that's 4 kills back to back, just given over towards Flipside, and now Seized gonna have to do some insane play here. Whiffs the pop flash over the top, gonna go for a quick aggressive play to try and catch off the bomb plant. He gets out Markov now 1v1. Blade with 2, Seized with 2. And Blade, nerves of steel there, gets the bomb down. And Seized doing a bit of a dance of death here with Blade. Nade towards the left, Blade is low, that's 39 HP, down to 20, and a sick bit of play from Seized coming out, keeping this one again in the hands of Na'Vi. It seems that nothing Flipside do is ever good enough.
Well, that round was definitely good enough for Flipside. There were actually 2 great crossfires set up by Na'Vi at this outer train yard, and for whatever reason, it just seemed like once initial contact was made in ladder room by Edward, they stopped trusting the setups that they had. Zeus fell without getting a kill. Guardian looked away from his spawn for just a half second, that's all it took, and then Flamey was left all alone, and he eventually falls, but Seized with the heroics really pulls him out of a tough spot. And Flipside, that's one of those rounds you lose that in a 3-on-1, and that's just got to make you feel so much worse for the rest of the half.
And it felt like it was such a long time in the making as well. These guys haven't had great success making it towards the A-bomb site. As you said, the crossfires did pay off, eventually coming in towards it with Blade and Markov. So surely a really frustrating round to be sent back packing on. But 8-2 scoreline-wise, any Na'Vi fans out there are going to be very pleased with this as a beginning for them after a couple of questions of their performance, I guess, individually, and how is Flamey going to fare, how's he feeling. This hasn't been a huge test of them so far. They've been keeping this one into check. But, Flipside in this round have so little to play with. A couple of Deagles, Tech 9s, a P250 and a Flash for World Edit. So, looking to do some damage. Last time, I think they took down a couple of players. Almost got a bomb plant out of it, but Zeus up so close and personal. Not going to allow Blade to step out too far. Takes a touch of damage, but nothing much. But it's going to be Seized who has to come with the goods this time. He's got 3 players looking to exploit him, being a little bit aggressive here. The molly goes down in upper, does catch out Waylander, and it just seems so cool under this pressure. And look at that play from Seized. This is a player on point. And now it's Markov left with nothing to do in this round.
Well, we mentioned Seized has been one of the standouts for Na'Vi recently. He's at 16-4 so far in this match. He has an incredible performance so far. Obviously, that 1-on-3 last round is incredible. But again, another look from the defense as well from Na'Vi. Another way they're putting pressure on Ivy with Flamey pushed up halfway, just waiting for Guardian to take the shot, kind of a bait and switch. So Na'Vi being very deceptive in their defensive setups. This was an easy round. And it all stems off the fact that with Seized playing like this and just the type of player he is, to have that much faith in one person holding the inner bomb site close up with an AWP the way he was, that's a lot of trust in him to be able to make the smart play, make the good decision when he has pressure put on him.
Yeah, incredibly cool and calm in that situation. It is incredibly hard when you've got
it's paying off, right?
It is, massively so. It's ridiculously good how well he's playing at this point. And why not trust a player if he's having a hot couple of games? If he's having a good run of things, why not give him that? It gives so much over towards the team. 9-2 now, though. Flipside starting to look a little bit worse for wear. 2 rounds is just not good enough at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, they did pick up the first pistol round as well. So only 1 real round off the back of that, and that was given over by World Edit with that 3K that he picked up.
Again, another round where Na'Vi sends the majority of their players, all 5 in fact, out towards the A bomb site. No one watching in or sees just now rotating back. The scary thing about this is one player has already crossed towards upper. They could have already been pressuring him, so he's counting on the fact that they've beaten up Flipside enough to where no one is going to be confident enough to make that aggression. Guardian misses the initial shot, but again, it's this bait and switch setup, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
I don't think I've seen Flamey push up to this spot, at least so far. So
last round he did it, but he didn't see anyone.
Right. So again, I love this variety because Na'Vi seem to always, every now and then, they seem to switch a couple of pieces up in the Na'Vi puzzle, I guess, and it always pays out so heavily for them. So this is a good look for Na'Vi right now. Flamey can just lock off Markelov, who's been liking to pressure down Ivy. You saw in the last round as well, we only had the Deagle to work with, likes to play that kind of catch anyone on the back, but at the moment they've actually caused a little bit of trouble here. Looking at the B side, there's absolutely no one there. Caesar's pulled himself over, so in theory, Flipside, of course they don't know this, could easily walk in towards that B site and have an absolute whale of a time, but not going for it in 34 seconds left. This is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a fake from Flipside, and they will eventually head to that inner bomb site. The bomb is there. Markelov, he can't even get that first kill. Flamey does find him, but it's pulled C's away. So the fake has worked. There's been a trade. It's a 4-on-4, but it's going to be easy access into this bomb site. Blade still fighting outside, and there's C's. Whirled at it, picks him off, patiently waiting on the lower ramp, and here comes the bomb plant.
Okay, now into the 3v3. Let's see what they've got as a setup here. The retake's going to be pretty tough from Na'Vi. Waylander, Shara, and Welder, they're all staying down pretty much by the bomb site. No one retracting back towards the brown halls, but Guardian, first one to go looking, and he's going to find it. Welder gets absolutely smashed out of this one. Now 2 left, Shara and Waylander. Better have a 6 set up here, and it's not good enough. Waylander gets swept aside, and Shara not going to have the impact he wanted. Means the defuse is coming out, and Na'Vi again starts stretching their legs further. This is a bit of a whitewash so far.
Yeah, such strong coordination from Na'Vi on that retake. Even with C's falling that time, a 3-on-3 with the post play and Guardian. I mean, he picks up World at it, maybe a little bit of an aggressive peek from him. That's a crucial position, especially with the AWP, to hold to protect your teammates who haven't been able to get out of the bomb site. So 10-2, the fake works, and that's the thing with Flipside. Some of the tactics they've ran here have worked initially in these rounds, and it's the late round situations. It's a 1-on-3 from C's. It's that 3-on-3 beautifully executed retake from Na'Vi. Flipside just can't handle it at the end of the rounds.
Well, this is the thing. They are often hailed as the mini Na'Vi tactically to some degree, but then they always seem to lack the firepower unless someone has those big performances. Now, of course, a couple of players have been playing well, and a couple of players have had those individual moments, but it's just not consistent in comparison to Na'Vi at this point. But again, it's so hard to know what you're coming up against with Na'Vi here.
The big thing about the firepower with Flipside is that Blade is actually leading the way in terms of fragging power for them at the moment. He's doubling up his nearest teammate. World Edit, Waylander, these are the guys that you expect to be the ones putting in the majority of the work, at least on the scoreboard. And when Blade has this many kills and his teammates don't, something is going wrong.
Something's going wrong this round already. Markelov gets swept aside. He's removed from down by Ivy. That's going to give Guardian complete vision, and it's allowing a couple of players to get themselves into a bit of a different spot. Already starting to read into what Flipside were intending to do this round, but Zeus pushing up as well. Blade, it's a dangerous game you're going to be playing if you even fancy going out that way. Got to be careful on that. Zeus going to smoke himself out, and Guardian actually backs off from this. So not overextending, not going to stay his welcome. And now 50 seconds left. This looks like a B here, but it could change up at any second here.
The issue as well for Flipside at the moment is because of this passive playstyle. I mean, look at this. The Guardians just picking them off with the AWP. They've lost 2 members, and they haven't made progress anywhere. They haven't even probed enough to know what kind of setup they're executing into. It's just one of those things where eventually the call comes in to hit the B bomb site, and you hope and pray that the setup is ineffective from Na'Vi, but so far it hasn't worked out that way, and Zeus on the flank.
Everyone knows this could be a possibility, but it doesn't seem to matter. The spray almost connected towards Shara as well. The 2 remaining players are in a world of trouble, and Guardian just puts them out of their misery with Edward in tow, and this has been a beautifully read game from Na'Vi so far.
I mean, the picks by Guardian just allows Zeus to basically corral Flipside and have such a fast flank, even when they get to the bomb site. Even with World Edit knowing that it was a possibility, still can't win the battle. It's still just a little bit unexpected. 16-5 for Seized, 12 kills each for Zeus, Edward, and Flamey. And this is just suffocating defense from Na'Vi. They've thrown so many looks at Flipside now that Flipside is really unsure how to play the beginning of these rounds because they face the aggression, they face the close-up Na'Vi members in choke points, so they have to be very careful at how they approach everything. And it's just Na'Vi's thrown them completely off their rhythm. This has been a really nice game plan out of Starks.
Limited work put in at the start, they said themselves, but it's clearly paying off, and already damage being shoved into the face of Flipside here. Look at this play. Guardian and Edward having their way with them. And my word, Markelov and Waylander just left there reeling at the back of what's just been done, and Flamey and Zeus finding the last two, trying to find their way out towards A, and they're just being locked out.
And finally it pays off for Navi. Now here's another round. They send all 5 members to that outer bomb site. They've been waiting patiently for this fast tactic from Flipside to come out towards that A bomb train, and it's finally paid off. They ran it 2 or 3 times, and the fast tactic didn't come. Finally it does, and you can see it's just a slaughter. So really nicely done from Navi, doing their homework. 12-2. I mean, even if Flipside gets this last one, it's such a dire situation for them going into the second half.
We have a double AWP and an auto sniper. Why not? Why not? You know what? They can barely get a buy-in on Flipside side, so it's not a great position to be in, and Zeus is the one with that auto sniper looking to do the spam right through towards upper, and no one's there right now, but bear in mind Waylander and Shara weren't far off at that point.
It's the psychological damage of just hearing that gun go off.
We have not had a good half.
This is not going to go well.
Oh, and Guardian's getting angsty here. He wants to find this. He knows Markelov's been playing this spot, and he is so hungry for this kill.
He knows he's there, and he's isolated him. He's prevented him from falling back. So now Guardian just is like a shark, but that's a great shoulder peek from Markelov. Still can't get much out of it.
And here comes the cavalry, very loud as well. Guardian finds that even through the corner of the wall, but it's going to spur on the play from the T side now, trying to make their way towards the A bomb site. Finally having some fairly good trades into this, but Flamey's now going to pick up the mantle, and it's going to pay off just as well with Guardian's AWP rattling off as the final shot of this half. And 13-2, Moses. This is not a pretty picture.
This is why Navi is so good on train. This is just an incredible defense, and now you switch over to a side of the map where they're probably the best team in the world on the offensive train as well.
Alright guys, that was the first half, and it's not looking good for Flipside. Let's see if they can recover on the second go of things. A brutal first half here between Navi and Flipside. Merely 2 rounds gathered for the Flipside boys, 1 being the first pistol as well, and Navi looked dominant so far.
Yeah, it was. It's almost harsh. It's almost hard to say, but Flipside, they had some really good ideas. They had some successful starts to some of these rounds, but that's where it comes down to the individual play of some of these players on Navi. It's just that the skill on this team is just unmatched on Flipside. We saw C's have that 1-on-3, and once that happens to you as a team, that's just crushing. Because that actually happened, just about halfway through the first half. It happened pretty early on, so you could see Flipside is just like, well, we can't get anything to go right at the end.
And it's a great point for Navi as well to be meeting, not necessarily critics, but even their own thoughts how they're coming to this, knowing that we're not in the best position. We could have maybe done more if we were in a better, I guess, place here. Unfortunate timing for a player to be ill of Flamey's caliber, but again, we've seen others pick up and take on that mantle. That could be an issue down the line, but for now, this is Navi proving a point. This is a very strong showing.
Well, it's sick strategically from Navi. The setups that they used, the different kind of looks that they gave Flipside had to make them feel very uncomfortable. But I mentioned this right before the match started. This Navi team is not one where there's just one shining star anymore. You look at how the kill spread is. Statistically speaking, all 5 Navi members are within 3 kills of each other. The top is at 16 with C's, and the bottom is Zeus with 13. So there's no one lagging behind, and everyone's putting in just their 1 to 2 kills. Everyone's playing their role. Everyone's doing their job, and that's when these teams start to become very, very scary.
Yeah, that might be the Navi beast that people were scared of possibly coming to this event, but it is the first game of the groups for them here, so a long road ahead of them. And it looks like we already see a plan building into this. We've got the Molly with Seized coming out there. Guardian going on the utility too. Curious if this will be that B hit. Of course, with the Molly to be placed on the B side, but there is a smoke in Shara's hand. So again, this could be countered to a degree. And let's see if Flipside have read into this. Is this another play they've read from Na'Vi? Because you know you're going to face these guys on train. This is a very predicted pick, I guess, of map. So let's see if the work's paid off for Flipside, as they need the start here. No two ways about it.
The big thing is Seized will not make the entrance into the B bomb site with him. He has a Molotov. He will stay in these box halls. That is for the plant to bounce off the doorway. If it does come down to that kind of situation, he is the insurance policy to make sure they cannot defuse it. Likewise, Shara with his smoke, that's the one that's got to be saved for the bomb train if the bomb does get planted here. He's got a job to do first, though. Long range, this is where you want that pistol, that ranged pistol to do the work, but he's flashed off.
And look at Na'Vi, they're going straight in for the fight. They're trying to bring those Glocks to a range that they can actually work in, but Shara welded and Waylander all over on the site. Edward hit the shot. No, he misses it. Waylander's there, catching out too. And so far, Flipside are holding this one just in check. But there we go. Flamey and Guardian now the last two. They have no step towards the site. Guardian, however, still at least does have the bomb, so maybe could find a piece of work to build here. It's not all over, but with merely 25 seconds and Waylander starting to warm up, it's looking good, but Guardian's going to claim him. But it is a 4-man clean-ish round, I guess, for Flipside. And for them, it's do or die here at this point. You can't afford any round losses.
Na'Vi was hoping the attention of Flipside would be drawn towards that lower ramp. And it just didn't happen that way. So they pushed up the upper and they got one picked off and they kept trying to be aggressive, but by then the rotation was in. The bomb didn't even commit to the site because they just got beat up so badly there was no point for the bomb to try and go in. So both pistol rounds won by Flipside, which is odd to say because it's not too often in this situation you win both pistols and you're down 10 rounds. You only have 3 total in this match.
The Deagles can be deadly.
5 of them as well.
Oh, alright, there's the first tag. All right, Blade down to 70.
And you can see the kind of idea that Ever has. He takes the shot. He's not even going for the kill. He just wants the tag, because when you have these 5 Deagles and each one just gets a tag, they can be dangerous in that sense as well. You don't have to commit to try and fight for the kill.
And now it's going to spur on Seized and Flamey to start making their way through Ivy, knowing that maybe there's a little bit of a weakness, a possibility to do some work, but the flash is going to hinder them slightly. But look at Markelov's HP as well. This is a slow game. This is a slow, strangling play coming out from Na'Vi, and another tag to follow towards Blade, but it's not going to do the job, and Blade going to hold the line. And that is massive for Flipside here, to not give up any room. But Guardian and Edward still going to be desperate for opportunities.
And now it's very unlikely they can actually win this round for Na'Vi, but the idea is Markov and Blade are very, very low. See if you can get 1, maybe 2 more kills. And there it is, Guardian, that's sick. Now it opens it back up. Yeah, now it opens things back up.
Guardian still looking. His teammate Edward has fallen. It's still all down to him. He's got 25 HP, no utility, no armor. This should be a clean finish from Flipside here. But then again, let's remind ourselves, Marklov's low, Blade is low. It's Shara. Oh my god, Guardian! That is obscene, and he's still alive. He's still got a chance here. That's 3 kills. Blade goes down. This is unbelievable. And now 1v1. He can find Shara. He's on 3 HP. Shara has everything he needs, and he finally keeps it in check. But my god, Guardian. That was sick.
That's unreal what he just did to Flipside, and there's nothing on Flipside that can match that. That's incredible that he almost wins this round.
This shot as well.
The longest possible range you could have had. Really, really incredible stuff from Guardian. But now moving forward, even though they don't win the round, look at all the damage they've done to the economy. The CT side economy is so fragile on a map like Train as well. When you start getting punished in this sense, what are they going to have to actually hold off? You can see, look at this buy that Na'Vi has put together simply because of that damage. And Flipside is not prepared for this. They have a pistol hut world at it.
That was so dirty. Wow, okay, that's a little worrying. Of course, Welded It will be maybe wanting to look at getting the AWP at some point during this game, but it seems round by round is all they can look at this point. If someone like Guardian's already going off, you can only imagine what's going to happen down the line here, but there is still rounds to go. And this time, again, we see the mollies here in place with Na'Vi. They can do a good B hit, they can use them to clear corners, or they can save one back and try and keep it for that plant. Defend it as best as possible. Here comes the instant fight, and the contact works out. Straight in. So little utility to be put in their way from Flipside. They're just bullying their way through. Edward finally gets held back by the flames, but beyond that, there's not much stopping him, and there's the other spray down. Finally, a response comes out from Blade and Waylander, but this is a 3v3. That bomb is planted, and they have players in position, but no mollies to stop the defuse.
Yeah, no more rifles as well. It might be a little bit over-aggression for the AK and Galil to be the ones pushing when you have Tech 9s and Deagles at range. Guardian, though, he's going to do some more damage. He pulls him off the bomb at least, trying to land that one more headshot. There's the diffuser going down. And actually, there's still Markelov very, very far away. He's got to make his way to the bomb site. Guardian, oh, that would have been a beautiful shot to hit, and he goes for it, but Markelov's got the cover. Another round that's so incredibly close, and Navi with another plant might just decide to keep the pressure up.
As you said, these rounds being so close, why not? The two rifles that were invested into by Flipside do at least get brought back over. So Blade and Markelov going to retain those. They can share out the money as they feel free. But let's look at Navi here. They're not known for going for, I guess, questionable buys, but they're going to invest into this one. They're going to go for the rifles back out. They have 3 players clean up on it. You've got Galil with Zeus. Okay, Guardian with Galil as well, but it's decent enough. They have enough to build off here.
And they have a lot of rounds to play with. It's not like this is, repeated force buys. There is a reason why they're doing this, because they know the economy is on the breaking point for Flipside, and especially on T sides of Train, you always want that CT team to be on the breaking point. That's how you get your rounds on a map that can be so one-sided. And this is very aggressive. This is not the slow-paced Navi that we're normally seeing. They want to get in. They want to get aggressive. Markelov is being very passive, but it's Blade who's manning up, who gets that first headshot, and there he is with another.
Absolutely sublime crossfire coming in from those two, but again, it's still kept into some sort of dangerous area until, well, it found Zeus. That's going to leave Edward 1v3. He has no HP almost at this point, not enough to take any clean fights, to say the least. But there's Markelov and World in it. Not expecting this. No one's really watching the Ivy play. Of course they're watching the push, but not the peak, so wonder if Edward's going to try anything here. They do have rounds to play with, as said, but with 15 HP, it doesn't seem much point.
No, there really isn't, and this is good for Flipside because they've withstood the pressure. After this, because there's only 2 kills that go out, it's not 3 or 4. There's no plant as well for Navi, so they're just going to save next round. Even if Edward has this AK-47, they're just going to say, all right, Flipside has survived our early attempts at breaking the economy, trying to catch him off guard. It doesn't work. Save 1, and then they're going to have essentially the full losing bonus built up as well. So that next buy after 1 save will be very, very powerful.
You can see that Flipside is so cautious to even go hunting for this. They really can't be affording to lose any guns at this point. They need to keep this in check. They need to build their own money up as well.
Yeah, they have to drop a gun over to Waylander. He's only got $150, so they need to give him one. And it's also, you could just kind of see Flipside's being, just individually, some of these guys are being very passive. Markelov was so afraid to peek that corner until Blade made the initial contact. Then he comes in. So he did patiently wait for the crossfire to get set up. But usually at that corner, you are the one to make first contact, and he just kind of fell away.
So scoreline-wise, Flipside maybe showing signs of life here, but this is so early into the game, and Navi have so much room to play with throughout these rounds. They can go for possibly risky investments down the line if needed, but let's see what they go for here. Again, they do have the rifle still with Edward, but everything else is possibly pushing it a little bit far, but we saw what can happen with just one deagle.
Well, and they haven't even gotten to the final boss yet. Guardian hasn't even picked up an AWP in this half, and that's when things are really going to start getting dangerous, when he's going to have time to sit in T-mid or sit over towards Ivy, use that op to try and get someone out of position to try and find that opening kill. And look at this inner rush. Only 1 member here.
Shara.
Yeah, but he senses it. He already falls away. That's a nice nade on the Guardian. That stops the pressure as well.
And it has stopped it. It is completely and utterly halted that train in its tracks. That cannot go any further now, and that's a brilliant bit of play from Shara, considering, excuse me, he does get overlooked sometimes when you discuss this Flipside tactics lineup. That was a good moment for him, even though he gets no kills off the back of it. Just to deny any initial start here for Navi is going to send them back. But these guys, known for their build-ups on this map, they can go back to that slow pace. They can fall back to any style they want, but those pistols are going to find it hard to maybe find their place in these rounds.
Very interested, because this is almost looks like it's playing out to be a fake. And it actually, they're lining up for a smoke execute towards that outer train yard. The bomb is on season. He hasn't moved from box halts towards B. So that's eventually where they want to just pull 1 member of Flipside away towards that outer train yard, maybe both. It's usually doubtful until the bomb is spotted, but they just want to have that window of opportunity to get the plant. And actually, with Edward throwing that smoke, it could just end up being some kind of a double fake, but no one's committed.
They're using their players as the fake.
Yep.
They had no utility. They have to put the players out there. This is literally throwing them to the wolves. Seized is waiting back. Edward's on with the firepower, so he's going to be waiting out, taking his time on this one. The kills are going to come in regardless. This is pretty comfortable and good stuff from Blade, individually having a good moment there, but Seized looking for the plant now. If he can find this, that would be brilliant for him and the Navi side, but Shara's moving in. They do get the plant, so I guess at the end of the day, that's probably all you can hope for, unless Edward had a massive impact or something very strange happened there. So still getting something out of that round, even though they didn't get a singular kill.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly for Navi. That's the best they could have hoped for, basically. And now we have the op on Guardian with that plant as well. That's huge for Edward because he did save the AK-47, so he didn't make any money off that round. So he actually, with that $800, that extra bonus that he gets, he can now afford a much stronger buy.
And we've actually got a timeout for Na'Vi now. I don't know. It looks like they've got a monitor issue, possibly. Yeah, there we go. Okay, referees are coming out. I was like, you're 13-7 up. I don't know if it's really warranting.
Might not be time for the tactical
Yeah,
pause
not yet. But we can start diving into the kind of impact that we've been seeing from Guardian, at least on his CT side, and how that may, I guess, echo into the T side that he's now been able to pick up. Because World Edit didn't really have much of a chance to get going either. So not really having much of a AWP to AWP battle. Once those double AWPs came out for Na'Vi on the first half, there was so little resistance coming out from Flipside. So this could be the first couple of interesting battles here.
But this is the danger for World. I mean, even just for Flipside in general, they were so suffocated in that first half. No one really had any chance to get going. They didn't really have anyone who you could say started feeling the game a little bit better, was reading it very nice, was having a big impact. So, I mean, Blade is surprisingly is the one for this team, which I said something's going wrong, but he's having a massive performance. He's at 22 and 16. It is someone like World Edit who needs to have that impact with the AWP, who's got to get going, but no chance in that first half. And can he actually bounce back in the second half with how that first half went?
It's a big question. And the thing with Blade, in my eyes, is sometimes his stats look deceiving to a degree, because he shouldn't be the one at the very forefront. But let's take Mirage, for example. CT side, he'll be sat on that A site. And to be fair, he has a fantastic read into the game individually. He can play it extremely well. So sometimes you'll see him actually picking up a lot of kills there, but it's always supported by either Waylander coming through or maybe a World Edit coming in. There always should be someone else very much at the forefront. But for him on the T side to be the one having such of an impact, that, as you said, is very much a questionable point. So hopefully for Flipside, the other players there that can start finding a little more than what they've had previously, because that's just not enough.
This first round is going to be the big test. With World Edit and Guardian, they're going to have that duel with the two AWPs, so we'll have to see which one. I mean, that's going to be a big tell for this entire half. If World Edit can start winning this consistently, if Flipside can start grinding back into this game, that'll be massive.
It's a bit of a tough task here for Flipside. Let's bear in mind it's not an easy one. The scoreline of the first half was extremely condemning, but they haven't dropped around since. They've built back through it. The money has been a little shaky for them. It's barely stabilized now, so it's still on a bit of a knife's edge. But by this point, they kind of have to invest into any round anyway. That's such a small bit of room to work into if they did lose the next couple.
That is the good news, is that Flipside, they have the money to be able to sustain some losses. They can lose a round and still buy and get back into it. So they've at least given themselves enough of a cushion where they can make a mistake and they won't be massively punished for it. Obviously, they don't have many to give up because Navi's already at 13, but at least losing one round isn't going to just crush their economy and then they have to do some kind of miraculous force buy. They have the money to rebuy into an AWP again.
It looks like we're almost ready to go. We are. So we are back into game. No worries there. And now Guardian on the AWP. This is what we want to see. Guardian, World Edit. This is the battle we want to be finding. I don't know if Guardian's going to start things off with a bang. Waylander and Blade better be careful, because there is a very deadly man staring down just very close as to where you are. And it looks like a bit of a default A hit coming out so far from Navi. And the pace this time, a little bit slower than before. They have been showing some real stances of aggression, which is quite unique. And a little bit of a peek up and above there from Guardian. Not going to find much out from it, however. No one playing towards the trains. But again, not seeing a player can give you just as much information, saying, well, they're not playing here. Maybe they're sitting deeper on the side, or maybe they're pushed up close. Let's see how they adapt going forwards here, as Flamey and Seas will be the ones going down through Ivy. It's Edward and Guardian who might make their way through.
Actually, World Edit at the start of that round was in a position where he wouldn't even battle with Guardian unless Guardian overcommitted to that outer site. So they don't want him to duel quite yet. That Molotov at least forces that stack away. Still, Navi haven't moved across the map, have not applied too much pressure. This is all Navi set up to give Guardian time to find that pick. Now they can start making moves. Now the individuals have a little bit more freedom because Guardian's been forced off of it. 45 seconds left. Somebody's got to make something happen. They've got to get the intel needed to know where to make this call.
And you've got to give credit here to Flipside. They're not just giving all their utility away early. They still have retained some smokes. They've still got some flashes if they need it, either for the retake or for trying to halt what's coming their way. Guardian still having no real success here, finding these openers that are so often gifted, but it's seized to find Mark Lock. But then again, look at this stack goes all over towards B, but they're adjusting. But now where did Navi take this? They've traded out 1-for-1. They know roughly where Blade is. Guardian's put himself down by Pop. Blade retracts in, and now suddenly Flipside need to readjust themselves. They're out of position. Zeus barrels forward, and this is sheer firepower coming into play here for Navi. Down to 10 seconds. The bomb finally comes in, and it's retake time. But with 3 players, this is incredibly tough.
Yeah, this is a sick executed tactic from Navi. There's Shara with 1 kill on a Flamey, not expecting that. They know one's above. Shara figure it out, he can't. Zeus gets that shot, and that position is way too strong at this point. World Edit does find him, but there's Edward at range. A huge round for Navi. They're going to get up towards 14.
And again, I'm so thoroughly impressed with your Zeus and your Seas. These two have been the headliners for me. It's not just the filler frags, it's the openers. It's the ones to create opportunities into these rounds, which generally you see, all right, it's Flamey or it's Guardian. These two are having big moments.
That one kill from Seas was huge, because once they realize that Seas is the only one there, they think it's a fake towards the inner bomb site, and everyone rotates in, and then Na'Vi just switches it up at the last second. They go down ladder, they go towards that outer bomb site, and Seas is essentially a fake of a fake.
Brilliant. Now, the one thing we've got to point out here is Markelov has been trying to pick up the double AWP, and it seems to be so hit and miss. There is so little consistency when you watch this guy play. Sometimes it is off the charts, other times he's been completely wrecked down by Ivy.
I think on a certain level, though, anyone who watched some of the history of Counter-Strike, Markelov, one of the most storied operas, is just happy to see it in his hands. I know Anders is crying
grinning right now. Yeah, there is a big smile there, which has been wiped off his face.
Markelov is crying as well.
Oh, Markelov, why? Every time you give us hope when you do this, we all start, wondering if maybe it's that moment, but it's not. It's definitely not. There's now 5v4. You didn't need to give Na'Vi any help or any step towards getting these rounds in the bag, especially not opening kills. Bashar and Welded, it's still on the B site. Could have some play here.
Na'Vi just has to wait. Seas has a huge flank with that hands spot. I'm actually surprised they're committing here. They do run right into that. World that can get one more. Yeah, if they had just been a little bit more patient, he would have got both these kills, but still, they're waiting it out. Now they're being patient. And World that there's a clock on how much longer he's going to live.
Do it. Do it.
Why not?
What are you doing?
Oh no!
Okay.
It's just a little bit of a teaser.
No one saw anything.
It's okay. We're back in the room. Flamey with another kill. That's huge, and Blade's going to fall right afterwards, but geez, what a letdown.
What was that? Just
I think he just
not enough.
Yeah, I think he thought that was just going to be a backstab, like a one-knife kill. Doesn't work out that way.
I think what it just turned enough that it wasn't the one stab, to be fair, which was incredibly lucky. More than anything, maybe. I don't know.
He's probably freaked out more than we did.
And the one brilliant thing is that Na'Vi, when Train First Back came back into play after the remake and it all got changed around, the one thing with Na'Vi that I used to love is they used to have this crazy B hit when they split through Ivy, they go all the way through CT on their T side, and they did this insane play. So it's kind of nice seeing some of that still there, just given the opportunity of, back of Markelov overextending. But we're at 15-7. Na'Vi on the doorstep of closing this one out, breaking the back of Flipside. Pretty much just breaking that spine in half at this point. Blade at least going to put up a good fight here, but there's still so much more left with Na'Vi to build back into this round. And that gun, they can try and recover it, but not the easiest task with Guardian in the way.
Yeah, Caesar's had some good success as well, getting at least the initial kill coming out of Ivy, and he's going up against Markelov, who doesn't have a weapon. Well, there is a second player rotating over to set up a crossfire. Zeus is waiting for that. They're going to clear the corner. They see nothing. Nade comes out, sees this is his chance, but he spots two, and he commits to Markelov. That allows Blade to get the kill, and now there's really no chance of exit until these two kills come out. Zeus, Flamey, and Guardian so quick, all three kills, and Guardian, he knows where Waylander is, and he's going to let him walk right into his crosshair, and it's all over. Flamey with the last kill on Ashara, 16-7 for Na'Vi in the opening match.
And that first side performance from Na'Vi was just so condemning. There's no two ways of saying it. That first side looked deadly. Flip side...
Take control somewhere else, so that can be very punishing in and of itself.
Well, we're 5 seconds left here in the warm-up, going into the buy round, or into the buy segment before the pistol round, guys.
And the countdown has begun. Luminosity starting on the CT side, Navi on the T side, on this second map of the Grand Finals here at MLG Columbus. The first North American major, so I mean, it's like a mouthful. There's like first $1 million tournament, first North American major.
It's just so cool.
And it's going to be a first championship team here as well. Neither Navi or Luminosity have won a major in the past.
Well, they have made the buy happen here. Moses, how much can you tell from this terrorist side about what's going on? We got 2 smokes and 2 flashbangs. We got the Tech-9 and Armor on Edward here. Does that give away anything for us, for those of us watching here on the Navi side? What are they doing?
Those smokes can be used in a lot of different places, obviously. I mean, this can just be an execute at the B bomb site, but with that Tech-9 and Armor, you expect there to be some kind of quick play, have that tank get somewhere very, very fast, just so he can absorb some damage. It's a very strong weapon to try and get a pick, at least gain a small amount of map control that'll give you some space to use those smokes for an execute onto one of the bomb sites. That, or actually, we also often see that the Tech-9 is used as kind of like the last player in, who's there with such a huge advantage. His teammates soften things up, and that Tech-9 can just kind of clean things out. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that's used.
All right, so when we say executors, we are just taking care of a sound issue on C's PC, which is going to be hopefully done with. Actually, it seems like, it's not quite yet, but not that far off. When we say execute, we obviously mean you get the map control, you set up in certain positions, you throw the grenades, and then you charge a bomb site behind it. Luminosity, are they going to let Navi do that, or is there going to be a counterplay coming out, you think, to sort of stop that kind of map control?
Well, they don't have a lot of nades, so it looks like they're going to want to set up. Fur has a kit, has a smoke, so he's going to be a little bit more passive because he wants to have that kit alive to go to either one of the bomb sites, but they want to win some opening duels at range. I would expect that there would be some kind of early aggression from Fallen and FNX. They're going to push out towards A, and they're going to take duels, not commit to too many fights, but be able to fall back and fight at range as they retreat.
And this is it. They aren't wasting any time at all, Navi. They've gathered up outside this B site. They've already got control of Monster. Taco's looking to see if he can't find somebody stepping out of line, but they're just lying in wait at this point, Navi. They're giving some time for Zeus to maneuver and get into connector, and we'll see just what Zeus is able to accomplish here. He's going to be sure he might want to actually just hold out and see if he can capture rotate. Taco, he takes the bait. He still trades 1 for 1 in that situation, which is huge here for Luminosity.
Can they actually get the bomb down? That's the big question. Flamey looking to see if he can get up onto the bomb site here. Still that 4v4. They smoke off up towards the sniper spot. So that's one of the smokes already used. The second one coming in as well. They're really using these smokes well right now on the Navi side. Cole's going to be giving it the 1 kill, but Edward with the frag here. That Tech-9 doing a lot of work.
Yeah, and there's the boost. Cold actually has the space to work with it. He's actually going to pull that bomb plant off, and he gets the falling shot onto Guardian. Flamey now in a 1v3, and the bomb dropped on the wrong side, but so long as that smoke is up, he has a little bit of time to maneuver. Flash is not going to be effective, but he gets peeked. They're confirming his position, and now it's a 1v3, and they can just peek them together. Cold will find another headshot. 3 for him with a USP.
That is so sick, because that was a really nice play from Navi to get into the site to begin with, but the smokes are down everywhere that Navi wanted them. They're up in the balcony, they're over towards Graffiti, they're blocking everything off. That retake from coming in had to be delayed, but just a couple very nice shots from Luminosity turns that round around so quickly.
I mean, I also think, and this is something we should point out going into the later stages here, that B bomb side, you can very often, especially if you get the first entry, you can get in and get the bomb down, but if you're sort of, if you're only in the same position that you came in from, it can be a little bit hard to hold it, right? It's better if you get pushed up to where the CTs are coming from, then they have to take a much sort of deeper fight, and it becomes a bit of an issue here. But it's Tech-9 Armor for this round, it seems, mostly, at least for the Navi side.
And we're talking about some of that aggression, whether Luminosity are going to get out there and take the fight. Full blind. Zeus can't catch a break. Takes a bullet to the face coming around the corner. It worked out perfectly for Zeus, apart from getting died, basically. Fur finds the second kill onto Flamey as well. And we were wondering before going into this match whether Luminosity were going to be particularly aggressive on their CT side, whether they were going to get in Navi's face. They're doing just that. Charging up to top mid when potentially there could be Tech-9s waiting for you. That takes some bravery.
Some sick plays by Fur, though, getting those opening kills. Those taps coming up the stairs. So nice with a gun that's not known for that, but this is a big investment now for Navi that doesn't look like it's going to pan out. They haven't gotten any kills yet. They're not going to be forcing any rebounds in this if they can't find him. And Fur, with a third, he's just building up bonus money on this, and he's going to get a fourth as well. He's so rich.
And I mean, I was talking to Taz from Virtus Pro a little bit yesterday. He was pointing this out. He said, well, most people now who play Luminosity have already realized that Fur likes to be very aggressive early in the round. You put up smokes, you always got to worry a bit about him maybe sneaking around or something like that. Surely Navi will also know that, and yet he's able to get away with so much here. Is he going to keep doing it, or is he going to cool off at one point when Navi starts to have rifles?
No, he'll keep doing it. Well, he's going to do it and see if Navi can stop it, and then from there, it's where do you go? if he's going to be dominant doing that, getting some opening kills, even if it's traded, sometimes it's just getting that information that helps your team out. This round, just some flashbangs, no real investment from Na'Vi, but everyone towards the B bomb site.
It's fun that you mentioned that he's going to keep doing it until they can figure out how to stop him. It's just like, yeah, you have to earn my respect.
Yeah.
If you just let me keep running up and finding headshots with you guys, well, I'm just going to keep doing that. No reason for me to stop. But now it's Na'Vi. Hard eco from them, seeing as how they haven't got a bomb plant yet. They're just flat broke. And so far, Taco is drawing out a little bit for him. Cold will be able to get the flank in. And between Taco and Cold, they've just completely shut down Na'Vi. Not since the pistol round have Na'Vi been able to actually get anywhere near a bomb site. They're just getting caught out on the extremities.
It's also a switch up from what we saw on Mirage, where even as the CT side were winning a lot of rounds, it was very often close. The economy was not necessarily all that good, right? This time, it's obviously going to be much better for the Luminosity team. So even if Na'Vi win this round, their first rifle in, they're not quite going to be able to do it. And the auto sniper straight off the bat, Luminosity, they're getting ready to knock Na'Vi out of this round. That's what they want here. They just want to shut them down.
This is insane. Look at the aggression as well.
Oh, no.
Fallen Cold.
The grenade, it goes a little bit wide. That could have been a perfect touchdown. Fur going to be picking up the kill on Flamey then. And at least gives them an opening, but Edward, it's a nice crouch peek in to get that kill. He's low on health, but there'll surely be a bomb plant here. And the retake, look how far away they are here.
This couldn't be more perfect for Na'Vi. They completely faked Luminosity out with that aggression. Again, no fear, charging straight onto the B site. Luminosity were looking for more of a drawn-out fight. They were looking to try and pull a fast one on Na'Vi. Instead, Na'Vi, they've already got the bomb down. This is so difficult for Luminosity given the weaponry that they had. Well, Taco not there with the Scar 20 anymore, but it's Fallen with the op. The FAMAS on FNX, the FAMAS on Cold, not ideal, but Fallen, he'll take the fight with Edward towards T-Spawn and win it.
He's got a bit of an inkling, but he's not quite sure. Zeus counting the second in his head. When is he going to peak? Exactly at the same time. There's going to be Fur going down. FNX with a shot from the FAMAS, dropping C's now all on Zeus here. And the bomb, can he even spot it from this position? He's on the inside. He can't actually stop it. They have a kit, and this is not going to work out. C's goes down, and a great retake from Luminosity that it seemed to be initiated so slowly in the beginning.
Those extra seconds on the bomb timer, we've mentioned a couple times, it's the first major it's been in, but you can see Luminosity so much confidence, even going back to the last map, some of those setups they have, they're so confident in their ability to retake a bomb site that they're willing to have that kind of give up the bomb site, just one member there to defend against it. Taco falls early, but you can see the rest of the map control that Luminosity has that allows Fallen to get that nice flank in, get a pick off when Na'Vi wasn't expecting it, and actually they even salvaged the auto sniper on Taco. So, and actually we mentioned it, Fur that round gets the opening kill, aggression again, so Na'Vi, they've got to be very wary of that moving forward.
And once again, Fur, look at this setup from him. He's pushed all the way up the top connector. If Na'Vi were to come into mid, they'd be in for a bit of a rude surprise. Instead, Na'Vi elect to take over long. So they've had their fights mid, they've had their fights toward B. Now the other side of the map, let's see what we can achieve over here. Guardian doesn't have his AWP, but Edward doing work already with that AK. He takes out FNX. Zeus gets the drop, but Fur, the double spray, that's not how it's supposed to go.
At the same time, they do give up the bomb site here. Cold is what coming in, and they're also flanking in from the restrooms. Fur going to be going down here. Now 3-on-3. That bomb plant has to come quick here as Cold Zero takes down Edward. It's now Guardian and Flamey left, and they are trapped inside. Flamey picks up the one kill here. Still has another two to go to try and see if he can do it. He hits a headshot there on Taco, and now it's a one-on-one. He has to try and clutch this. They need this round here, Na'Vi. And Cold Zero, he's behind the bank, and there's so much time left still. And we'll see if this could be working out. He's certainly got the triple, and this AK, just a single headshot is what he needs. Sprays, but Cold dodging in behind the container and steals it away. Now 5 rounds in a row here for Luminosity. Cold Zero hasn't died yet.
But once again, it's the aggressive punch from Fur. Those 2 kills in the open. What that also allows to do, Fallen didn't have to do any work to block off that initial contact. So actually, even though Na'Vi gets the site, they get 1 kill on their way in. They don't know Fallen's there because he hasn't even taken a shot. He hasn't gotten a kill, and he gets 1 more free one when they're not expecting it.
Just an unlucky break there for Guardian as well, because he was looking towards Fallen, and he turns away just as Fallen gets back behind the wall. Had he had that information, he would have played the situation completely differently. But instead, it's going to be another force here from Na'Vi. They have to commit to this, and it's going to be 4 rivals across the board. But more aggression coming out. FNX gets flashed into top mid, and Fur uses the one-way smoke, and he gets it to work. One of the few that is still possible here in the game, and Fur couldn't be better for him.
What a way to start. I mean, now they're not even allowed to get into the middle of the map. They are actually under siege as soon as they just walk out of T-spawn, it seems. It's almost ridiculous here. Edward, he needs to get a bunch of kills here, try and see if he can make it back. He's got the time to work with at least. He's got a lot of time on the clock here.
We mentioned how hard it is to have success in this map as terrorists if you can't control bathroom or these stairs, and so far Navi hasn't been able to do either of it. And look at Fallen swiftly. Edward drops 6-0.
That is such a nasty angle.
Navi has to recover. They're getting smacked around right now.
When does Starks decide to call, tap out and call for the timeout?
That's a good point, yeah.
I mean, run up there, big. We're in an arena, right? Just.
Well, I mean, and that's something that Navi usually very good at, but I mean, they actually go for the force here, Moses. I mean, it sort of just evens out the money. They will be able to buy, obviously. They got the round loss bonus. Every round they lose here is $3,400 in the bank, no matter what else happens. So they will have a lot of money to buy, but still a little bit worried.
Yeah, trying to do some damage, maybe get the bomb planted, see what can come from it with these pistols. I mean, this is only really a small investment with that losing bonus coming in, but they're just going to have to see what they can get this round. Maybe try and keep the money low on the LG side as well.
That's exactly what they have in mind, but Guardian, he gets dropped down to 7 HP immediately. Cold will have that smoke ready for short as well, and so Navi, they're just going to have to cool their heels for a little bit longer here. Similar setup to what they had going in the pistol, but this time they actually have 2 guys waiting in sewer to try and push up, and they're waiting to see if there's going to be any kind of movement towards connector either. Navi right now, actually being patient with this pays off because they still have all of their utility. It's not like that, they've used their nades and now they're screwed, they're out of luck. No, they still have a chance here.
Well, there's a good pop flash to start it off with. Taco isolated on the left-hand wall here. Got to be careful that they don't just rush him down. He's got the auto sniper, which might be the near-perfect weapon if they're going to try and come through the monster tunnel here, which is exactly what they're doing. And they only get one trade, and that's not quite good enough. Cold Sierra going to get the kill, and the next one too. And now it's on Edward in a 1-on-4 here. Cold Sierra just shutting him out with a triple kill, which might have been expected, but I just do want to point out here, it's 11-0 and 0. It's no longer Cold Sierra, it's God Sierra that has shown up here, and we are moving into the 8th round.
This is okay. So this is a really important buy for Navi. If they don't win this round, then you have to have the time. The timeout has to come out. And actually, they just took it just now.
Yeah, there we are. Perfect timing.
Yeah,
7-0 is 7-0 is actually it's about there that teams they have like a fail safe basically kicks in. They're like, if we haven't won a round by the 8th round, timeout and try and talk it over and figure out what the hell is not working because we need to get something going for ourselves. If Luminosity get past this point uncontested, it's almost no coming back for Navi.
It's this early pressure from LG taking control of bathroom stairs. Navi hasn't been able to force it back. And actually what's crazy about it is that Fur's going down these stairs basically all alone. And he's been able to single-handedly stop Navi from having any success there. And if you can't control those stairs, it just makes it that much harder to make progress on those bathrooms.
So I mean, you're the one in charge. You're making a call. Throw yourselves into Navi's sort of frame of mind here, Moses. CPL 2003. I think you finished 7th place back then, didn't you? What's it like? How hard is it to come up with something here?
Well, I mean, it's Navi. We've talked about Starx, how effective he is as a coach, and this is obviously one of their stronger maps, so they have to have a plan for what they're going up against right now. I put Guardian down there at the start, and I say if Fur's going to try and get aggressive, we want Guardian there, we want our star with the AWP, grab that angle. I also put a second player, an AK-47, and those two need to work together. Use as much utility as you can to clear out and make sure you control stairs, because from there you have another angle to work towards, the middle portion of the map towards that A bomb site. You at least have 2 avenues to kind of pinch toward and clear things out.
Now we do have about 20 seconds as we are getting back into the game here. If you're just joining us, it is the 8th round that we're going into after a tactical timeout from Navi to figure out how to stop this incredible run that Luminosity have been on. I'm noticing one more thing here as the clock runs down. We've lost the Navi cheer here at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus. I mean, I think they need the audience on their side right now for sure.
Yeah, they need that 6th man. There is no home team here, actually. They're just fascinating for the major final here. No real edge, but lots of Navi fans. And there we go. We got the Navi jerseys. We got the signs. There we go. Represent.
You have an Astralis fan you can hang out with later. Wow. Talk about the heartbreak.
I can't even. I had so many good tweets, but I saved all of them because it was heartbreaking. I couldn't do it. 7-0, and the sort of the crowd has really been silent here. Luminosity, I think, are convincing everyone that they're able to do this. There's still a little bit of life left in them, but this is the big round. It has to be the big round here. Zeus is down in connector. The bomb is far back. Guardian is over by the monster tunnel, and a little bit of a different setup for Luminosity. Not as aggressive, except, well, it is in sewer, but not in connector.
And this is going back to basics for Navi. Now they go back into their default kind of setup. Zeus over in connector. He's going to go toe-to-toe with Fur, see if he can't challenge him here. But then the rest of Na'Vi just spread out. And this is what Na'Vi are known for, taking their time, slowly, methodically taking over portions of the map before they decide what they want to execute on. What a shot. Fur finally runs into Zeus as well. Big spray, and Edward is actually going to get the backstab on Fur. Nobody there to back up Fur in mid.
Yeah, there was no one to block anyone from flanking him. Now Colt has to win this fight, and he is. Seized falls.
When you get hit like that by Guardian, you couldn't see anyone, there's a smoke up, you've got to be thinking, surely that can't be real. This is my time to shine. Edward with a fantastic boost, gets the one, goes for the spray. FNX very low on health, but so is Guardian, and he's coming in to help out here. One AK bullet is going to be enough to take care of him. They've got to be very careful here. Smoke goes off for FNX, and Guardian going to be hard for him to find the shot. Now a shot of FNX going to be going down anyway. What timing?
Now it's all on Fallen. He's the one who's up on position here on Optimus. And they're going to be coming around that angle, safe from the flash, and there's no utility left apart from the smoke. Zeus had to hit that headshot for Na'Vi to have a chance, and he gets the job done. Default plant coming out for Guardian, and now the Triangle of Doom is going to be set up here for Na'Vi. They're going to be in position to hold up the rotation. Is Cold Zero's streak going to come to an end? That's what we're about to find out in the 1v3. But if anybody could be capable of pulling this off, it would be Cold.
Shouldn't obviously be possible at this point in time, but using that Molotov, not killing anyone with it. I'm going to go for the quick shoulder peek and gets tagged, so his odds are even worse now. I'm pretty sure now we have finally found a round here in the second map, and he's going to take the AWP and run away, which is still just sort of optimizing the output or the outcome of this round, which is pretty cool. And he will have made it, I think, far enough away for the bomb to not take it with him, so we'll see.
Two things really help Na'Vi, and one has been a pretty consistent factor in the CT half for Luminosity. That auto sniper on Taco has not been effective so far in this match. He's actually dropped a couple times with I mean, he's done some damage, not gotten really too many kills with it, but it's actually been a liability more often than not. Very stationary with it. The other thing is Fur that time goes downstairs like he's been doing for so long, all alone, but no one else from Luminosity was aggressive out towards that portion of the map. So Na'Vi basically had a free flank down those stairs. Zeus just had to play that very passively and allow his teammates to clear it out. So there's that map control. Once it's gained, the Terrorcides can do so much to manipulate the map.
I think we're overlooking the important thing, though, is that Cold was just trying to maintain his kill-death ratio.
Yeah, of course.
12-0, still.
Just making sure he doesn't die. Look at this peek from Edward, just trying to see if anyone's on the other side of that playground wall. Luminosity going back to a very similar setup to the one they were running earlier with Fur hiding in that corner, and we'll see if it is going to be working out. Na'Vi, they've really not had much success trying to fight this early on. It seems like every time Luminosity come up with better trades. They also don't seem to be very welcome on the other side of the map. I mean, they've hardly left T-spawn at this point.
With Fur, he's again pushed up close to connector. Fallen is there to take the shoulder peek, trying to bait them out. We'll see if Na'Vi actually go for this. Instead, they just get the information. Now they know where Fallen's playing from. They've located the AWP. It's not over on the B side like it was in the last round. And so they can play off of this, Na'Vi. And knowing that it's in mid, they're going to actually go ahead and take a crack at long, see if they can't catch the man out. There's the pop flash going in. FNX, no hope at all. Just a little bit delayed there on Edward. Moment's hesitation, but he still wins the duel.
Fur going to be winning the fight against Zeus, so that sort of brings it back a little bit here. I think Na'Vi, as soon as they had Fallen's AWP, they probably guessed what the setup was. Now they got to be careful that Cease doesn't get shot in the back. He's got a bit of an idea that something could be up, Edward, and they're setting up for actually all of them setting up for smokes into the bomb site here. But Fur, he could really kill this round. Cease is aware that something might be up, and that's a really heads-up play coming out for him. Taco's on the bomb site as well. 20 seconds here for them to try and win this round.
And Cease just communicated exactly. He picks off Fur, Flamey, put the entry on Taco. Fallen trying to do the best that he can, and he will find the shot onto Edward. But he still knows that Cease is hanging around here in the back line. A lot of this is going to come down to Cold with 9 seconds left. Na'Vi, they still haven't got that bomb plant down. They need to get in there and actually initiate the plant, and just in time they will manage it. But in the meantime, the kill comes through for Fallen. Flamey catches out Cold, and it's all over the place. Tit for tat, everybody low on HP. Fallen still sticking to the op. But Na'Vi, they need to make the mistake now. They need to get impatient and actually go for the peak. Guardian's already got the angle, but he comes off of it just as Fallen comes around the corner. And now, well, Fallen, he decides it's too much. Without Cold to set up the flank, he's going to back off and hold on to the AWP. And he might be thinking about the money right now because they are fairly low, Luminosity.
Cold dinks Guardian when he peeks up from those stairs in CT spawn. If he had hit Flamey, he dinked one of them, and the other one, the planner, had the bomb. He was very low on HP. I mean, if he just shoots for the other member, they stop that plan and the round's over. This is something Na'Vi's known for. When they run down this clock, how often do we see them just flat out run out of time, shoot themselves in the foot? So it almost comes into play there again.
Well, in other news, they've managed to finally kill Coldzera, so I mean he's got 12-0-1 here, going into the 10th round. So that's also got to feel at least a little bit good if you're on the Na'Vi team. We see this again and again, Moses, right? We get the tactical timeout from one of these top teams, and then they go into a sort of winning streak. How does that work out?
It's just their ability to talk things over, to figure out what's going wrong. A lot of times, I mean, we've heard teams talk about it as well. It's just calming down, not necessarily changing anything. I mean, a lot of it for this, at least, the round immediately after the timeout, that's the first time they're able to handle Fur without taking damage from him, without taking any losses from his kind of play. So that was the crucial element, is just sustaining in the early rounds and not losing any players. Fallen, though, he's in a very committed position, and he finds the angle.
So ballsy. He's alone out here, too. And he actually goes charging in there. Guardian will find the angle on him eventually. But Fallen, that was like a one-and-done position because FNX wasn't anywhere near him to support him to actually allow him to get out of that situation, out of that position.
I hope we can see that shot from Guardian's angle because he was actually very close to the wall then. That has to have been a bit of a line-up shot. So 4 versus 4, still over a minute left with 2 people in B and 2 people in A here. And it's one of those few maps, actually, I think, where you can be allowed to do this. If this was, you know, almost any other map, Inferno, I would say, if you stack this way in a 4-on-4, you could definitely be in a bad position. Coldzera's kind of trying to get some information, but he's also the only one from Luminosity who might know what's happening here.
He also has a CZ, so he's being the one to take the initial fight, but it's going to be all on Fur.
And it seems like, there's a shot in Fur. He beats Guardian in the duel. Smoke goes down, but it's going to be too slow. The flash, however, works, and Flamey, he gets stopped cold. Zeus will actually take out Fur, but FNX solo on the side, hits the first shot, goes for the spray, looking for Seized, but he's not going to get him. It's still Seized in a 1v2, but the rotators are here now. Cold and Taco on point, in position, and the flash is going out, so life is going to get difficult here for Seized.
This would be almost impossible. I mean, they're going to have to make a pretty big mistake here. He's got almost no health either. AK in hand. He's got the lineup for the bomb here. They don't have a kit currently picked up, so might be able to buy just a little bit of time. He's going to go for the quick peek here. They're both around there, and if they time this well, he's got no chance. He looks for the first one. There's the headshot. Sees with the double. He needs just one more click of the headshot. He and Taco running for him, and he actually gets the shoulder shot in. Picks up a defuse kit on the back way there, and there's going to be enough time for it. Very close, but that's going to bring Luminosity at 8 rounds.
Fur, that hold of the bomb site, just holding very strong. That's an angle you expect Guardian to get that kill. Yeah. Such a scary situation. But for getting those opening 2 kills in FNX, I mean, that split of 2 and 2 works, partially because we've talked about the rotations between bomb sites are so quick for the counter-terrorists. You can get people back there in time once the action comes in. But look at Cold and Fur. I mean, this is the thing. That's that dangerous duo of Luminosity. Every top team has those 2 players where if they're both going off, it's going to be so hard to defeat them. And right now, that's Cold and Fur, and Navi is looking at a really difficult round here. If they lose this, they're out of money. It's same for Luminosity, though. Both teams losing this round, economy's shattered.
There's a lot of momentum on the line here, no doubt about it. And Fallen, once again with the aggressive hopping, he's going to pick off Edward. Flamey holding close to long, might be able to catch out Fur, however, who is still holding so aggressively. And Fur, he's playing with fire. He's dancing around on the edge, and he's counting on Fallen, basically. So he's picking up the kill with that AWP to watch his back.
And I like this play from Luminosity, just going back and playing defensively after getting the entry.
Well, this is the thing. They get that opening kill, so they have the man advantage. Now Fallen can find a new angle with the AWP, and they have plenty of defense set up to support him.
It's actually Fur and FNX who are going to be pushing around mid. It seems like they want to try and get some information on restrooms just to see where Navi are going. I mean, Navi have, since the timeout, have really shown a lot of attention, well, a lot of intent to go towards the A site. They haven't really shown too much over towards the B site. So Luminosity seem to still be hanging around, and that is sick. Good work, Observer. Heads over to Fallen just in time to catch him doming Guardian.
And now you've got to try and bring it back in a round where you have a Molotov, a Flashbang, 3 members alive, and Luminosity. They seem to be playing on a very high level at the moment. They might actually be peaking in the tournament here at the Grand Finals. That'll be quite some time. Who's going to try and get in here and get the first kill, but he can't. Taco will be able to take him out. Seized, and just the only one left. And finally find Taco, but it's just not enough. And some good shots on the mat coming through. Seized going to be going down. It's a triple kill. Taco being given a little bit here in this match. 9-2 the scoreline.
What a play from Cold as well, just jump spotting over that, so he's got all the intel. This shot was just sick.
And this is all on Fallen playing against Guardian, I think, because Guardian loves to get up on that position, gets up on the flower bed there. He does it so often. So Fallen may be just like, all right, Guardian, I'm just going to hold a spot that you like, see what happens. You're there, I might hit the shot.
For a guy who's considered the best opera in the world, Fallen is really punishing him this game. being much more impactful with his own AWP, even if it's not a duel against Guardian himself. He's just able to whittle down his opponents, and now again, aggressive positioning. It's against Pistol, so he's got to be very cautious.
Fur's going to have a field day with that MP9, though. Fallen will be able to fall back. Is there anybody there to support? Yes, Fur rotates up the stairs through Connector, and he wants to go and pressure Guardian. He's getting a bit ahead of himself, though. Luckily for him, Guardian is alone. The rest of Na'Vi trying to push around on the rest of the map. They do get control of sewers, and now Connector is lost. So now it comes down to whether Fur gets the read on this. He needs to realize that he needs to back off. Exactly, there we go. Starts to sense that maybe it's getting a little dangerous to hang around.
Some mad spray coming out with the MP9, long range. Not really how it's supposed to be used, but the fact that they don't have armor means it's still a very good purchase here. First seems to be all about the money at this point in time here. He's been very good at that on the first map as well. Going to pick up a quick kill, making it a double. FNX stealing one. Fallen seems to not be able to miss any shots at this point in time. Triple kill in total. Put Fur at about 5,500, so definitely not too bad here. 10-2 is the current scoreline. 8-round lead for Luminosity. Moses, give us a brief overview of sort of how bad things are for Na'Vi right now on this map.
Oh, they're very bad. This is, especially considering, second map at this grand finals, but it's once again in that situation we saw it on Mirage, where Na'Vi have to start putting rounds on the board. They need rounds more than they can afford to save. So you see this buy. They have the AK-47s, but they don't have many flashbangs, and they have 2 to use, 1 Molotov. They have all 5 smokes, but I mean, there's a lot of utility there missing to punish this kind of aggression.
And they've decided to go back towards B now, Na'Vi. Straight into Swords. Edward carrying the bomb. 3 players there as well, hoping to catch Cold off guard. Cold has been holding aggressive in Swords, so perhaps Na'Vi hoping to get lucky there. It just doesn't pan out, though.
Well, how are Luminosity coming out with this call, though? They got 4 people stacked in this bomb site for the first time in 13 rounds. The only one they've done it in, and it just coincides with Na'Vi stacking up outside. So if they push here, Na'Vi have got to end up feeling absolutely out-cold.
It's outplayed, just outthought. That's where Fallen is just on point. Not this time.
And that's where it's like Navi's already used their timeout. They don't have any time to talk this over and find any kind of adjustment. Now look at the nades they have. They used everything except for the smokes to gain control over towards the P bomb site, and now they just fall away.
This is where existence is like, just eco and sit and spawn. Go for the old school timeout. Which is what teams used to do when they needed time to talk things over. Existence started it off, but Fallen going to miss the shot. Finally, Na'Vi deciding to make their play. 40 seconds left in this round, and the bomb is still waiting outside of B. So they make some noise in mid. They try and keep Luminosity honest on that A site, not overly rotating, but Luminosity, they're already in position. So Na'Vi's efforts up in mid aren't going to be useful, and perfect time for the flash to come in, and the first kill goes Fur's way.
Cole going to be going down, at least a nice return from Seas, and Flamey coming up with a shot on Taco as well. Going to be a bit of a pop match into the monster tunnel, and this might be the important kill right here. Fur pushing Guardian, dropping the bomb at 15 seconds now. Fallen's in position, and he picks up one. Now it's a one-on-one, but Seas, he can't even run. He has to fight. He has 10 seconds left. Fallen, he misses the first one. Still another 8 seconds left. Fallen pushing around. He gets the shot, and it's going to be the double kill. Luminosity. Look at that crowd.
That's the Luminosity cheering section right there.
Fallen gets the 2 kills that win that round, but that play by Fur to continue pushing through Monster to drop the bomb, that's huge. Instead of falling back and trying to turn.
Now the champ is there. Wow, though, man. Fallen, it's like every map, he has to come up with one huge play that makes all the difference for his team. 11-2, and Navi's economy is shattered. They're on a forced buy with Tech-9s now. It's just a last-ditch effort. Anything you can do to try and stop the inevitable, it feels like. FNX will trade. Well, 1-for-1 trade as Na'Vi bring it back on Fur. He tried to use that one-way smoke again, and he gets punished. This time, Na'Vi are like, nope, not happening, bro.
Yeah, but still, they only have 4 members. Again, low in utility, 2 Tech-9s in play. There's still a long way to go for them in this round, and they need these last 2 rounds.
Fallen's got the angle for it. And he's going to, actually going to be a finesse to get that shot now. Fallen with the follow-up on Edward, and Na'Vi. We saw how comebacks were possible from 11-4. Well, they're going to have to do even better, it seems, here in the second map. Guardian trying to check that corner with the Tech-9 close range, but Fallen picking up yet one more shot, and it's going to be Guardian all alone here, just trying to see if he could find a way out. That also takes a round with him for Na'Vi. It doesn't seem like it's going to be possible. He goes for the quick peek there. Takes down FNX. That is a start. We see him pick up the rifle as well, and he goes down to Taco. 12-2, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Luminosity have brought here to the second map.
This is an incredible start from Luminosity. You asked the question as well right before this map even began. Are these teams going to switch up the pace? Are they going to get aggressive? Are they going to be able to do that? And Luminosity, that's what they built this lead off of, is that early aggression. Navi hasn't been able to handle it at all in this half.
And Guardian doesn't go for the glass cannon AWP. He had the money for it, but he goes for AK. Not sure if I want to look too deeply into that, but Guardian, I mean, it's integral to the Navi. You know, get him on that op. He has an impact with it. Instead, it's Navi just charging out to top mid, and once again, Luminosity, no fear at all from them. The flash, totally effective, actually. Fallen gets the shot onto Flaming, even spots the man. Good night, Zeus! And it's just going to be Luminosity. Boom! Marching on in the last round of this first half.
I can't handle that. It's going to be Edward, Guardian, and Seized left. Fallen. What an absolute madman here in the finals. It's not just him, but these last couple of AWP rounds for him. Now we just have no answer for it. They're even ready. They're all charged up on that side of the map. You think they could run him down, get the trade, get something back, but the whole push comes out, and it just doesn't happen. It's Fallen with a third kill now going into Taco taking the fight with Seized. He's going to get the fight, and this is the last of the half. It's a quad kill. The godfather of Brazilian Counter-Strike, who said it again and again. He ends up top fragging at 19-3-3. What an absolutely grotesque kill-death ratio for $1 million tournament.
Those plays are so sick. Navi has been defeated in this first half, and you can start to see it in their play. Maybe it's a little bit about Guardian not going for that glass cannon off, but their players, no confidence in the fights they're taking.
Just crushed. Navi have got to be feeling completely and utterly destroyed at this point. Nothing going their way in that first half. I mean, Fallen as well. He was sitting in single digits for most of that first half. It was towards the end of it where he's just like, actually, no, not this time. We were denied a DreamHack winner. We're not going to be denied here. This is the major as well.
Not at Katowice just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
In heartbreaking fashion as well. This time they're here to get work done. Navi, though, what can they possibly come up with here in the second half to stop this freight train that is just bearing down on them?
Well, so come on, this is Navi. They've had probably, I think, one of the best tournaments they've ever had here. Going into it, we are in America as well. Moses, if you had to get sort of an any given Sunday type speech here, how would you start that off? It's not so bad, guys. It's better than it looks.
We've got them right where we want them, boys.
We've done this before. I've seen you do this before. That's a classic counter.
That's a classic one. That's a classic one. We've done this before, boys.
It's what every massive comeback that's occurred in a game of Counter-Strike from this kind of level. It's all about, you know, not focusing on the big picture. You focus on the small ones, the rounds. You win the rounds by rounds. You don't look at the scoreboard. You don't hit tab and say we're 10 rounds behind. You just focus on winning every single round as an individual. But it's still going to be, I mean, we've seen the tricks that Luminosity's pulled out. The early aggression has worked so well for them. The B stack, I mean, they have such good reads of Navi right now. The pop flashes, everything that they've done just shows that they've put the research, they put the time in, and they know exactly how to read Navi.
It's just incredible the level that Fallen seems to hit with that AWP, in-game leading as well. I mean,
this is the thing, though, as an in-game leader, because there's always discussion about your in-game leader and how he frags and everything like that, and the salt shaker.
What a god.
It all comes down, if you have the right practice and preparation, if you have the experience together, your in-game leader, I mean, you get to a point where you know what he's going to call, you know what's coming next, the in-game leader knows what his teammates are doing, so he can focus more on the fragging roles.
We brought this up back when Fnatic were winning absolutely everything. Not that that era is necessarily over, but you know, we call it the Fnatic hive mind. Are we seeing the Luminosity hive mind here, where communication isn't even important anymore because you just know? You could well be right here. It's the 16th round coming up, second map in the grand finals. And we're going to have to see if Navi could make what has to be one of the sickest comebacks of all time if this works out on a map that's very, very difficult to win when you're this far behind.
This is a sick read. Edward, he's gone for the big play. He's pushed all the way into T-spawn off a B site, and this has prompted the rotation coming in here from Navi, getting into position on that A site. They know that Luminosity are coming. Now it all comes down to keeping their cool and hitting the shots as Luminosity gets control of restrooms.
Can Seized hear this?
That's what I'm wondering. Is, you know, he's not close enough now. So he's trying to actually push in here and see if he can't get a backstab flank coming in. I mean, he knows that they moved off, and so now it's all about the timing here. Edward, he's spotted. He's been spotted by Taco. Luminosity have to know now that the game is up. Oh! Sit down, Seized!
Wow. That was, for all intents and purposes, that was a drive-by, essentially, just shutting Seized out of the round. Flamey trying to fall back as well, but Luminosity, the Glock train has arrived to the A-bomb site. They got to win this round. Navi, but FNX and Fur picking up a couple of kills. It's now down to Zeus and Edward in a 2-on-4, and Edward finally manages to isolate FNX, but how could they possibly defuse this bomb? They don't even have a kit or any grenades picked up right now. Zeus, just too many bullets coming his way. Edward gets the one kill. He has to find another one for the quad. Taco around the corner. Edward makes the jump, looks the wrong way. He turns around for it, but Taco, he's going to do it for the double, and Navi, they lose the round. Luminosity, 14-2.
All that talk about Taco. This is the level he's hit. First, it's this incredible, boom, flashy drive-by, and then it's the composure. And you can see he outplays. Right at that end of that one-on-one, he just goes to the other side. The side that's closest to the bomb, it's the last place. You'd expect him to. You'd think he's going to go farther away, get to the other side, go to, technically the terrorist side of the map.
And that's what Edward's thinking for sure. He just ran right into it. Taco clotheslines him, and this is it. It's within Luminosity's grasp now. One round away from match point and tournament point in their first major. What an incredible ride this has been, but it's not done yet. You can always come back and see us. It's the beauty of the game. And Navi, they're one of the best in the world. Guardian trying to do the best that he can here with the Deagle, but he will fall. Fur and FNX. 2 big kills to put them way in the lead here in this round.
You can see kind of the thought process of Navi in that pistol round and this one. They know they have to make plays. Those very fast, aggressive flanks in the pistol round didn't pan out for them. Here, Guardian and Zeus trying to get a little bit aggressive, seeing if they can isolate one of these Luminosity players to give them some kind of an advantage. But it's been beaten back.
Oh, but Flamey refuses to give up. He nearly takes out Fallen as well. Sees, though, doing big damage. Gets 2 kills. He brings it back to a 2-on-2, and Edward's on the flank.
He's got the Max 7 behind here. Fur going to be going down. Cold Sierra alone, Max 10 in hand, looking for the shot here. Edward's still alive somehow, but he's going to go down. 40 seconds left. Seized. He's on the bomb side, but he only has 2 health left. This is a really uncomfortable 1v1 for Seized. Any mistake made, and he is out of it. And Cold Sierra, he's feeling so confident. He checks a couple of corners here and there, but mainly just runs in to put that bomb down. I don't know how Seized could possibly maintain his composure in this the round that's going to decide the grand finals, it seems.
This all comes down to patience, but yeah, Seized. There's just so little HP and no utility, no flashes, no nades, no smoke. And so this is an impossible situation, and Cold will lock it down. 13 tournament points now for Luminosity. 13.
Wow.
What complete and utter dominance coming out from them. Unreal.
They've certainly won this crowd over with this kind of play.
Clearly.
You mentioned it earlier, the Navi chants have just died down. They started out hot on Mirage, but since then it's been all Luminosity.
Well, the history of this team is absolutely mad, isn't it? Fallen, already a legend in 1.6, builds a team from scratch, and then within a very, very short amount of time plays their way into this kind of position. Seized is going to be going down as well. Fallen with the follow-up kill, he goes down. Edward takes 2, looking for a third. He can't reload in time. He's not going to get the kill. Fallen will be going down, and now it is a 1-on-2. Taco looking to see if he can close it out here and win it for the Brazilians. It's going to be a big turnaround there. Hits the headshot on Sousa. Now it's a 1-on-1. Guardian versus Taco. It may just be destined to be. It's Luminosity winning their first major championship.